Hello and welcome to Divisive Issues bonus episode. Today we'll be covering something very different from our usual weird 60s stuff.
Are you sure it's different? Because, for the bonus episodes. Because I was going to say, we've covered Crises.
Didn't we?
Yeah.
I thought we did Infinite Crisis.
Okay,
Also,
No, we
I
didn't
think it's
do
just like
Infinite
the bonus
Crisis.
episodes in that it's a single issue that I hate.
Wait. This is Crisis on Infinite Earths?
No, it's Heroes in Crisis, completely different. Get your shit straight, guys.
You know, I was thinking about this earlier. Crisis now for comics for me is like that angry face and Clash in mobile games where I'm like, every single one of them is like Clash of War, Clash, and it's just the angry face. I'm like, every fucking DC thing is like Crisis War.
Well, it's their branding for like big events that they want to get people to buy. It's pretty useful.
They're all fucking shit.
You like the Identity Crisis?
Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah,
I
so-
hate Rise of Blank more than I hate all this Crisis garbage.
Yeah, Rise of Blank is the worst.
Yeah.
So, to set up what we're doing, we're going to be going issue by issue, doing a modern event to show what it's like to go through event as it's happening. Maybe changing your opinion on it as you don't know the finale yet. We kind of did this with of Ultimates because we read the first half and we liked it. And we read the second half like this is shit. So
Yes.
but we're going to do it like as it's happening,
Which is a very good point, because this is how like this medium is consumed a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Is that you don't know what is going to happen. So like before we take stories in like totality where we look at it and we're like, oh, like this works here and it doesn't work here. Whereas here you can be like, this is so cool. And then like that stays with you for so long that the disappointment hits really hard if it gets bad.
But it also happens the other way sometimes where even if, and I'm not saying I like this, but even if you love a first issue, sometimes over a couple months it loses any steam.
That's why I have trouble buying new comics, because I have to buy the trade and read it as the first 6 issues to know if I like it.
Yeah.
Because especially nowadays with things so decompressed, it's not until like issue 5 that they even tell you what the main premise is going to be about.
Yeah, and like since it's not so wordy as it was back then, like 20 pages isn't actually a lot to absorb like a feel or a style or what the writing is like.
Yeah, so I primarily only buy single issues that are either things that like all my friends are talking about and I don't want to like avoid our Discord, or books that I really want to support because it's like a character that hasn't had a book for a long time, or like a creator. Like right now there's a bunch of like bullshit going on with like a bunch of female creators are getting like harassed all the time, so like I'm buying all of their books.
Yeah.
But that's more of like a business support decision that I'm making when I actually want like books that I really like to read. Sometimes I even buy the singles and then wait 6 months and read them all at once.
But so this issue was an exception, because what happened and what set this off was Ryan came to me and was like, "This fucking issue, Sly, like, holy shit."
I described it as everything you've ever bitched to me about.
Yes, and so and the funny thing is, like, he was talking about so much, I was like, I'm curious, I'm going to read this, and I'm not going to say this is good, but it's interesting. Like, there's an alternate reality where this premise could work, and maybe I'll explain at the end. But just to set it up, Heroes in Crisis. This is a new event from DC. DC just had a new reboot, another fucking reboot after all this time, called DC Rebirth. And
Which is not the new 52.
No, it's not.
Wait,
And I was
wait. Flashpoint's not the newest.
Rebirth
No, it's
is not a reboot at all.
Yeah, old man Phil, keep
It's
up.
basically it's a reboot and like it's a restructuring. It's called whatever the fuck.
Okay,
like,
it's a
new direction.
rebranding, and
Rebranding.
if anything, it is much more cohesive and less rebooty than they've been in like 20 years.
So Ryan has been loving it. Joe's been loving it, and they keep saying, "Sly, you gotta read DC now." And I'm hesitant to read
We're
it.
not the only ones. For the record,
I know,
DC is more popular now than they've been in a very long time.
Yes, but to clarify, I've always been hesitant for the same reason why I'm like, I don't read trades until 6 issues have come out. I was like, I didn't say this to Ryan because he'll be like, "You judgmental piece of shit, fuck you, Sly." So I didn't say this, but I was waiting until the other big event, that's coming out called
Doomsday Clock.
Doomsday Clock, which is about Watchmen merging with the DC universe.
Yeah.
I was waiting to see how that turns out, and if that turned out well, then I'll get into DC, because I was like, I'm waiting for them to fuck up. I'm waiting for Heroes in Crisis to come out, and I was right. Maybe we'll see.
And I was right. Maybe we'll see.
Classic Sly.
Yeah.
So the little bit of backstory I want to give you, this event is pretty standalone so far, at least. But like, I just want to give a little bit of spotlight for the creative team. Clay Mann does all the pencils, and Clay Mann is someone I've actually been following for a long time, and is I think like kind of at the top of his game right now.
He's really good.
And this book looks beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
But-
it is super beautiful. It's like,
like,
it's kind of like the Mark
really,
Millar
really good.
problem, where I'm just like, I'm so captivated by the art, I'll keep reading no matter what happens.
Yeah, and I keep looking at a Clayman print, a Gambit print that I bought at Comic-Con like 4 or 5 years ago when he was like selling prints for like $10 because he was like a new up-and-comer, and I'm just like so proud.
Oh,
But-
you're right though. Like it does remind. I was wondering what about the art made me feel weird, and it does remind me of Mark Millar. Some of these shots, we have like a guy like just grunting as.
So now, the writer is DC's like biggest name right now, a guy by the name of Tom King. Tom King is a very interesting writer in that he used to be a CIA agent, and then he started
Fucking
writing.
spook, goddamn DC.
Well, then he started writing. He wrote a Vertigo book called Sheriffs of Babylon that was all about like the war in Afghanistan, or maybe it was Iraq. I don't know. It was one of them. I don't remember. But he really rose to prominence when Marvel had him write a Vision book, which was a 12-issue miniseries that was like nothing I'd really read in like ever. That was like very like half horror, half like suburbia satire. That was like really, really, really good.
Because it was about him and his family, right?
It was about him and his family, and like it felt like a suburban horror film. It was really, really good.
Yeah.
And then DC had him take over Batman, and I really love his Batman run. There are some choices that he's made that I don't particularly care for, but his Batman run has been very popular, and he's also writing Mr. Miracle, which is I know you guys laugh about Mr. Miracle, but it is a very, very serious deconstruction of the tragedy of war and what it does to the soldiers and like how people overcome that.
Out of Mr. Miracle. Phil, do you remember Mr. Miracle?
the Stan Lee thing.
No, yeah,
Yeah,
the escape
exactly.
artist dude,
I
yeah.
do remember. Yeah.
But
No, this is what Phil always says. Like, every time you talk about a comic Flyer Ryan, you're always like, oh, this comic is actually a deep deconstruction of the psychology of this war criminal.
He's
Mr.
an
Miracle-
escape artist with a mechanical head.
But Mr. Miracle is right now is like one of my favorite DC books.
Fuck you.
And it's one that no, seriously, it is like it has crossed the threshold between like just comic fans. It's a thing that lots of people really
We're not
like, and
doubting
it's
you. It's just dumb to hear Mr. Miracle
Okay, fair.
deconstruction
It's always no.
of
That's like
war.
I said. Like again, I like Daryl said too. I don't doubt that it's good.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
more like it's always the same thing where it's like, Hat Dumb Man is now like the best way to interpret the
Yeah.
psychology of parental trauma.
Yeah, this guy
Yeah,
that
maybe,
stacks
but, like-
hats on top of hats.
So we talk about Tom King a lot in our Discord, and he's kind of polarizing because he writes very, very good stuff. But our dear listener John always talks about how he recognizes that King's a good writer, but he very frequently writes broken, emotionally unstable men that need women to come fix them, and he finds that problematic. And it's really interesting. So going into this event, the premise that DC had been building in the background was there's this place called Sanctuary where superheroes go for like therapy and like a relaxation spa and to deal with tragedy.
I like this idea a lot, by the way. Just
This
to
is a
say.
great
I
idea.
think PTSD would be super, super, super common
Yes.
amongst superheroes.
Yeah, we were
And-
talking about this off the mic. Daryl was saying, we said it on mic too. We said during the Doctor Doom episode that these heroes will be traumatized all the time, like
Yeah.
with all the
Like,
shit they experience.
constantly.
Yeah.
And I was really, really into this premise because I'm a huge Tom King fan and I was really ready, but I was also cautious because he's one of those writers that as soon as they announce this event, we're like, who's he gonna fucking kill? Because he's gonna kill people. Like we could
Yes.
you could just tell based on the marketing and everything. And
I mean,
they
it's a
literally
crisis title. You always got to start by
Yes.
killing a bunch of like C-listers in the very
Yeah.
beginning, and then like an A-lister somewhere in the
So
episode.
I am going to keep my personal fanboy opinions until the end
Mm-hmm.
on why I hate this, but I also have problems with it as like a more objective person. But they had been hyping this where literally some of my favorite characters were like at the end of their story arc in their respective books, were literally like put on a bus and the main cast would be like, have fun in Tom King's book, hope you don't get murdered. And like, I mean like literally Wally West is put on like a shuttle and Barry Allen's like, I hope that everything goes well wherever he's going. And I was like, oh God. So that I was cautiously optimistic about this book. And then issue 1 came.
I was cautious going into this because right on the cover it shows like all the heroes gathered around, and it's like Superman holding up like a gold mask, and they're out in like You can see Sanctuary in the back, and there's two people at the front of the cover, which is like an interesting combination of people. On the right is Booster Gold, which I only know him from Death of Superman.
Yeah, are you proud of me for remembering who he was without him telling
Yeah,
you?
so people forgot. Booster Gold is the guy with like force fields and like energy blasts.
Yeah, the tech weapons.
Yeah, and to clarify something I don't think it was clarified before, he's actually from the future.
Yeah.
Basically, he's like a football jock guy that accidentally became like half Doctor Who, half protector of the time stream. That's like basically his whole premise. And nobody knows that he's not just some dumb jock guy.
Yeah, and opposite of him is Harley Quinn, specifically the Suicide Squad version. So I was like,
the
oh
movie,
boy.
Yeah, they changed the comic version to be more like the movie version because everyone was dying for that.
Not just more like it. It's like, it's her. 100%.
For what it's worth, that was her new costume like 7 years ago, and the movie was based on that. I think it's a terrible costume. It's basically her in a bra, but
Yep.
but I think they made that costume in the comics to pitch it for a movie. Like a lot of those.
Okay, that's fair.
A lot of those 52 costumes were very movie-esque. Like that's when Superman got rid of his tights too, his tighty whities. So I think they're all because that was before around Man of Steel time. Like they all were like pitching movie costumes at that point in the comics.
Okay.
So like and I hate it and I still hate it and people like it now, but fuck them. I hate the sexy Harley Quinn. I liked her when she was just actually in the fucking full body.
When she's dressed like a Harlequin?
Yeah.
Like, because I was trying to think about Harley Quinn because she's very prominent in this issue, and I like. Do you guys have like any strong feelings towards her? Because some people
don't like her.
love her.
Okay, I really like Harley Quinn when she was an exploration of a woman overcoming an abusive relationship, and most of the time Paul Dini wrote her as someone that was like stuck under that like cycle of violence that eventually overcomes that and becomes a strong character in her own right. For some reason, DC's just like, she's Deadpool now.
Yes, and I hate because a lot of people are like, "Oh, I like this character, therefore she must be an inspiring, heroic character." Like ignoring that this person took part in like mass murders and stuff like that.
Yeah,
She's
So, like-
only good as like a yandere hentai version. Like, it just...
I hate you threw an hentai in there when you didn't need to.
But I hate when people whitewash characters' history, and I feel like people did a lot for Harley Quinn to make her more heroic than she actually is, just because they like her.
yeah.
I kind of don't like her because she just comes across a lot, and I don't think as Deadpool. I think just as sexy Joker, because she's
Yeah,
too
fair
chaotic
enough.
to be like Deadpool's a bit chaotic, but he's not like.
But do you not like the Joker?
I do like the Joker.
Because then wouldn't the Joker be
sexist?
improved if he was sexy?
Not really.
But the thing, like, I liked Harley Quinn when she was like crazy, but like not sexy. Like she was just a
Yeah,
woman.
like I didn't necessarily need the titillation.
Which is weird because you're the guy who fucking reads like deep trauma comics because it was about my lesbian experience of loneliness.
Yeah.
And you're like the lesbian part.
But that wasn't. We didn't read that because it was tittillating. We read it because
I know
it was
Daryl
an
said he
exploration
was
of
hoping for
depression.
some of that. Daryl admitted he was hoping for some of that. So
Hey,
Yeah.
I like
I am
titillation.
now-
I like it like in Keijo. I like it when it can apply, like when you're ready
Yeah,
for it.
I think that they're going in knowing it's gonna be fan servicey and silly. I feel like is better than just like having it just like, look, this is an exploration of trauma, but also she's in a bra and she has big stars for nipples. Like it's weird.
Yeah. So the book begins and it's
Wait, you missed the cover of the
there's multiple covers.
there's multiple variants because they sell like one of the ways to get people to like
yeah, they get
trading cards.
Josiano to buy it like 10 times.
well,
Sorry,
this is the
Joe.
best one. Booster Gold flying in the air with his arms in every direction, like bleeding out of his mouth, and Harley Quinn on his back stabbing him.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck?
So the story opens with Booster Gold sitting in the cafe, and one of the things you can notice is that his costume is a little bit damaged, and he has like scrapes. So he was recently in a scuffle, and then Harley comes in, and it's just this dialogue of the waitress that's pouring him coffee and stuff. She goes, "There's another hero coming," and he goes, "That's not a hero," and she goes, "Oh," and he goes, "That's a villain," and immediately I think of My Hero Academia, like how there's heroes and villains and like nothing in
That's
between.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's like, is there going to be a fight? And he's like, yeah. And then we get the title page of Heroes in Crisis. And then, so in between, like interspersed throughout this issue is tapes that people recorded at
It's like
Sanctuary.
a Talking Heads kind of like,
reality show like confession, like, oh, I don't like this guy. He's a fucking dick to the camera.
yeah, the reality show or like the Office style of just like
Yes.
scene and then character talking about something.
Yeah, where she talks about like,
I don't believe in trauma. Everyone thinks trauma is something that's real. It's not. And everyone cries about their mommy and they're dead.
You know Harley Quinn, the registered
yeah,
psychiatrist.
Yeah.
That she,
And she says, I should have just been beating their fucking heads and fuck them. But then, as she's saying them, I would beat them with a sledgehammer. Bang! And she says, bang, bang, and she starts crying and she just keeps saying it.
and then it cuts back to like Booster Gold and her talking, and this opening scene was so weird because all I could think about is it sounded like a joke where it's like Booster Gold and Harley Quinn walk into a bar.
This all seems to feel
So
Very
surreal.
surreal.
Yeah, where
Yeah.
it's like the waitress asks her if she wants pie or pudding, and she goes, I'll have pie because I've always hated pudding, and then she stabs him.
Yes,
And that's the thing is, I need to clarify this or confirm this with you guys one more time. Harley Quinn, she is just crazy with a knife, right?
she's
She
just a
doesn't
woman,
have powers,
crazy
right?
woman.
She has no powers, right, at
Yeah.
all.
You saw
no
Suicide Squad. You get
And
the idea.
Booster Gold, just to restate this,
Future spaceman with high technology.
he shoots beams and it has force fields, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And he was prepared for a fight. He's like, I'm waiting for a fight. Like, it's
I
like,
can't. I could not understand the scene. I'm like, I must be missing something.
yeah, she's
because
stabbing him. Like, he's not prepared at all. Like, he
This
says,
this
"He's going to
matchup
fight."
is so amazing because
No,
there's
not
no
just-
way it works.
not just is she stabbing him because you can. Okay, maybe he's so dumb he lets a sneak attack happen. But as they fight, he's shooting beams at her and she's dodging all of them. I'm like, she's a regular human, right?
Yes.
but she's
What the
she's
fuck?
like acrobatic, kind of like Batman, where it's like you're so good. I don't know.
That's
He like does an AOE effect and pulls like a fucking diner.
Also, Batman is like a trained ninja.
Yeah, but she's a trained psychiatrist.
That's one thing. That's one thing I want to talk about. A lot of shitty stories also have like Joker go toe to toe with Batman. Whereas if you see like good ones like The Dark Knight, Batman '89, even the original appearance, a lot of times when Batman and Joker go toe to toe, it's after Batman got into a vehicle crash and he's fucking like beat up and
Yeah.
shit. Like,
Yeah.
that's how you have a fight. Like we can say Booster Gold like doesn't seem to be that injured. Like he's
No, and she in even just fisticuffs when they're like going like at each other, he can't keep up with her. Like she's like shoving his face into the ground, stabbing him repeatedly. Like he's just crying on the ground basically. And I'm like, he has fucking superpowers.
He has super tech, not superpowers.
That's the reason why. That's one
They're
reason why I hate-
strong. They're really strong. Like
That's the reason why I hate like modern events. Like even though like people hate like the events I like, the ones where weird shit happens, like fucking aliens come from Mars and like say I'm the monitor from Earth 212. Modern events always have characters elevated based on their popularity.
Yeah.
Which is why
like-
Harley Quinn is here fighting him essentially.
Yes, and I hate this shit so much.
Yeah. It's
So while they're fighting, it cuts back to Superman flies over. He's coming over to Sanctuary, and he noticed like there's a bird on the ground that pulls up like the spine and
Blue Jay's
entrails
mask.
of this.
yeah. It's very clearly ripping apart a shrinking hero named Blue Jay.
oh.
Yeah, and he cut to Blue Jay giving his confessional,
Yep.
saying, "I shrink. I'm Blue Jay." He says when he sleeps, he wakes up shrunk and he's just drowning in the bed. And it's because he has a trauma where he was drowning or something like that. And he
Now,
thinks
one of my problems with this is we talk a lot. We talked about this a lot in the Identity Crisis episode, where we're like, "Oh, they just kill a bunch of characters without like giving them character moments." But for this, they're like, I guess he's trying because we see Blue Jay's dead, and then he talks about it, and like I don't give a shit about Blue Jay. Like he's not a character that I care about. But like they rip him apart, and then they're like, "Here's a character moment." I guess I don't know if I hate that more or less.
Is
It's
it
hard-
just mean or is it just?
Yeah, I think it's just mean.
that's why I want to see how this goes, because if this is Blue Jay's last confessional, it's shit. Fuck this.
That's why, because when you tell a story with Booster Gold, usually it has time travel shenanigans in it. That's like built into the premise.
But even if they have like an arc to Blue Jay's character, they keep having flashbacks where Blue Jay. Like they have to show what happened at the sanctuary eventually.
They
Guys,
killed a.
They're not gonna. They're not gonna.
ahead.
have
They're not
anything
gonna.
with Blue Jay. Blue Jay's gone.
Yeah, Blue Jay's
No,
gone.
but they're
Sorry,
gonna
I'm
have
It's
to-
like
sorry.
what
Sorry.
Superman says during the big splash page where he's looking at like all these dead people laying on the ground in your sanctuary. He says they're all gone.
But I mean flashbacks. If they have a flashback,
No, they're
show-
not. Sorry, I'm sorry to disappoint
This
you.
is a flashback. Fuck you. What are you saying? Is it not? They're having a flashback right now. You're saying they're
I'll
having a flashback.
punch myself in the face.
Oh boy.
Why would they not have flashbacks? They're having flashbacks right now. And
I'm saying if Blue Jay comes back, I would be shocked.
But he has to come back if they're going to show what happened at Sanctuary. How can you show what happened at Sanctuary if Blue Jay was at Sanctuary? They have to have Blue Jay come back. If he's just back to show how he dies, it's bullshit. If they show more about his trauma, I think it might have potential.
Phil, how are you so good at pressing select buttons?
He grew up with
reality.
them.
He's a nice reality. He's saying the flashbacks. Well, there's a flashback happening right here.
He's doing this just to get you mad.
Fuck you.
And so I was taking the bait.
Because I'm just trying to defend something that I'm not sure in, and you make me feel what we've done.
That's
This is what's
prime-
weird
prime
about, like,
target.
you arguing so hard against him. It's like,
Sly raises a really valid point here, and this is why like I hate this issue so far, but I haven't like said like I'm not gonna read this because it's depending on how it goes forward, it could fix a lot of the bad faith that I have in it, but it could also make it way more egregious. So like that's one of the things that's interesting about reading Event month to month is we have no idea where this goes.
Yes, and I agree with Ryan and everyone that this is probably gonna go bad. I am.
Yeah.
I'm just saying there's a chance, there's still an opportunity. If Tom King is as good as everyone says he is, maybe he'll take that avenue.
Yeah.
Maybe he's listening right now, and he'll write Blue Jay in.
so if we get some more flashbacks. Like one of the dead bodies on the ground is Hotspot. He's this like young black kid that has the power, like fire power, and he's just been saying like, "I'm Hotspot. I have a catchphase. I'm just warming up," and he uses
Which
it
is
because
also
he
the
gets,
name of the issue.
yeah, he gets like
yeah.
scared in fights.
Yeah, and in flashback he says like, I say that because I'm scared and I don't know what else to say, so it's just to psych myself up.
Yeah, and then we get like a sad moment of Superman standing over his body, and he's like, "There's a thing he used to say, wasn't there? I can't remember."
And what they like is Hotspot's his body. It shows their body and he's crying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Which is interesting to touch depending on how they play out later. If he's just
And
crying for one
you know,
scene,
show
that's-
some fucking respect, guys. It's not just Hotspot there. It's also some girl I don't know and Commander Steel and Lagoon Boy. Okay. Lagoon Boy died for us.
Are you sure it's Commander Steel, not Captain Steel?
oh my god.
Which
No, I think
Steel
it's
is this?
Commander
Which
Steel.
which member of the Steel Battalion?
It's
is
Man
this?
of Steel. That's Superman
Oh,
Sly.
it might be Citizen Steel.
Oh yes, the Sister Steel, Commander Steel, and Captain Steel, and just plain Steel. They all have the same exact costume. I don't know which one this is.
What about?
well-
wait, Steel the Superman character?
That's why they had
No.
to change it because originally he was just Steel. Then the Steel Superman.
Oh my
character was
God.
just-
Okay,
Get,
please.
My
get me
main
out of
thing
hell.
is, before I read this issue, people in our Discord were like, "Listen, I don't get why everyone's so fucking butthurt about Lagoon Boy," and I was like, "Why would they bring back Lagoon Boy and kill him?"
Yeah, that's the thing about it. Like you can say like no one cares about these characters, but they brought him back just to kill him. If you were a fan, it's like fuck you.
It's like we've had this talk so many times on this show where it's like, where do you draw the line between like effective like grittiness and like just mean spiritedness?
To me,
Yes.
it's if you're gonna use a character, use them for a reason, and like I feel like if you're killing a bunch of people, making it where it doesn't actually matter what character that is,
Yes.
to me is like that's when it's mean spirited.
You don't know. Lagoon Boy could have done something at the end of his
No,
life.
but that's what I'm saying is like, okay, so like I don't actually care that much about Lagoon Boy, a little bit, but like Blue Jay was on the Justice League right before this. He was on the Justice League America team. If that is like part of like if that's part of the plot that like he was on this team and like one of his teammates is a character in the book that's avenging him or whatever, to me then I'm like, okay, you picked this character for a reason. If it's just because I wanted to kill a dozen characters, then why not just make new ones and kill them?
Well, one problem, one defense of that is this whole setup is it's a place that all heroes have gone to. If it's only heroes no one have ever heard of,
That's
Yeah.
true. That's
that
true.
loses the like. I think I want to. That's one
That's a
why I
fair
want to
point.
defend this because the
That's a
premise
very
of
fair
this.
point.
The premise of this is fascinating. That's why they're probably gonna fuck it up. But this could be like if this was a graphic novel one shot, it didn't have to tie into anything. If it was an Elseworlds, I'll have no qualms about this. But obviously, since it's canon, it's your reservations because it's fucking up these characters that have potential.
But also because it's comics, you know, it's what is it, 9 issues long?
Yeah.
Who knows what this is
Yeah.
gonna look like?
Yeah, so like the premise is the Finding Always Abides. It's a place where people came to discuss their trauma because they can't handle being heroes without talking to a psychiatrist, basically. And something happened. Now they're all dead, and now Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman are going through the bodies trying to figure out who killed them. I think that's an interesting murder mystery setup.
Yeah, I agree.
It's gonna be someone that it couldn't have been.
Probably, it's gonna be Jean Lorraine again. She's gonna be like I can't-
Superman, how did you do this?
So while there's like all these bodies on the ground, Harley is fighting Booster Gold and like singing while she's fighting him, and then they rocket up into the sky. And one of the weird things about like their fight is that he just won't take the knife away from her. I don't know if it's that hard to get it away because she's like,
well, that's the thing is he gets her on the ground where you're like, okay, so he's been being nice, but now he's like, I'm gonna take her to the Hall of Justice, but he literally just like puts her on his back. And it's like, let's
takes
go.
her off.
yeah.
He could break that knife if he wanted to. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
He can break these cuffs.
Can't he put her in like a fucking force field bubble or something? God damn.
Yeah.
And he just flies away and is like, stab me in the back while we're flying.
Yeah, because she's like, I gotta take it to the Hall of Justice with knife in tow, and she's just jabbing him.
Just so you go on a stabbing spree with the security at the Hall of Justice, and I'm gonna do
It definitely reeks of like they just needed to fill pages with violence.
What they wanted is for Harley Quinn to beat Booster Gold in a fight somehow. And it's like, the only way is if he's like, la la la, keep stabbing me, help, help, help.
This is another Deathstroke scenario where wants
Yeah.
to win.
Okay, I want to talk about this next page real quick.
Okay.
And I'm going to get a little mad. But
Good, only
there
a
is
little.
a nice touch. Superman enters the sanctuary, and it's like a farmhouse in the middle of a big farm.
And it's
he's
Ryan's
like-
most traumatizing scene I've ever
Yes.
seen.
He said no sign of the greeter, no reaction, so he goes inside, and he finds 2 bodies. This is Roy Harper, Arsenal, and Wally West, The Flash. No! The touch that I really like is Superman goes to say it's Roy, and what, and he stutters, and then he says Arsenal and Flash are confirmed.
He can't bring himself to say their names. He has to make it cold.
Make it cold, and that is something I really like.
Yeah.
Now, this is the most fanboy complaint I'm going to make. And, like, it's not because they killed my favorite character. It's because...
partially, at least.
Okay, it's partially. But for both Roy, who's one of Sly's favorite characters, and Wally, who's my favorite character, DC fucked them up real bad a few years ago. If you listen to our very, very early episodes, or the Cry for Justice episode, the back issues that we did, Roy had his daughter killed, he had his arm ripped off.
Right.
And when they rebooted, they just made him... They undid all that and made him just like this dumb jock. And
They made him a fucking bro, and that's one of the reasons why I haven't been into Arsenal since, because he has the fucking bro hat and glasses on.
Yeah,
Right now, look, he's on his body.
And Flashpoint and the reboot completely erased Wally West completely. Now, with Rebirth, what they did, one of the big things that they did to, like, win back a lot of good faith was they brought back Wally West as a Flash character and had him, like, really become a major character and the, like, heart of the Flash family again. And they established Roy as a team leader for his team of Titans, and they made him much more of the classic Roy. So they have been spending about 4 years rebuilding these 2 characters that fans were clamoring for, and really, like, they were doing a very, very good job at fixing all the things they fucked up, and then they kill them both in the same panel, and I'm just like, what a waste of years of storytelling to fix things you fucked up in the first place. Mm-hmm. That is my big fanboy complaint about this, because it's like, why did you spend 3 years building them? Just leave them gone or shitty. It just, to me, it seems like Tom King is shitting on the other writers, one of which is Dan Abnett, the creator of Death's Head 2.
How dare you offend him? But
Death's Head 2 didn't die, so at least for that.
That's the only thing that matters.
He's safe.
But
He's in Sanctuary still.
That's what Ryan's mistake was. He had faith for DC, and I didn't.
Yeah, it just, to me, it just seems like the classic event move where it's like, fuck the other writers, nobody cares, we want to sell books.
That's my secret, Captain. I'm always disappointed.
That's why when I saw this, if I was following this and I saw Roy getting fixed, because I haven't read any of the posts. I saw Jock, Bro Roy, I'm like, fuck this, I stopped reading. But I haven't seen him getting fixed. Maybe Ryan's right. But I haven't read any of his fixing or Wally's fixing. So so to me, they're already dead. They're basically already dead. I'm finding the bodies again. I'm like, okay, you dead guys are dead again. So, like,
but this is also one of the reasons why I think a lot of this is going to get undone. Because, like, I feel like that's so callous to the other writers that have spent literally 50 issues building these characters.
So Ryan still has faith. DC will shit on him over and over again. He's like, I still trust you, DC.
He's optimistic.
He's like Booster Gold flying there, and DC's Harley Quinn stabbing him in the back, and he's like, maybe she'll stop. I can't tell. Maybe.
And we have Roy's flashback, and he says, "I'm Roy. I'm Arsenal. I'm a superhero and an addict." And because Arsenal was a drug user back in the 70s. Mm-hmm. And he says, like, the reason why I started doing drugs was because
he has no superpowers, so
yeah.
And he says, you tend to get hurt in this game.
So he started taking painkillers, and then he had to keep getting different pharmacists to keep supplying him with painkillers. And then he realized he's killing his kidneys, so he starts using a needle instead. And he's like, oh, so that's what you do. You go to a needle to save your kidneys and maybe some money. But really, isn't that what superheroes do? Save things? Which is a kind of a weird line to say.
This is my favorite page because it's like, it's such a, I feel like this is a realistic like spiral of problems that you're, and especially because it's focusing on a guy that doesn't have superpowers, that isn't like, can't go up to par with all these other people. And it's like, once you're taking like painkillers to stay alive in the game, then you're killing yourself slowly. It's like, this worth it?
It would definitely happen.
It actually reminds me a whole lot of, I've met a lot of athletes that have become addicted to opioids for basically the exact same reason. And like, that's a real thing.
Yeah, it's very good. And then they show there's 3 dead robots. It's like Mom and Pa Kent for some reason.
They look like them, yeah.
I didn't understand, but I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, and I don't know if this is part of the mystery, but they said the puddlers are all dead, and puddlers are those that skim the molten metal off of swords when they're making them.
I don't know what that is either.
I've-
Ryan follows this stuff more than I do. So.
I'm not familiar with the puddler. I don't
Well,
know.
then maybe it's part of the mystery.
Puddler.
If it's a good story, it will be part of the mystery. Like, what's a puddler, huh?
Yeah.
Well, they're saying so the puddlers are the ones that skim the molten metal and remove the impurities so that the iron's strong.
Yeah, you kill the
So
shitty heroes that have PTSD to make the
Yeah.
heroes stronger.
Yeah,
I really think
no.
that's probably going to be it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, probably
that's
do.
what I don't think that this is like a mystery. I think
Yeah.
they're mocking these people that they killed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, you're the weak, so eat shit.
Maybe there will be like the villain name where the puddlers. Name.
Then we get like our twist at the end of the book where it's Booster like bleeding in the water and Harley's like on the ground near a fence and they're both like really like tired, and he's saying that he was trying to save her even after everything that happened, and she's wondering, how deep did you crack, Goldie? I saw you I stupidly ran from you like a coward or a freaking clown. But she was saying that he's the one that killed everyone at Sanctuary.
Yeah,
and then we get like a page of Booster Gold being like, I'm the greatest hero you never heard of, and you're Sanctuary, and like, I'm great.
Okay, I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm ready. I'm talking.
Yeah.
Help me.
And that's the first issue.
And so the mystery is, everyone's worried at Sanctuary. Booster thinks Harley did it, and Harley thinks Booster did it. Who did it?
This could be good.
The reason why I think this sucks is because the mystery is the worst part. Like, the premise, the idea is the most interesting part, but it's not a story about the PTSD. It's a story about a murder mystery.
That's the thing. But that's the thing. If the PTSD ties into it, like if one of the people snapped as
That's
part
what I
of it,
thought. That's what I thought was
Yeah.
going to go. I think it's what they're implying with Boosters, that he snapped so bad he ended up killing the other heroes.
and the person who did it always has a judgment call on the hero. They're saying they're weak, they deserve to die. So the trauma is going to factor into why they were killed. So like, it has all these potentials to be about the trauma.
Plus, you can't do like 9 issues while not talking about the repercussions of trauma.
It's one of those things like Identity Crisis. The reason why I liked it is because it was much more about the family than the mystery. And I just hope that this follows suit and is much more about the emotional fallout, which Tom King usually does. It's just, there's a lot of gore in this issue, and like so much.
And to back up your case, the worst part of this for me is the dialogue between Booster and Harley, which is supposed to be the central driving force, and I can't stand either of them in the story. So
Yeah.
I didn't even think about like how you said that it could have been Harley that did it as like the murder mystery. I'm like, how can she kill
so
all
obvious.
those
It's not,
people?
like-
but I guess
but
she
she-
did fight Booster Gold, so who knows?
I know the idea is supposed to be like Booster wasn't going hard on her because he's trying to save her, but it's like you still don't have to let yourself get stabbed in the
Yeah.
kidneys for 10 minutes.
And also, like, what we complained about at the beginning is, like, how could Harley beat this guy with force fields and stuff? How could either Booster Gold or Harley kill any of these people?
Or especially the Flash. Who killed the Flash? He's so strong.
Yeah,
That's part of the murder mystery.
yes.
It was the Flash himself. He went back in time and like.
I just
killed
feel like this
himself.
is just asking for a bunch of plot holes in it.
and also there is proof that there's gonna be flashbacks. Why he didn't talk in this issue, and he's definitely gonna talk. He's not just fucking dead off panel.
Flash.
What if Tom King just hates me so much?
Yeah.
Maybe.
We'll see.
And as he dies, he goes, "Fuck you, Ryan."
If you look
All
in the
right.
panel, it spells out "fuck you, Ryan" every
Yeah.
page.
The final page is just like the puddlers were Ryan all.
No, it's like it's like fucking Mark Millar. This is my face when I'm fucking you in the ass.
The puddlers is actually them peeing on Ryan's face, making puddle around him.
Be on
I'll
Ryan
take
Bag.
Beyond Ryan Path.
I'll let Tom King pee on me if he brings Wally back.
If he pees on you, I'm peeing on you.
I'm jumping on. I'm getting on his boat. This is not gonna
Okay.
be a
All right,
Enough
let's,
of this.
Let's goodbye. Let's goodbye.
So
That's goodbye.
Thank you so much for backing the Patreon. We're curious on if people like this whole issue by issue thing. We're kind of committed to it now, so hope you like it for the next couple months.
Yeah.
But yeah, and as always, let us know any ideas, and thank you for the support.
Yep. Thank you all, and we'll see you all next time. I've been Sly.
I've been Ryan.
I've been Phil.
And I've been Daryl.
Stay in Patreon mode, supporting us.
It's very good.
Hello and welcome to the Divisive Issues Patreon episode. We're going back to Heroes in Crisis.
That's what we call ourselves now, the four of us.
So we're doing Heroes in Crisis issues number 2 and 3, and we have some controversy. There's like a British guy who said controversy. Oh, it's such a controversy. I think that's a funny way to say it.
My professor in college would always say magnetism and integrals. Crazy, right?
Yeah, so we have a lot to cover. Let's just jump into this shit. But spoilers.
We're doing issues 2 and 3.
Yeah, but spoilers. Ryan fucking hates this shit. I will defend some of it.
Oh, I will. Okay, I like some of it.
Okay,
Me too,
so we
but
might be all.
mostly not.
We might be on more even footing than we suspected when I texted Ryan saying I like some parts and he said fuck you to me.
But I did also our usual. There's a difference between capital F U-C-K and lowercase F-U-K.
Yeah,
fuck
fuck
you. Lowercase is like no, fuck you though.
Yeah,
not
fuck
like
you.
you
Okay.
know what, Sly? You need to fuck off.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Fuck, I do deserve a fuck you. From that. Okay, so issue 2. The cover is Harley Quinn standing over Batman with her lasso of truth around his neck, which is symbolic for what will happen.
Oh, I have a variant cover with Bane.
That's some cool shit. Bane, for some reason, I don't know why.
So the variant covers for the series are like tragic events in superheroes with like Polaroids.
I
So
like
this
that,
is like
actually.
Image 805, Spinal Fracture, Sanctuary File, and like that's a cool effect.
Yeah, I think that's
It's
cool.
it's Bane breaking Batman's back.
So speaking of selling books, Harley is here just to fucking show how awesome she is and sell books. And it opens with Poison Ivy giving her testimony, and she's like,
I'm a terrorist. I fight Batman with vines and kisses.
and Harley comes in and say, "Yo, what's up, dog?"
Yeah, and
she's
she
like,
keeps booping her in the cheek.
For what it's worth, Harley and Ivy have a history of being together. So
Yes.
Yeah,
this
yeah.
isn't, this isn't as random as a lot of the other
Yeah.
times Harley shows.
I've watched the TAS.
Oh, the TAS, the animated series.
ATM.
Yeah.
machine.
and this is actually a logical way for her to be introduced to Sanctuary, because Poison Ivy is filled with all this guilt, and she wants to go to it. And Harley's like tagging along basically because she's, I guess it's hinted at the lovers, I think.
Yeah, and Tom King previously in his Batman run did like explicitly establish that they have been together.
Yeah, and they're always teased in the anime series and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So the story opens with the title page. Harley goes to the Penguin. The Penguin.
Man, this
yeah.
is just such a confusing, like, plot thread thinking about it in retrospective. Because she goes to the Penguin to get a place to hide out, or, like, hide out in quotations from the Justice League, even though she wants to get found.
And she gets caught like, almost immediately, so this whole scene could have been cut for time. And
Yeah.
Well, it's just, like, weird that she shows up and she's like, yeah. God damn. It's dumb.
Also, is she like in the Arctic?
I guess Penguin's in the Arctic.
He probably has a
now.
biome.
But then they're holding a guy hostage. Like they're holding a man hostage in this Arctic like ballroom.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I'm guessing-
There's a guy with a gun doing
Oh, so it's probably the Penguin has like his own like fancy resort.
The Iceberg Lounge.
Yeah, so that's probably it. It's not
So
clear
he
from the
goes there and takes his workers hostage.
Yeah, so it's not clear immediately what that is. So meanwhile, Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, the Trinity will call from now on, just for simplicity's sake.
Yeah.
They're out doing autopsies on the dead people, and Superman's like, you know about this, so Mr. Batman, you know everything. And Batman's like, no, this sanctuary is sacred. I would never peep and pry into sanctuary.
Yeah.
And it's framed where Superman's like, you probably have kryptonite hidden in your bat belt. And he's like, I don't. I prepare, but I don't have kryptonite in my
Yeah.
bat belt.
How could you, Clark? Accuse me
Yeah.
of that.
It cuts to Batman giving his testimony. And
Well,
he's
first
like,
they find out that he was killed. Commander Steel or Citizen Steel or whoever this is.
He's
forget
not one of
which
your
one it
favorite
is.
characters.
yeah.
I love him, but I forget his name.
No, yeah, this character basically because Steel, the Superman character, got created. They had to give him a new name, and they couldn't decide what it was. So
Yeah.
first he was like Citizen, then Commander. He keeps getting promoted.
Yeah.
Because Steel
Shazam.
himself was a Golden Age character, and then they were like, gotta keep changing his name. So I don't know what he is in this fucking timeline, but they find that he died, even though he had an impenetrable skin, he died because somebody made him swallow those, like, fake teeth that hop around.
Yeah.
The chattering ones. Chattering teeth. And because of Batman talking about how his partners all died, which is very weird. He has like five partners in like 5 years or something like that.
Yeah, all he says, everyone else has like a lot of talking during like the 9-panel page, but all he says is, I train partners to work with me. They become my family. I've watched so many of them die. I'm sorry.
And then he becomes quiet, and then it's like 3 panels of silence saying, "I'm sorry."
Yeah.
Cuts to Booster talking to his robot buddy. Like,
Has Booster always been like a male Harley Quinn? Because his dialogue here, when he's like, yeah, I got stabbed, and then I watched Harley Quinn kill everybody, but maybe me kill everybody, because that's what she say.
Booster has always been like, I don't know how to compare him to, but you probably know some archetype. The pompous, like, blonde hair, blue eyed, Adonis male hero kind of character.
Yeah, I think we call that the Ryan, right?
Ooh.
But like you see him in like sometimes in fantasy they'll have him be like a pal. They'd be like, "Oh, I'm the great whatever." Like Booster's pretty much dead. Like he calls himself the greatest hero you never heard of and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like here, it's like, for me it seems like he has like a cognitive dissonance where he's like not really reacting to what's happening, and like the robot is kind of saying like, "Are you okay, Booster?" Like you want to talk about.
I think
it? Like,
King's trying to play it more like the insanity factor of him, where he's like, "I'm
Yeah,
so
like-
crazy, I don't even know what's real anymore."
Maybe like, yeah, so whatever happened, like just made him have a breakdown.
Yeah.
And he like,
Yeah. That's why I mean more like now he's like not really confronting what happened. He's just like, I'm crazy now, whatever. And then it cuts back to Harley. She's talking to Penguin. Playing cards with them.
No, not the Penguin. She's playing cards with a Penguin.
A Penguin, very important. A Penguin.
Why did she change outfits to her
Because
own...
she heard us complain. We complained that she was wearing the sexy outfit. Now she came back to.
But why?
So she's in her old classic like Batman the animated series.
The Harlequin outfit.
Like, here's the
Actual-
thing, is what's gonna happen next is almost normal to me compared to this.
So the Trinity shows up and they're like, "We got you," and they try to arrest Harley Quinn, but she's too OP for them.
She's too OP.
she literally just goes over and hugs Wonder Woman, and she's like, "Oh, Wonder Woman,
Booster kill everyone.
and I'm so sad, and I killed him for doing it." And while she's doing this, she's lifting the lasso of truth off of Wonder Woman secretly, and of course,
Nobody notices this. Batman's like a
Yeah.
fucking trained ninja. Superman has X-ray vision, and no one even suspects the fucking suspected murderer of doing this.
Yeah, and she takes it from him, and then she like hits Wonder Woman. She wraps the lasso around Batman, and then jumps over, and it's holding him back. And so now Batman can't.
And here's the stupid thing. So Superman wants to jump in, and Wonder Woman says she'll break her neck before you break the lasso. Superman, fucking can keep pace with the Flash. Who can break the speed of light. And
Also,
sound.
she jumps and kicks Wonder Woman, someone who's so strong that her skin is bulletproof.
Yeah.
And she just like, oh, it's falling
not
over.
feet proof, eh?
also a ninja getting caught by this pretty like obvious move where he had
A glowing
distance on
lasso
her.
you can't miss.
He had distance on her. He was watching her, so it's not like this was from behind.
Yeah.
And still, he gets lassoed from behind. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not sure how this like if you had to portray this in a video sequence, I can't imagine it happening.
Yeah, and again, Harley Quinn's just like a fucking acrobat, pretty much.
Yeah.
It should clarify, at least for Phil, you can easily do this in like a movie thing. You can't portray it from like if you zoom out the camera and you show what Superman's doing the whole time this is occurring.
Yeah,
Like him just
I
standing
can't-
around like with his fists like clenched, being like, "Do I go in now?"
Yeah, he's like the fucking. You know, we have a 5-on-1 fight and everyone's hanging on the sidelines. He's doing that.
Yeah.
While Batman.
Well, because he says Batman's like, "Don't step in, Superman, because you'll knock down the warehouse that we care about for some reason."
Yeah, well.
And he's like, "I got her. Don't worry."
And so, Harley Quinn has the lasso around Batman, so she forced him to say the truth. And he says, "I have kryptonite in Bat Belt," and she uses the kryptonite to hurt Superman, which wouldn't hurt Wonder Woman, but Wonder Woman still is unable to stop Harley Quinn as she's
That's a good.
Cool, because Wonder Woman's like nursing Superman to health.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like, "Are you
that's
okay?"
the priority. This fucking potential murderer is fucking run away, and they're like, "What? I gotta protect Superman for some reason."
And
even
also,
though-
she ran away with the kryptonite. Like they're like, "I guess this is not that important."
And also, like, think about how fast they are. Where did she go? That she's
Yeah.
just gone.
Yeah, they didn't even pursue her. She just helped. Which I like. One of the things I was thinking about after reading this, where I'm like, this is so unbelievable that the only way it's believable is if she has like superpowers or something, right? Like, this isn't Harley. This is like a doppelganger that is. There's got to be someone out there that's like the strongest doppelganger in the univerce.
I thought you were gonna go the opposite direction. I thought that this issue is shit. When I read it, I was like, I'm sorry guys, I was wrong about this fucking series. It's complete trash, and that might still be true. But
I think it's impressive that he found a fight worse than the Deathstroke Identity
Yeah.
Crisis fight.
Yeah. Because that one, the only one you really had to buy into was just like the Flash was dumb enough to run over to like a Claymore mine that Deathstroke had
Or
placed next.
Green Lantern will come in melee range and let.
Yeah.
We don't have to
There's a lot of wrong
You
things.
just have to be okay with the Flash running the speed of light into a sword because he's too slow to not see it.
Yeah, but here I was like, there's only like there's another possibility, but like one of the only possibilities that will make sense for here is that she has Harley Quinn has a psychotic break, and this is all in her fucking mind. That's the only way it makes sense to me.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
like-
that could be it too.
Yeah.
could-
Wait, no, because then like everyone's dialogue when they talk to each other has to be wrong or something.
I don't know, and because like it's so unbelievable. Because Superman goes to Batman after she escapes, and she's like, she's good as you.
Yeah.
So that means the hierarchy is like the League of Shadows, like Lady Shiva, Deathstroke. Batman can go toe to toe with those guys.
Yeah.
You have those guys, and now like Harley Quinn is above like Lady Shiva and like Ra's al Ghul. Like Harley Quinn is now the premier fighter in DC. Fuck you, Tom King. This is such bullshit, and you fucking know it.
And that's a capital F-U-C-K.
Yeah, that's the capital one.
She's good.
So the hierarchy of fighters in DC is completely fucked up now.
Is it, or is it back to its rightful place with Harley Quinn near the top?
So we cut to we cut to Wonder Woman at the Sanctuary, and she's just like, we don't talk about our problems, Amazons. We just save people. So fuck this bullshit. She walks out basically. I appreciate the work you're giving, but I rather keep my.
Wait,
bite
no,
my
she
lip.
opens up first.
Yeah, she opens up a little bit, but she says like,
She talks about when she was a kid, there was this big fight that was outside, and she stayed in bed and bit her lip instead of going out to help the fight, and she's been like ashamed of it ever since. She
Yeah.
has nightmares about it, about like just being powerless and hiding, and that's why she fights so strong now.
and she says, still others are suffering more, so I prefer to bite my lip still, and she walks away.
Yeah.
And we cut to Booster, who's going on his own, like, this is dissociative mental
And he's
disorder.
like, hey, I know. I need someone who knows about bodies. And who knows about bodies? The Flash. And he's like, hey, Flash.
Not the dead Flash, the alive.
Yeah. He's like, the alive. I don't even know which Flash this is.
So this is Barry Allen, the forensic
Okay.
scientist.
He goes to
And-
Barry Allen and he's like, hey, what's up? Harley killed everyone, including Wally West.
And Phil's not exaggerating. Like, Booster's doing like is really like, "Hey guys, what's up?
Yeah.
Everyone's dead."
Oh, you know,
And,
like everyone who was there with Harley that got killed.
and the robot, this is why I think it's kind of on purpose because the robot connects the dots and he's like, "Booster, shut the fuck up! Like, shut the fuck
Yeah.
up!" Because this is Barry's nephew.
So show
that
some
died.
respect. That's Skeets. He has a name.
So Barry's nephew Wally was the one that died, the Flash that died. So Barry's like, "What are you talking about?" He runs away, and like this scene is funny because it's like comedic timing. Barry runs away, and like in the panel, he's back. He's like, "What did you do?"
And he's
he
crying and punching Booster in the face.
Yeah,
I just
and-
don't get how the Flash could ever lose to anyone when he's this fast. I'll never. Speedsters will never. I'll never not have a problem. with
We'll
that.
find out in a little bit.
We see how Wally was killed in the next
Who
issue.
could be a speedster? Only the most OP character in DC. Speaking of most OP characters, DC, Harley Quinn says her goodbyes to, I guess, Poison Ivy. Hinting at Poison Ivy's dead. She throws off a rose on top of a bridge, saying, "I shouldn't have run from Mr. J. I shouldn't have loved Mr. J. I shouldn't have helped Mr. J. I shouldn't have let anyone change me. I shouldn't have let anyone hurt me." And it ends with Lois Lane. getting
Well,
some
we have like a
message.
stinger of like Lois Lane receiving a letter from the person killing all the puddlers, all the
puddlers, yeah.
superheroes.
It's just like fucking Identity Crisis all over again.
Yeah. I'm waiting for it to be like, I know who your husband is.
And also, the Puddlers is a ridiculous sounding name.
I like
it. Watch out for the Puddlers.
It's a
It
unique.
sounds like a-
It's a unique thing.
Not to go off of your joke though about like I can't wait for them to say I know who your husband is. This scene is then bookmarked with Clark telling whoever the interviewer is in the sanctuary, who we don't know at this point, that he is Clark Kent and he is Superman.
Yeah. Which I actually, this is my favorite page of this comic because
Same.
I really like the idea of Superman being like, I don't know if I'm more Superman or Clark Kent, because he had to keep differentiating the two as it went on. And it's like,
He's
we're
like Clark. Clark is weak and
Yeah.
And shy and
Clark was
you know,
clumsy, Superman was reliable.
and he's like, am I Superman pretending to be flawed or am I Clark trying to be better?
My problem with this kind of scene though, and like I get why it stands out to like for like newer fans,
Yeah.
but like Superman has been Superman for like decades. He's married, he has a kid, and they act like this is the first time he's ever thought about this.
Yeah.
And I feel like for him to get this far into like continuity, like that scene would make more sense in an early Superman story, but this is current day. Same thing, Batman's like, I never thought about it. All these kids are like my family and they're dead. It's like, yeah, you've definitely thought about this before.
It's more like having a place to talk about it.
Yeah. Which I like is that
yeah,
they're able to
I
like
guess.
discuss it openly with a camera.
And here's the complicated part, because I don't know what the continuity of Superman is now. This is the old Superman from the old dimension, right?
Yeah, Ryan, this could be the first time he's thinking about this.
No, okay, this is an established Superman who's been around for a long time. He's from
from the
Flashpoint
old
Superman.
He's a pre-Flashpoint Superman.
Yeah.
So like that makes him. But that's the thing. Like one thing this event does well with the next issue is it goes into these really weird premises for new fans, but here it really had no way to like how I guess I mean you could
Also, for what it's worth, they like combined both. It's a complex thing to explain, but right now it's just this universe of Superman. It's always been this universe of Superman. Take it up with Mr. Mixopolitic if you got a problem with it, Sly.
Okay, so that's the thing. Like, I don't know, like, what if it isn't.
Just-
or not.
it's
you guys are
Superman.
missing the best part of this issue. Actually, is the page after where it says. The Dark Knight's strangest case begins when his parents are found murdered again, and it's zombie parents dragging Batman down to hell.
What is this,
That's-
an ad? I don't have that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's not.
Yeah,
That's
it's
Peter G. Tomasi's run.
It's his parents are killed again.
Poor Batman can't catch a break.
Poor Batman's parents. They keep coming back and dying in every single fucking continuity.
When I saw the ad, I was like, "This is a perfect way to end." it.
Sly, when you're dead, you don't suffer.
Okay, let's do issue 3.
Wait, first let's. So I know your thoughts, Ryan. This is shit, right?
Yeah, it doesn't. None of it makes any goddamn sense.
What were your thoughts, Daryl and Phil? What are your thoughts on this? issue?
I echo Ryan pretty closely. It doesn't make any sense. I'm still like interested in where it's going, but like as a murder mystery, I'm like, it's just impossible. You can't. I didn't buy when Harley fought Booster. I don't buy when she fights the Trinity. It's like I'm just like, all right, whatever. Like we're going with made up rules now, so sure.
Also, what happens that matters in this issue? Nothing.
We learned that Harley Quinn's power level, true power.
No, but like that's nothing. Like
no,
I feel
we
like
we get the fact that the Trinity is flawed. I guess.
You get some
okay.
power level. I mean, character development. You get some power level.
And to Phil, that's character development.
When Goku goes through so much fucking character development in Dragon Ball Z, it's off the charts. Okay, but my thoughts were, when I read this, I wanted to stop this Patreon bonus stuff.
Oh.
'Cause I'm like, it was a mistake. There's nothing solid about the series. It's fucking trash.
Yeah,
Just
so
everything
that's
else.
stop
indicative
2
of an
of
event.
9
That
in.
happens a lot.
I know.
First issues of events are good sometimes, and then like they just go
do-
off the rails right away.
Yeah.
So that is indicative of what we're trying to do here.
Yeah, when I talked about in the first issue, what I thought this just the potential to be and what it could probably most likely will become, this is what it was likely to become.
Mm-hmm.
And this third issue was more like what it should have been or what it should be if it keeps going down this path.
That's
But,
fair. That's a fair
yeah.
analysis of a thing I hate.
So issue 3, the cover is Batman holding the the mask of one of the sanctuary people.
People
This
wear
is
like
gold.
cloaks and the masks in Sanctuary in order not to be seen by each other, like to know who's like at this lodge with each other.
Because half of them have like fucking X-ray.
Which
visions.
which I was just thinking, if some have X-ray vision or you have like
You
photos
might have
of-
lead lining on the walls. That's how you can't get past X-ray vision, guys.
telepathy, right? It's like
Yeah.
Captain Reveal's thoughts, whatever.
You could just have a psychic. I don't know.
yeah,
fun
it
shit,
wouldn't
comic
work. You couldn't have these people at the same place together. But keep
Yeah,
going.
it's like when you're DM a campaign, and you have all these OP spells, and your DM's like, you just can't do it. Fuck you. You can't fucking talk out of here. And so the sanctuary masks, by the way, are like these gold, faceless, expressionless things, and they have like robes on top of that.
The alternate cover. Who's this M Lord dude that Wonder Woman? standing over?
Milord, it's Maxwell Lord.
Do they call him Milord?
No,
Okay.
We might. This is spoilers. We might do this fucking comic one day.
we
but,
probably will.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So.
So
it's-
spoilers.
Yeah. This is like one of Wonder Woman's biggest like moments.
Yeah.
So it opens with like different characters saying hi, Sanctuary.
We got Lagoon Boy. We got Wally
Boy.
West. We got Booster Gold.
Yeah, and we cut to each character doing weird things. Like Lewis keeps getting shot over and over again.
With like a laser beam.
Yeah.
Lagoon Boy.
Why West is putting the mask on this.
I like that Sly's like, all these characters are doing weird things. Lagoon Boy getting hit with lasers. Wally West missing his kids. What a weirdo.
Oh, wait, he's putting the gold mask on his face. This is a flashback when he's alive. He's putting a gold mask on his face. Come on, Jay, don't be scared. It's just a mask. It's still me. It's still Daddy. So he's talking to his kids.
Also, I think he's just reenacting fighting alongside them, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so first we see Booster arrive. It's his first. The day that everyone died was his first day. It turns out he shows up saying, "Hey, I'm here for a good time, guys."
Yeah, I just realized actually every page is alternating who it's discussing. So it alternates between Lagoon Boy, Wally, and Booster. And so Lagoon Boy's whole thing, as this is going on, is that he keeps getting shot with these lasers in like these woods, but it's because he was shot with a laser back when he was with the Titans, and so was like Power Boy and Little Barda.
Yeah.
And he says, I see it so many times every day when I wake up, when I go to sleep, over and over and over. So for you, I guess I've been shot with a laser 337 times, but for me, it's like always.
Yeah, and he's hoping that one time he'll get shot with a laser and it won't hurt and he won't be scared.
Yep.
And then he thinks he'll be over his nightmares. And like, this scene actually, like, Lagoon Boy's plot in this issue, like, really hit me pretty hard, because he's basically like, I am so afraid of pain that I have to keep hurting myself until I'm like scabbed over. And like, that's I thought it was pretty.
I was
good
picturing
stuff.
more like the laser represented like the traumatic moment of when he got shot with the laser, other people suffered as well, and it's trying to get over that by being like, the laser isn't real, like it's gone, it already happened, kind of
Like
thing.
I thought like
it's a
PTSD type thing.
Yeah,
He's trying
exactly.
to get over a specific event by desensitizing himself to it.
And why West with his family? He's with his family, but you could tell his kids had superpowers like him, and he had a wife too.
Poor Wally.
And that's what I like about this issue is Wally's history is very convoluted because it has to
Guys,
do with.
wait, real quick. Is this Captain Cold?
Yes.
Yes, that's kind of cool.
Okay.
I know someone.
So Wally West has to do pre-continuity, being from pre-Flashpoint, stuff like that. But even if you're in the reader, you could see his visions here and know what his deal was. You don't have to know that
he has kids with superpowers, and those kids aren't around anymore. That's all you need to know.
And so Booster is by himself in a chamber.
So basically, this is when it's revealed that it's a Kryptonian crystal chamber. That it's basically like the room of requirement in
I
Harry
was about
Potter.
to say, the
Yeah,
mirror.
or the danger room from X-Men. It just makes whatever you want it to make. So like for therapy, you could be in a field getting hit by a laser, or you could just be like sitting fighting, running around fighting crime with your kids, or like whatever you need.
So while reading this, I was like, this is terrible therapy that it's just like
Yes.
you pick. I'm like, no, you need a guided like psychological expert, like not just some thing saying if you want to just shoot yourself in the head over and over, like that's therapeutic. It's like this can be really destructive.
Some superheroes need different forms of therapy, Phil.
I know, but like
not human beings.
Voice. There is a voice that talks to them, but I agree that maybe it should be a little more hands-on.
Well, because he's like, what do you want? Asking someone, they may not know what they need.
Yes.
For what it's worth, though, it is Booster's first day. I think that could be useful insight to like, let's see where your psyche goes
true.
on the first day.
And they also, like with Lagoon Boy, the voice asks him, like, why you keep doing this? And he explained, I think I'm doing this because of this. Like, why are you gravitating toward this? And like he asked some question, like, why are you gravitating toward this moment and this image? And what good is it doing for you?
Yeah.
And I do think this is even with that said, I do think this is terrible therapy. But I will believe that people would do this. Having like AI have everyone's secrets and be trained to assault them, I think that's asking for trouble.
Yeah, I think it's less interesting. Just like if you think about like the practical nature of it, I think that's definitely flawed. It's just like it does make an interesting framing device for this issue where you're seeing how 3 different people choose to cope with their problems.
Yeah, and when I say practical, I'm not saying I don't believe anyone will do this. I will believe people will do this because people do view technology as a solution to their problems a lot of times.
Yeah.
I will believe in the world with this technology because people will use it in that form. I'm just saying I think it's going to be if the story's good, it will prove to be a flawed system that was inherently flawed.
Yeah.
So Booster sees himself and just started being the shit out of himself because he hates himself apparently.
Well, first he's arguing with himself, and
first.
and when he comes in here, he just keeps saying like awesome, outstanding, fantastic, and he's trying to act like a big tough guy. So now that he doesn't know what to do, he summons himself to talk to himself, and then basically he's revealing that he's just kind of a piece of shit inside.
Yeah, he's just being the shit out of himself. And as it's happening, an alarm goes off, and everyone's told to proceed to New York's exit. Lagoon Boy steps out and sees everyone dead on the field from the first issue, and then he gets pierced by it looks like metal or something. And as he dies, he starts laughing.
Because it's the same way, like the laser hits him all the time in the same spot. It's the
right in
same
the chest.
spot.
Yeah.
And then Flash starts running out, and he goes, "No!" And I'm like, "How can he ever lose? He's fucking Flash."
How can I ever lose? Good question. So he is on the front porch holding.
He's holding Roy Harper's dead body,
and he's like, "Roy, why did it the kids, I don't want to be alone. And then Harley Quinn gets a drop on his speedster and just kills him, like bashing him on the head.
With a big hammer. Everyone's
Yeah.
weakness, the big hammer.
Yeah. I mean, could you survive a big hammer bopping you?
I don't have super speed. Now keep in mind, Wally, before he got better powers, he got shot in the back of the head with a gun.
Whoa.
And he learned that his speed automatically kicked in when something like almost killed him because it was his body's natural reaction to stop that. So, that's the kind of power level the Flash was dealing with when he was still depowered. Yeah, but no, big hammer. Yeah.
Big hammer, come on.
He's too sad to not.
The answer is she's faster than the Speed Force.
Also, acrobats are not known for like being like brute strength. Like
Yeah, like
Why
how
she
she
needs a big hammer, otherwise she just would have punched him.
it's not that big. It's big, but like how much force could she? She's pretty petite.
It's like some anime shit, like in fucking
It
Sonic.
really is.
Like Sonic, where Amy has a big hammer bonk through her head. Like she's a frail, girl.
She's a petite acrobat, not
Yeah.
a fucking construction worker with that hammer.
Guys, you
Yeah.
this is what Tom King's doing to you. Every time you think you have Harley Quinn pegged down, you're wrong. Like, you guys are going to keep making the same mistake the next 6 issues.
So she goes to after she kills Wally West. Harley turns to Booster and says, "I didn't know you were here." And Booster says, "It's my first day."
And she's like, neat, how's it going so far?
And he's like, "Well, everyone's dead."
Yep. And then we have a final page of just pretty much everyone that got murdered here. Nemesis,
Yeah.
Solstice, Poison Ivy, Protector, Red Devil, Narc, Commander Steel, Gunfire,
the last
Tetsuman.
Cro-Magnon.
When I was seeing it, I'm like, is he the frozen guy that was flying around?
That would be a twist for the show.
So-
Excuse me, that guy was a Neanderthal? Cro-Magnons are Homo sapien like us.
Man, I feel like I made the same mistake in the last issue when you called it out on me. That
and so, as much as I defend the spirit behind this, like this last page pissed me off because it's just more sheep to the slaughter, basically.
So
Like,
this is why I think this issue is so terrible. There is a lot of really good moments. We covered all of them. But the reason why is because it's like you have these character moments between the 3 characters that we really see die. We don't see Booster die, but like this is a character-centric issue on the Goon Boy, Wally West, and Booster Gold. And because the issue's framed that way, it's a lot more engaging. You feel for the characters a lot more. Even though I find that framing device is very cruel because you already know that they're dead. We've already seen their mangled, bloody corpses, and now they just need to make us feel bad for it.
hold on. I don't think it's cruel because if you were going to do that, this is how you should do. You should go back and flash. That's why I thought that's what.
Well, I just think it's cruel in general to show a bunch of mangled bodies right away. But the reason why I think it's extra cruel framed this way is because now we had the whole issue only focusing on 3 characters that we watched die. Now we have just this last page, like, oh, just a reminder, here are 9 more cannon fodder characters for no reason.
Yes,
Like-
I agree with you on that. Yeah.
And if it's gonna be framed that way, we're laughing about Narc and all these dumb names and stuff, but these are still real characters with established histories, and like Henry was so mad when they killed Red Devil. He's like, why? Can he just not be in this book? And like, I don't even know who Protector is.
Okay, I want to say Protector. That's funny. It's actually really funny what Protector is. Protector was the replacement for Robin in like Nestle commercials because they didn't have the rights to Robin.
What?
For Teen Titans. Basically, like Nesquik had the rights to Teen Titans, and like Nabisco had the rights to Robin. So they made a Protector in the commercials. Instead of just using another character, they made a Protector just for the Nabisco commercials.
maybe you finally
Okay.
ran out of characters to
I
kill.
actually love when comics take old characters and they reinvent them in new ways.
Yeah, Protector could be good.
Okay, how do you know? You're judging him, but like
You judge us with Nabisco commercials, Daryl.
Yeah.
just because Nabisco made him doesn't mean he's not the best hero ever made.
So but the issue is, for me, framing it this way where it's like, oh, just a reminder, it's not just the characters you care about, it's also all these other characters are also mangled and bloody and dead. And then you flip back and you're like, oh, all 9 of these are bloody and dead in the field. Why do that? To me, it's just like, why?
So I will argue, and then I will defend you. That is my purview.
The slide method.
Gotta knock me down before you build me up.
Why do you put me a buttercup? So inherently, I think the idea that everyone's dead and you go back and tell their story. It could be. You could argue it's cruel. It's fair enough to argue it's cruel, but I think it could tell an interesting enough story to warrant that format.
Also, one other critique that I have is we are
Yeah.
now a third of the way through the story, and
Yeah.
we have not advanced the plot at all since the
Yeah.
first, 8 pages.
Very, very true. But I would also argue if the story was better structured, it could be advanced through flashbacks. But
Yeah, it could be, but we
it's
should
not.
have learned anything.
Yeah, yeah. We did learn that the AIs exist. We learned that.
Okay.
That's a huge plot.
Sure.
I think that's probably what killed them so far. That's my theory.
But we do explicitly see Wally get killed with a big hammer.
I know, but Booster goes beat himself up, and then Harley says she saw Booster kill everyone else.
No.
I think the AI.
Yeah, what I'm thinking is, I was wondering about this. Do you think it's going to be like Rashomon, where we're going to see it from Harley's point of view when Booster's killing everyone in another issue?
Yes, I think so. I think
Yeah,
it's probably the AI killing Wally West, and Harley or Booster saw Harley do it because the AI or something like that.
Oh yeah, the AI can mimic the.
Or
Maybe-
does it even I feel like, does it even have to mimic it? Could it just be like, they're so wacky?
But I think for Booster's sake, whatever AI's purpose is, I think for Booster's sake, they want him to see it as Harley. If there's a purpose, it's a good story. If it's not, it's bullshit. We'll see.
We'll see.
But yeah, to back up Ryan though, when I saw Lagoon's flashback, it made me care about him, and I don't even know Lagoon Boy that more well. I only know him from Young Justice a little bit, whom I watched with him in it, and I thought that was like a powerful sentiment that he wanted to relive that moment.
Yeah.
The problem is, like, I'm thinking of stuff. I compared this to something like Lost or something where every character had flashbacks. The problem is that everyone's not on equal footing here. Like, Nemesis is not here on the same level as Wally, or Gunfire, Tattoo Man are not gonna get the same attention as Lagoon Boy. They're just here to add to the body count, and it could have been anyone in these roles, pretty much. Probably, I'm assuming
Why not Little Barda? Why not whoever else he said?
Yeah, this is just clearing out house, which is what a lot of these mass killings and comic events are.
But this
They're
is
just-
especially a mass killing event. I don't know if I've ever read one as
Narc needed to die, and you guys are gonna find out why.
Hey,
Spoilers,
it's
I
all
am
gonna come
Tom
together.
King.
Narc is actually built up in the same book that fixed Wally West and Roy Harper.
like what was it? The guy who died in the first issue, who kept saying I'm heating up. Like
Oh yeah.
all he died.
Oh, Hot
probably
Pants or whatever.
Hot
is
shot.
all he died. The only reason he probably I'm willing to bet now that the reason he died was just to be that sealister everyone forgot about, so Superman could be like, oh, he was that sealister, that catchphrase.
Yeah,
He's dead
yeah,
too.
it's done for tragedy.
Yeah, but like that's the extent of his purpose here, and all the characters would be lucky if they get that much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I miss Hot Shot.
R.I.P. Final thoughts for everyone.
that's bad.
Let's keep reading.
Yeah, I don't think it's good, but I'm willing to keep reading.
I'm not writing it
Yeah.
off yet, especially because I want to see whether or not he does justify Harley being able to fight everyone.
Well, I've already
Yeah.
spent
She's the AI.
$12 on this fucking book. Might as well keep going.
Yeah, if it was only third issue, I would have more. If it was the first issue and third issue, I would have faith. The fact the second issue exists makes me think, nah, it's probably gonna be shit. But
Yeah.
I'm willing to give it at least a chance because it's an interesting premise at the very least. And so,
One final note I just want to make is this issue. The other two were all done by Clayman on art. This is Clayman just does the first and last page, but Lee Weeks does the middle, and the art in this book is still excellent.
yes, and also I should. Speaking of art, Ryan? Have you seen the cover for issue 4 yet?
No,
It's Harley Quinn standing over Wally West's corpse, laughing.
great. Thanks.
Wait, I'm looking it up! Oh, yeah.
Yep.
What'd she say? Not so fast anymore? Oh,
Cool.
you weren't fast enough? Yeah.
Yep.
It's true. She's right.
She's faster than Flash, faster than Superman, better fighter than Batman, prepared for the new Harley Quinn meta.
Oh my god, except this time she has a gone revisionist history. This is why the book sucks.
So we'll see you guys in 2 months. Thanks for giving us money so I could buy these books.
Yeah, let us know if you like these, if you want to keep doing it. It is interesting to see this event as our expectations are shattered and fulfilled in real time.
I do have to say, reading it this way with you guys is very fun.
Yeah.
I agree.
I agree.
It's interesting
so
seeing
that's-
you guys say, like, these characters I love, and like how you brought up the Superman point, where I was like, oh, I guess that's a fair point. Because it's like, someone that hasn't read a lot of Superman, I always feel like that's a novel thing that he discusses. Whereas, like, anytime Batman talks about, like, his parents or the fact that Robins keep dying, I'm also kind of bored of that. But it's because
Yeah.
I'm more used to Batman canon.
I can see that.
Yeah, when you get used to, that's why we always gravitate toward the C-listers because we've seen Superman and Batman they've dived into a million times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we
very
know the
true.
fucking deal. Alright, so that's been it for Divisive Issues Patreon. I've been Sly.
I've been Ryan.
I've been Phil.
I've been Daryl. Don't get murdered.
Hello,
Wow.
welcome to
Wow.
the Patreon.
Wow, we are in high spirits today, I guess, guys.
You might say we're in crisis.
I am a hero for doing this for you people.
Nice try. You got one, Phil?
What?
Well, it doesn't even care. Feels like checked out. He's like traumatized.
Yeah, I don't. I as you guys stated, I was stress reading this before we recorded. I'm like, I gotta get this done, and I'm reading this. And I'm like, God damn it! I want this.
Phil didn't know we had to record today, so we had to read like 9 comic issues in 2 hours.
And to end with these two, because I did the other ones first. To end
We
with
did
Heroes
Ultimates
of
2
Crisis.
to peel back the curtain a bit.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't read this. It's so not good.
What's
Yes.
interesting about this is that
Daryl likes it.
King gives us so much material to get mad at.
Yes.
Like every issue, you actually have a lot of things to get into and to be like, why would you do this?
It really feels like he's trolling. Like, if this was a troll, it'll be... If this is like a dream at the end of it, like, just to hike up sales, kudos, but it's not gonna be it.
Okay, just in case, for some reason, this is your first Patreon episode, we have been doing Heroes in Crisis in 2-issue chunks. It's the current DC event, so we're letting Phil and Daryl experience what it's like to read an event month after month. And like every event, the longer it goes on, the less everyone enjoys it.
This is the point of the event where we usually stop reading it.
Yeah, this is when everyone starts going, okay, enough.
Yeah. So,
Wait, let me say one thing, and I can say this safely probably because not many people I know will actually have Patreon for us. But
I hate my fans. I hate all of you.
I was talking. I was talking to a coworker today, and I was like, "Hey, yeah, for our comic thing, we're reading this thing called Heroes in Crisis." He's like, "Oh yeah, I picked them up 1 through 5, and I read them the other day." And I'm like, "Really?" And he's like, "Yeah, they're pretty good." And I'm like, "Ooh." I was like, "Are they though?" and I'm like, you know, they're like, I've only read 1 through 3 so far. This was earlier today, but like the whole Harley stuff. And he's like, "Yeah, she's pretty bad." I'm like, "She's like the main focus of this goddamn comic."
So Phil just met the target demographic for his book.
But so what his argument was, even just reading from 1 through 3, is that from a new reader, he hasn't been into comics in a long time. He's just jumping back in. It's not like the other events he's read in the past, where it's like you have to read this issue of this comic.
Okay, that's fair.
and that's fair. And I'm like, this is pretty self-contained. But that's about it.
Yeah, it's bad still.
It's
Okay,
not good. It's self-contained bad.
So Daryl be narrating it because Phil fucking stretch Reddit. Stretch Reddit. Whatever.
I was stretching myself like elongated.
Ryan wanted to stretch Reddit, but he had to read it normally. And what happened is he never wants to touch and talk about it again. And I read this when it came out, and I don't want to fucking skim it again. So I'm gonna be reminded what happened through Daryl.
Now, you know
Daryl,
what?
Narrate it to me.
Sly, you know how many times you've fucking been like, Ryan liked this thing. And you said this book was good like 2 months
No,
ago.
I said it had potential. Don't you
Yeah.
fucking put words in my mouth. Don't you pull on me, okay?
Don't you pull a me on me.
So it starts
there
with
you go. 4 and
some
5.
drunk Teen Titan dude in a bar being drunk.
Oh, that's Aqualad. Show some respect.
Is it? Oh.
oh, that's why he's like, I could swim.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
get up,
His name is
Tempest.
Tempest now, but yeah.
Oh yeah, and the photo that they show for the like they have the splash page of like a character's trauma file. It's Aquaman when his hand got eaten off in place of a hook hand.
It got eaten off?
You know,
By piranhas.
What about this cover of Harley Quinn shooting the Flash in the face or something?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess he wasn't fast enough.
So Joe, our beloved co-host,
Our beloved Joe.
our beloved ex-co-host, he texted me. I'm glad. He said when he saw the cover of Harley killing the Flash again, saying, "Guess he just wasn't fast enough." He was like, "Wow, they really just hate you particularly, don't they, Ryan?" And I was like, "Well, you know what, Joe? I just have to say thank you because you're the one paying for these issues for me with your Patreon money." He was like, "Anything I could do to ease the pain, buddy."
That's good.
And we have Donna Troy. Like every issue has just people talking to the cameras inside of what is this facility's name?
Sanctuary.
Sanctuary.
Yeah. So Tempest is passed out drunk at a bar, and Donna Troy picks him up and carries him home.
Don't try being the original Wonder Girl.
Yes.
Yeah,
course.
and she talks about Helen of Troy.
Very self-contained.
Yeah. All these characters I fucking know them all. Nemesis, fucking Lagoon Boy. I know all these characters. I don't need to read anything else.
I forgot. I wanted to mention this before. As I was reading this, I got to a point where I was like, why does everyone speak the same way? Is this just how Tom King speaks? Because
think
everyone
yes.
speaks in sentence fragments with a lot of like periods. Like it reminded me how Jack Kirby
Maybe
always
it
puts
should.
exclamation points for like
Maybe it
everything
shouldn't.
he does.
Maybe it's just a mistake.
Yeah,
Maybe it was never there in the first place.
Yeah.
They look for it. They find ruins, but they don't know. It should exist. There's so much built around it. It should be.
Jack Kirby's a good comparison because a lot of '60s writers wrote everyone the same way.
Yes.
But it's a problem in modern comics too. We haven't done much Bendis, but Bendis has this problem.
Yeah, it's called Bendis speak in the comic.
But
fandom.
it's just so crazy to me how like Booster's like sarcastic and quippy, and then there's points where it's like Batman's like that. I'm like, what? And Batgirl, I'm like, what? Why do this with these characters?
So Tom King first really rose in popularity and like gained like notoriety as a big up and coming talent when he did a 12-issue series on the Vision, and that short staccato robotic talking works very well for the
Someone not
Vision.
human. Yeah. So, Wonder Woman wraps the lasso around Booster, and it's like, tell me everything that happened.
Oh,
in
even
Sanctuary.
before that, Flash and Batman are both investigating. Flash is convinced Booster did the murders, and Batman's convinced Harley's done the murders. And then Flash goes, "Fuck."
Yep. And
It's
she's
very
like,
Barry- it's a very
what happened?
Barry Allen thing to say, by the way. But,
Yeah. And Booster's like, I saw Harley Quinn murder everyone and laughing that she was hitting me. And then she has to bring up this, which I like in one of the comments for this comic, or someone said that they brought it up because this was a plot hole that he was supposed to have a shield from Brainiac that like would keep him immune. And Booster Gold just goes like, I don't know, maybe it failed or she had something stronger.
maybe the writer of this
Yeah,
forgot. that-
maybe Harley Quinn had something stronger than Brainiac.
She had a big hammer, Phil.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the transition that Ryan.
I'm about to get real
Yeah.
mad, guys.
About Brainiac's shield?
Yeah, Ryan.
No.
Ryan texted me right away about Brainiac's shield, saying, "What the fuck is this?" Shit?
No, that's not what I'm talking about.
I know. I'm making a joke. I know. But Ryan texted me about this the day it came out about this transition.
So now you turn the page.
Yeah.
So you turn the page from Booster recounting this murder scene.
Yeah. And it's a full page of just Lois Lane in her underwear.
like really hot
With a
Lois Lane.
Superman shirt
She's
on.
posing sexually. She has her legs out. She's like, "Hey, big
yeah,
boy."
Superman shirt, red undies, full page, and the
And
artist
she's saying,
was like,
what do you want me to do? That's all she's saying.
yeah. And book's supposed to be about trauma. Keep your fucking cheesecake bullshit out of here. And also, the artist was like, "Oh, I put her in that outfit to show that she's vulnerable and intimate with her husband." And like it's supposed to just be like, look, she's relaxed in her natural comfort environment. I'm like, make her fucking brush her teeth then. You don't need to put her in her underwear like this. That's so fucking stupid.
You don't have to have a splash page of her posing because they have Superman next panel in the bed, and he's not in like they don't have
Yeah,
a
and
splash
he's in
page.
his undies laying in bed, but it's like it's a third of the page, just like him laying with like Lois to the right, her
It's-
silhouette.
that-
Yeah,
Panels-
because who wants to see
Yeah.
him? They want to see her.
And that panel's even less than third of a page because her like half naked body stretches into
Yeah.
it and gets in the way of that panel.
Yeah.
But all she says is that the puddler, the guy who did the killings or whatever the spray painted on the walls, he or she has been sending her tapes and footage from Sanctuary.
Yeah, more
I hope
confessions.
that's his official name when after this year's over, the Puddler, and he just comes back as the Puddler.
It's gotta be.
Yeah. And then she's like, what do I do? It is
Clark,
news.
this is news. I know. I just don't know.
And then the next page is a 9-panel grid of Batgirl, who ages ago we covered the Killing Joke, and where she was shot in the spine and paralyzed, and we get her silently showing all of her scars. So she takes off her utility belt, she shows the scar on the front where the bullet went
She
through.
lowers her pants to show her
Yeah.
it, and then she turns around and lowers her pants to show her it in the,
Yeah,
in the spine.
and superheroes are supposed to be wearing tights, but usually they show more like texture to the fabric or more thickness to the fabric. She looks like she's naked, and they just drew like the
This is
cloth
the
on it.
one where I was like, I think it's because Clayman is such a good artist, and he specifically was either like told or wanted to, where it's like, this is a really tight suit. This is just like she's only wearing spandex, and that's
You can
it.
see the outline of her butt, like the curve of
Yeah.
her butt.
And the thing that's so infuriating about this, because having someone who has a physical trauma like this showing her scars could be a very powerful, impactful thing.
Yeah, I like the idea.
Yeah, I like the idea a lot, but it's after this full page of Lois, which makes it especially like, hey, look, hey, look, hey, look.
Yeah.
And if you look back at the Donna Troy scene from the beginning, it is zoomed in further. You don't see crotch, you don't see her ass.
Yeah.
So now it's like zoomed out, so you see her whole body, and it's like one of the most cheesecakey panels I've seen by anyone that wasn't Gilliam March. And it's like so unnecessary, and the juxtaposition in this book is infuriatingly sexist. And I always compare this to Identity Crisis, because Identity Crisis deals with similar themes, and it does have a lot of problematic misogynistic stuff in it, but like this is somehow worse so far, at least.
Yeah, and also just to be my nitpicky self, this fucking costume really fucking sucks. Like, how does her dad not know that's her? Like,
Yeah.
The mask.
And also, this whole Barbara is handled and written so poorly this whole fucking series, but
She is
whatever.
so bizarre, because then our next scene that comes up later is Barbara Gordon in a hall of mirrors with Harley Quinn, and it's like one of the things where it's like it just shows them like back and forth, and there's all the like the images around them.
And the mirrors are placed so that you get very clear tit shots every single time.
Sure. Yeah.
Very annoying. Why do this?
But
Stop.
then they start fighting each other, and Barbara reveals that she's just trying to help. And then we get this section where she talks about, like, how long is it going to be? This is Barbara talking to Harley. How long is it going to be before Batman does what I did? Goes through the old haunts and finds you just where I found you. He'll take you and he'll judge you. He'll see you the way he sees me, as pitiful, broken, just another product of his failure to capture the stupid Joker, another scared, scarred girl on his conscience. And he'll make assumptions about you, what you can and can't do, who you are, what you did. And she talks about how she's hurting, and as this is going on, like, she's holding her hands, like she goes to catch her punch, and then they go into like they're holding hands. And I feel like this is what Heroes in Crisis, this is why Tom King's making it. I think he's trying to say that, like, you can be scarred but be like a full person too.
But it doesn't.
But I feel like he doesn't go anywhere besides that. And we'll get into this in the next issue. He does the same thing again, where he's like, you can be scarred, but you can be still a normal person. And it's like,
there's nothing poignant about.
Do you need 9 issues to like make this your
'Cause, like,
thesis
so-
statement?
Yeah, this
So
is
the
not
scene
illuminating.
ends-
This is not illuminating the idea. Like, there's nothing
Yeah.
about Harley being afraid for murder and about Batgirl expositing all this that illuminates that concept.
And it just balances between these things so much, where it's like, look, she's scarred, now she's fighting, now they're talking,
Like, if it was
now
about,
they're
if it was,
gone.
like, if it was about like a hero like dealing with PTSD, but it's not. Like, they're just saying Harley Quinn has PTSD. Like,
Yeah. And, like, I just don't get this, because, like, the scene ends with them, like, hugging, and, Harley says, hey, girl, Bat, and Barbara says, hey, Harley, how you doing? And this, thematically, like, could work. But it just doesn't make any sense. And one of my big problems with this is because the main characters we've been following have pretty much been Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. Batman is...
No, I would say it's Harley Quinn and Booster.
Yeah,
Those
yeah.
are the
Okay.
two.
they have been like these weird like interjecting characters every now and then. It's really
Okay,
weird.
yeah, but Booster and Harley are the suspects. Batman is sure that Harley killed everyone. Barbara, I guess, doesn't believe that at all.
Yeah, because
And-
she feels some resonance with her.
Yeah, but
Even
I
though
don't-
Harley Quinn has fucking killed people in this fucking continuity. The new
Yeah,
continuity.
we've seen, and even in this book, we've seen her murder people. And Barbara, like, also, it doesn't make sense because, like, and I'm not going to get hung up on, like, continuity, but I don't remember a time where Batman was like, Barbara Gordon is this broken, useless, pitiful creature.
I will-
That's not a thing.
I will defend this a little bit.
Okay.
She may feel that way, even if he doesn't
That's
say
true.
it.
That's true.
In Suicide Squad, there is a thing where Barbara was bitter at Batman because she was basically, she got crippled, and then Batman fought the Joker, and they had a good laugh together, and she basically got bitter at Batman for being like between that fight. So I could see her disliking Batman when it comes to how he reacted to her after she got crippled.
But this makes it seem like this has been like their entire characterization,
Yeah,
which I don't think is fair. And also,
It's more that, but her argument, not that she doesn't, like, her dislike of Batman comes from that he sees her as pitiful and broken.
Yeah, and there's nothing about that. There's nothing about he thinking, because she was useful as fucking Oracle. Like, there's
Yeah.
no.
And also, like, I understand too that she's talking about the stigma here when she talks about, like, you know, people make assumptions about you when
Yeah.
you've been through trauma, when you're hurt, and that it could be a very powerful, poignant point because that is totally 100% a thing.
Yeah.
But I feel like by making it Barbara, who is a character that her whole arc for like 20 years was she overcame this trauma and became like in my opinion, a much, much better character than she ever was in the past. And like, is like, I know when they like healed her, you know, her paralysis, it was like a big deal because she was one of the most like representative characters of like handicapped and disabled people in comics that like doesn't exist anywhere else.
Yeah.
And since she's been healed, hasn't really existed at all. And to have her be like, well, you know, everybody treats me so different, I feel like almost does a disservice to her character growth that she overcame those stigmas.
Especially because we're going to talk about this next issue, especially. This book doesn't earn it. We never see Batman and Batgirl's relationship being fleshed out this way
Yes.
Yeah.
by Tom King. He's just telling us this is their relationship. It's so deep. I'm making it so deep. And now she has a connection with Harley Quinn that I'm just expositing it to you because their relationship is so deep. None of this is earned. None of this is earned.
Yep, and on top of that, Harley Quinn is just not sympathetic at this point in the
No,
story,
she-
really. Like, there's bits where you can be like, maybe, but she's, like, really far out there.
I feel like you have to be a Harley Quinn fan person to...
Yeah, to be like, but, like, are those people are like, she has so much depth, she's such a troubled soul, or
There are
like,
people
I like
who-
her being crazy.
No, people do argue that Harley Quinn is inspiring because she pushed away the Joker and she's a recovering trauma victim. But those are different from they try to argue that she's a good person. She's not a good person.
Yeah. And also, this panel of them hugging,
Yeah.
the mirrors are set up where you get to look at Harley's butt 4 different ways.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Cool.
I was point that out too. Yeah, you can see asses everywhere.
It sucks.
The ass doesn't suck. The fact that they put it there,
Yeah.
sucks. It's pretty good.
These are pretty guys. So we cut to Black Canary and Green Arrow. They say some shit. I don't think it matters.
A lot of characters just keep showing up. For
Yeah,
no
I
reason.
was like, why the
Maybe
fuck
it's the
do I
show that's
care?
like, this is what I do. Here's why I'm wondering. Green Arrow's knocking his arrow in, like, the first panel, and he's firing. Is he just shooting down seagulls?
I guess. So.
Also, there's a hat that's blowing in the wind in the first panel. Was that Black Canary's hat?
She doesn't have her hats. I don't know.
Well, whose hat is that then?
Green
Why
Arrow's-
draw a
Green
hat
Arrow
there?
wears hats. Maybe it's
Also-
Green Arrow.
There was
Oh my
just a
god!
story-
What if this is a clue, guys? I'm gonna start theory crafting. I'll be right back.
There was just a story that there's like millions of golf balls off the coast of California, people hitting them, and it's like destroying the whole environment.
Yeah.
I'm gonna think that that's Green Arrow's
Yeah,
fault now.
Green Arrow just tosses his hats every fucking day. Well, I was gonna say bring this up just because I do like the idea of the scene. Black Canary, they show her testimonial scene, and she just says fuck this and walks out.
That's the name of the issue.
But this would work better if it was a character's actions. Like if there's one character in the
Yes.
story that you just got locked out of what their psyche was. But Black Canary's not even in the story, so her being blocked off doesn't matter at all to the story at all.
Yeah.
So good job. That even that didn't work.
I just didn't feel anything reading any of these.
Yeah.
Yes.
things. Like I felt like so blank. Where I'm like,
I felt
okay.
confusion.
I realized I fucking hate Booster Gold. I already hated Harley Quinn, but and I can't blame it because I love Booster and a lot of other things, but he's
Okay, good.
him in these next fucking scenes. Like he
He is insufferable in this book.
yes, I can't fucking stand him. He's like 5 years old. Like
he is! Oh my god, he is like a little kid!
like Blue Beetle like talks to him. And he's like trying to get him to fucking like wrap his mind around the mystery and try to take it seriously. And like he frees him out of prison, and they're like, "Whoa, bros
I love
before
this.
they say bros before heroes together."
And he's like, I forgot. I remembered the code. Bros before heroes. And he goes, dude, bros before heroes. And I'm like, kill me now.
Yeah.
And like Booster and Beetle have always been like these like dumb kind of like frat boy idiots, but they always had more depth to them because they were still trying to be heroes. They were just like friends first. So I get this sentiment, but it's super dumb.
It
It
is
sounds
so dumb. And you get Blue Beetle's testimonial to the Sanctuary television where he's like, I have a friend, I have Booster. He's easy to dismiss. That's sort of what he's known for, really. But to me, he's the guy that's there, you know? You need a guy who's there. Also, that was the other thing that pissed me off about Tom King's writing, is he does sentence fragments all the time, but every sentence is linked to the last one by, like, 1 or 2 words or ideas, so he just, like, spins it in another way.
Yeah.
I can see some people talking like that, but he doesn't.
You need a guy who's there, or anybody who's there, someone who's been in it, who's done things as bad as you. You need that. I need that, at least.
and if you're not reading this book with us, don't ever read this book.
There's a kind of bad melody to it, now that I'm thinking about it.
The testimonials are literally just like almost copy and pasted scenes. So the dialogue is the only thing carrying these testimonials.
Yeah.
If the
It
dialogue
felt like
doesn't work-
novel when you were looking at the testimonials of the characters that died, because this is giving you an insight into who they were before they were just corpses. But now we're just getting to the point where it's like what does this tell me about Blue Beetle's trauma? Nothing. It just tells me, like, I love Booster. He's great. He's my bro. Bros before he is.
Yeah.
And then we get
And
the
then
this Batcave scene. Wonder Woman punches Batman's penny off
the giant
wall.
penny he has in the Batcave. If you watch like the cartoon or anything,
Yep.
Yeah.
and Batman's
It's
like
so dumb. And then this scene is useless.
Yeah, and then Superman's like, I have something to tell you guys, and the Batman goes, I'll hide the dinosaur, so it doesn't get also punched. And then Batman later says, maybe I'll punch the dinosaur. And it's like, what are you doing, Tom?
I kind of like the
It's a book about trauma, and Batman's referring to a dinosaur in his lair, the dinosaur.
I actually kind of like the penny punching joke, but
Sure, I'm good with that, but it's like Batman saying, maybe I'll punch the dinosaur.
yes.
Just,
Like, the joke was physical, because Wonder Woman just punches again, and then Batman reacts to it, but now Batman's just quipping after that.
Yeah.
So now Batman's just quipping.
And the thing, this point of the scene is that Superman is saying that he's revealing that Lois has been sent these videos from Sanctuary, and they're like, why didn't you tell us about this? And he's like, it's her source, which first, you can tell people that somebody's telling you something without giving up your source. That's not how it fucking works. But then they do this fucking Watchmen bullshit where he's like, it's important, it's the news, she has to report it. And they're like, when is it coming out? And he's like, she sent it 35 seconds ago.
What was that?
I was like, Superman, tell them in advance so they know.
is absolutely an allusion to that, because it's like it's taken from the ground up, like looking up at him with the news, the TVs on the background saying exclusive breaking news, Sanctuary.
And like he's supposed to be saying like that I can't reveal her source, which is fine. I get that, but you could say a source is doing this. He's the puddler.
She's a reporter. I'm a reporter. The link between those two sentences was reporter.
And so it breaks that the Sanctuary exists. Heroes go there for PTSD,
And
then
to talk about pointless pages, we were talking about Mark Millar's pointless final pages. The final page should have been fucking the article that Lois released. What is Sanctuary?
Yeah.
But instead, it's
No, it
Batgirl
should have
said-
been the Ozymandias.
No, but
illusion.
whatever. It should have been Batgirl being like, "Oh, I guess they released it. I guess this is gonna change the world," and they keep walking. Okay, great.
Harley Quinn and the Batgirl. And then
Yeah.
they're like, she's like, it will change the world. And then Harley Quinn goes, okay, good. Fuck the world. It needs changing. I'm like, fuck this comic.
Yeah, let's
Is
listen
Harley
to
supposed to
Harley.
be our hero? If we're supposed to be
How's she
invested in
supposed to
her
be our
growth,
hero?
why have her hammering our heroes to death in the last issue?
It's because those aren't our heroes, Ryan. They're our villains.
Guys, let's end this life.
We still have
No, we got one
fucking
more
issue to
issue.
cover.
Yeah.
God damn.
Issue 5, and the picture here is Jason Todd being murdered by the
Yeah.
Joker with the
Great.
crowbar.
And the cover is just Superman pointing at people who are mad at him.
Yeah, and you got,
I've been getting the variant, like the file covers, because I think they're kind of cool.
Yeah, I would get those if I were to get anything from this fucking series, just to cut out the rest of the comic and put them on my wall.
and we have Booster Gold talking to the Sanctuary thing, and it, like
Okay,
I,
I
kinda
know
like this-
we're running a little long, but I have to give context for the scene.
Okay.
The last time Tom King wrote Booster Gold, it was in his Batman run, and Batman was about to get married, and Booster thought it would be a fun present to put Batman in an alternate world where his parents didn't die, so that he would learn to appreciate that he should have been Batman all along, and then Booster had to kill Batman's parents in front of him so that he would now realize, no, see, it's good that you're a hero. Look at all the people you saved. Isn't this world better with Batman than with your parents?
Wait, Ryan,
Yeah.
is this the run you always argue? Are these one of the runs you always argue is actually good?
I did, but the last couple arcs, not so much.
What? This is one of the most like dumb comic book things I think I've
When
ever.
I told Joe about this, Joe was like, "You guys have to do that Booster Gold story." We might, maybe we should.
I think we have to. Yeah, now.
It just sounds so dumb out of context.
It's very dumb in context too.
I'm gonna go on a limb and say Tom King's a bad writer. I'm sorry.
Okay,
Ryan.
now I have no faith about this ending well. Okay,
So that's what he's talking about. Booster's talking about how he watched this alternate
Wait,
universe
sorry,
Batman.
hold on. I can't believe not only did he write that, he referenced in this fucking book.
Yeah.
Cause
So
I'm like,
in that book, Batman, seeing his parents die, shoots himself in the face.
That's
Booster
why I
has
was
to
wondering
fix
when he
it.
said, I saw alt-time Batman killing himself because of something I did. It was
Yeah.
a whole thing. I'm like, Well, I wonder what that whole thing
Yeah,
was. So
it's that. And this would be normally like an offhanded comment. It's like, oh, Booster has weird adventures, whatever. But no, this is a Tom King story that he's referencing. And so Booster's talking about how like he had blood on his visor, and no matter how many times he cleans it, he keeps seeing the blood. I'm Lady Macbeth. Yeah, we get it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
Blood in the Way is the title of the book. I'm so deep. They eating pizza in front of fucking Booster Gold and Blue Beetle eating pizza in front of the not pizza chips.
The TV.
They're just drinking beers.
Well, all Neptune's Ocean wash this blood
Okay,
from my
why
hands.
the fuck? Why are they in their costumes? Drinking beer and
Bros
eating
before
pizza?
hero.
I think it's trying to be funny.
Okay.
We talked about we talked about this off.
Yeah,
mic.
because you wouldn't know if it was just like two white dudes hanging out. You'd be like, okay.
Also, they like I love how fucking Booster wears socks. Like that. Just like he has this super like high tech future costume, and then like ratty socks. Just
Yeah, I should have. I mean, I said this in the beginning when I said this book had potential. Like every Booster Gold,
I agreed with you.
every Booster Gold in the Harley Quinn scene was trying to be so fucking funny. And I don't fucking get why he made this decision. To try
This
to be
is
humorous.
so dumb. They're so bright. Bruce is just like, I got it. The idea, the move. Blue Beetle's like, yeah. Flash, we go see Barry at his lab. He'll have all the clues by now. We knock him out, steal the clues, solve the mystery. WWBD. What would Barry do? And
Yeah.
He's like, it's literally the dumbest move. Oh my god, we already did that thing. He's like, you wouldn't expect us to do it again. And then Blue Beetle's like, dude. And Bruce's like, I know.
Yeah, so even,
And they clink beers.
yeah, so they're going back to Barry because it'll be the dumbest thing to do, and that'll be no one will suspect they're going to do it. So they go back to
Because
Barry.
they are the smartest people. They'll never expect the dumbest move.
Yeah. And then this is actually my favorite thing in this whole thing is the Commander Seal talking about that he keeps getting killed over and over again because he's a hero. And then he comes back to life, and then he just like gets killed again. And at one point, Superwoman uses his leg as a club, and you can see him like kind of smiling at that. And this is where I think like Tom King wants to use humor a lot to be like to lighten the mood with like the Booster Bro scene, but I think it's much better here where you're referencing like weird past things
Yeah.
and you're kind of juxtaposing it with
Yeah.
how weird it is. Where it's like after I died, Superwoman ripped off my leg and was using it as a club, and it's like you can imagine how that'd look. And then it like he gets into more of a dour mood, and he's like, I don't think I'm alive again, but I don't think I'll be alive for long. Like I doubt it'll stick.
Yeah, that's why I was befuddled by the fact that Tom King's referencing his old weird fucking concept of that Batman story. And it makes me take away all credit I gave him for that fucking Wally West flashback scene where I'm like, oh, this could be accessible. No, it can't. You have to fucking read a Batman story where Booster Gold kills his parents. No, fuck this book.
And,
Well, I
okay,
mean, he passes by that comment so fast, you don't really.
But
really
like, are you
know.
gonna get significance of that of what that means? I didn't
No.
understand what he was talking about at
You
all.
won't.
yeah. And okay, there's an art choice on this page that I just want to talk about that's really weird. Commander Steel is so like jacked that he has this like collarbone type vein that makes a perfect straight line across every row, and I can't stop looking at it. It's like a shelf that his head sits on, and it's really weird. But aside from that, I think his facial expressions are good.
It's probably because it was copy and pasted. It's probably the same pose.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah. All right, and then you have Batman talking to Batgirl, and this is where we get some just like
And this is the
weird
thing is like
dialogue.
Batgirl. She's talking. She in the
No,
last issue
before
talks
this,
about
Batman
how,
goes, he's been checked, referring to Booster's little flying buddy.
Skeets?
Skeets, yeah. And then Skeets goes,
Oh,
he
skeet,
checked
skeet,
me.
skeet, 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 skeet. Oh, skeet,
I'm-
skeet.
But the thing that bothers me so much is in the last issue, she talked about how Batman judges her and makes
Yes.
assumptions because of her
Yes.
trauma and all this stuff.
Yes.
And here she's like, "Fine, cool, thanks, that's cool, thank you, Batman, you rock." And
She's
that is
giving
like,
thumbs up, and it's like, this is the scene where you can establish how mean he is to her,
Yeah.
how he thinks of her as broken. Instead, he's just like, contact me if something was missed.
And this is also the weird thing about comics because New 52 Batgirl being like, yo, you rock, Batman, was something she would not probably say before New 52.
yeah, but if you're gonna, this is pulling on classic Barbara type personality, costume, everything. Having the new, like, you know, like Millennial and Brooklyn style Barbara doesn't work
Yeah.
with the story they're trying to tell.
Yeah, definitely. That's why it's New 52 is a bad idea.
Anyway, Barbara's gonna take Skeets, and she's gonna get the information of where Booster is out of him. And then we have Superman and Lois Lane. Superman's
writing
like,
a speech
Yeah.
for the press conference for the Justice League.
Yeah.
Speech.
you get Solstice doing her confession where she can't control her powers, which we don't know who she is.
I like this. I only know a little bit about Solstice. I know she's returned to like a golden form before, and now
Yeah, she's like an old Teen Titans character, right?
yeah. Now she turns only into black, and she transformed back, and she can't help it but turn back into her black form again. I thought that was kind of a nice scene.
Yeah, but again, like, why establish this? Because we already know she's dead. It
Yeah,
doesn't
and
do
We
anything.
haven't seen anything of her ever, so it's like
Yeah.
you feel bad for her, but it's like, but who is she again?
I'm adding that context to her because I know a little bit about her.
But I was like, they did that at the beginning too. We saw those bodies, and then it's like, this is them as people. They came here to fix this trauma, and they're all dead.
We don't even know why she can't transform or anything. They don't explain it yet.
I feel so bad for Solstice because when she first showed up, 10 issues later, they rebooted the entire universe. So, like, good job.
Yeah, that's,
The,
that's movie too we talked about where.
All right, so Barbara takes Skeets to a park, and then it's like, since I can't do anything to get information out of you, since like Batman couldn't do anything, here's something that will help. Here's a crazy Harley Quinn with a hammer, and she will smash you if you don't tell us. So Skeets says, "Oh shit."
I was like, God damn, why would this little robot be like, oh shit?
Yeah, Skeets-
just like Barry.
Okay, Skeets has always been like a robot with a personality, more of a character than a robot. But Batman went through all of his files. I don't think that's how computers work. They can't keep
Maybe he
secrets.
can.
He's keeping a secret now, Ryan. He's from the future.
Oh, you're right.
Brainiac's shield, right? Something. Oh my god, this is like the creme de la creme of this issue. You just have fucking Booster Gold with this smug, dumbass face jumping into Barry's lab.
Barry's in his lab trying to solve the murder.
He's the primary murder.
Yeah, and
suspect.
he goes, "Hey Barry, how's the whole mystery solving going? Did I do it?" And then Barry punches him, and then
Wait, Barry says, "What is wrong with you?" Well, I was thinking this entire fucking comic I've been reading so far.
The Flash is the only one with half a brain in this whole fucking book.
And then Barry says, "Don't move." And then Booster Gold says, "I won't if you won't." And Barry goes, "What?" And then he shoots him
That Booster
with...
Gold just shoots him. Like,
How
it's like
does
a
this
trick.
work? If you are a speedster, don't you see it start to happen and then move? I don't understand. Flash.
He literally defeated him via look over there method. Like,
My favorite thing about this scene is the next page is an ad for a Batman Flash crossover, and in the ad, the Flash is dead in an alley covered in garbage, and I like that he's like shocked, and then he falls on the ground, and then the next page is like, also he's dead.
And also, I find funny, they have the Protector show up. I mentioned before, he was the replacement for Robin because Nesquik didn't have the rights to fucking Robin. and he talks about how he was don't do drugs. He's like, he said, don't do drugs, kids. And he's like, I did drugs. Okay, great. A lot of insight into that character, Tom King. Glad you brought him back.
Okay, I do really like the like, I guess it's a joke where he's like, my catchphrase is don't take drugs or else. I took a lot of drugs, I did a lot of stuff, and then like everything, I didn't really think words meant anything. But then my whole life was just or else.
yeah, there's moments where it's like, I like how he like finishes this or how he writes this little bit. It's just like, it's surrounded by like the last page of just like Booster Gold somehow defeating Wally and being a shithead the entire time.
Yeah, and also remember, this season is supposed to like flesh out his characters and justify them appearing in this book and then dying. And like Ryan predicted, it was not going to be worth it. You were right, Ryan.
And then this whole end makes no fucking sense to me at all.
This is like 8 pages of Superman giving a statement about superheroes that they suffer a lot of like trauma and they have to protect people and it's difficult for them, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't like fear them, as it's like cutting around to different images of
Really random superheroes. Like,
So
these superheroes have nothing to do with the story. Adam fucking Strange. fucking Mr. Terrific.
At first, it reminded me at the beginning of that scene in Identity Crisis where they're talking about like the trauma, and it cuts to like Barry's wife missing her husband, and like Wonder Woman missing her mom, and like things that you like Phil and Daryl didn't know the context of, but got what they were going for.
Yes. Whereas here we have like Captain Marvel with a jetpack on another planet with a big eyeball.
What
in the background.
trauma did Captain Adam Strange go through when he got teleported to the fucking ninth dimension? What the fuck is this?
So first we have Blue Devil, who's crying over the coffin of Kid Devil, which is basically just designed to make Henry, me, and no one else sad.
They don't even clarify that Kid Devil was in that fucking coffin.
Yeah,
It's
so, like-
Yeah. But I mean, I got the idea. You get big blue man with horns sad.
But then,
But
and
like,
then-
you don't know that one of the characters that died specifically.
Yeah,
which
you
character-
don't. I'm just like, he's sad. I assume this
Yeah,
was.
but
maybe
then we
a
got
situation.
Adam Strange standing on a foreign planet with giant eyeballs, holding 2 ray guns.
talking about how are we somehow broken or polluted? Are we
Yeah, we got-
unworthy of your
Mr.
trust?
Terrific is fighting ninjas.
Yeah, we got Mr. Terrific fighting ninjas with his T-spheres. We also have the Atom, Swamp Thing, Starfire, Zatanna, Aquaman, characters that have not been in this fucking book at all. Why are they here?
But it's
what
about
trauma do they have?
this is when
I don't
Superman's
know.
doing is though you may break my body, I will stand. Though you silence my voice, it's supposed to be showing like the strength of that heroes embody. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, heroes go through a lot of shit to stand up to evil, and
Yes.
the fact that they get PTSD and other wounds should not scare you. It should show you that they're warriors who are fighting for you, and they're human.
Superman can't finish his speech because he's so choked up. Wonder puts his hand on his shoulder and he continues. I forgot what his fucking trauma was already. Like it was like one page, like ages ago. You did not sell that Superman's this traumatized, choked up person in this fucking scene.
And the only thing of note that happens here is while he's giving the speech, Booster and Blue Beetle are reviewing the footage and looking through Flash's files. And Booster talks about how like time travel cops would would see people. They would base them on the RNA coding to see how old they were, and that's why Booster memorized everyone's birthday. And then it zooms in on Wally West, and they realize that Wally is 5 days too old for when he was killed. So there's some time travel shenanigans going on.
Yeah.
And while he's thinking that and revealing that, Harley and Barbara smash through the window. Or no, they don't have to because Booster already did it. They go in and they're like, Barbara's like, we're here to talk to you. Harley's like, I'm going to murder you.
Yeah.
And I hate these goddamn these scenes where she keeps saying, "I'm gonna murder him, not kill him," and she's like, "Harley, those are the same thing," and she's like, "That can't be true. I'm gonna
Make the same joke.
I'm gonna
3
massacre
times.
him," and she's like, "That's still kill," and I'm like, "What?"
It's the rule of threes. You always.
You guys might hate me, but I do like the final scene where she said, Mr. J is like, "Why did the chicken cross the road?" And she says, "Duh, to get to the other side." And Mr. J said, "No, to get to the moron's house." And she says, and then he said, "Knock, knock." And I said, "Who's there?" And he said, "The chicken." And then he started hitting me. He hit me good. I thought that was okay.
Yeah. It's a weird like stinger to end on, being like, I don't know what I'm.
Yeah, like he abused you.
Like this could have fit anywhere else in the comic.
It could have. I 100% agree with that. But it feels like
it's her, confession style thing like we've been seeing.
yeah. But it feels like a good Harley's off kilter kind of approach.
Yeah. It's
kind
like
of
that's
thing.
fine with her. rather-
Also, by them coming in the already broken window, I didn't realize this when I first read it. Does this mean the Flash is just like unconscious in the corner? They didn't like copy his data. They're just like walking over his body every once in a while.
I think they are. I think that's something.
I feel like the Flash would wake up pretty fast.
I feel like he wouldn't be taking out Booster Gold ever.
Oh, that's true.
And so final
Wait,
thoughts. I can't
Harley
believe this-
beats Booster, Booster beats Flash. Oh, we already know Harley beats the Flash. Never
Yeah,
mind.
yeah. So final
Oh, there's
thoughts.
also a person that picks up a rose on a beach. They're the killer.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah,
We forgot to mention that. Very
Who gives a
important.
shit?
Who
They're
gives
wearing
a
red
fuck?
gloves.
Well, Superman's giving his speech. The rose floats in it. It says it's a sign, so it could be poison ivy, maybe, because it's a sign.
Oh, maybe. Does Poison Ivy wear red gloves?
I don't know.
It's probably Poison Ivy. Okay, Mr. Self. Okay, we can stop reading this. No, we can't. We have to finish this fight. Oh, God. 4 more issues left.
Okay. Is everyone on the same page that as each issue is making you like this less and less as time goes on?
I never liked it.
At first, I was
Yeah, me
interested in
neither.
the idea, and I like Sly. I thought it showed promise. I really wanted to see how it was executed. I liked the vignettes of having the confessions and everything.
It got old really fast, though.
Yeah.
Like for me, like you know me with Identity Crisis, I don't care that much about the plot twist of like Harley Quinn can beat everyone. I'm like, okay, fine. What are you trying, Tom King?
yeah.
Why are you writing this story? What do you want to tell me about superheroes and trauma? And I feel like with Superman's speech and with Batgirl talking to Harley, what he's revealing is that superheroes aren't perfect, that they have their flaws, but that doesn't make them incomplete people. And he's done it twice so far, and I'm like, okay, I understand, but you're not treading new water. You're not using their like history in an interesting way to discuss this.
Yeah.
You're telling me something I know.
You're just killing a bunch of them and making a bunch of like really lame fucking testimonials.
Yeah, if you're not going to use their characterization and their history, why use characters that exist? Like if they're just bodies that have like vague trauma, you could use new characters that you just
Yeah,
made
you can
up.
make an Elseworlds, and like Dal said, they already got the point across. Like, what the fuck else are you gonna do for 4 more issues? This speech should have been at the fucking end when it felt like it would have a point to existing, but no, it's right here for no reason.
Maybe there's some crazy twist we'll get to later on where it's like
And
the
what
Puddler is Sanctuary or something.
Puzzler is definitely
One of my big
the Puzzler is
problems,
definitely
too-
Sanctuary. That's definitely the twist.
We are now more than halfway through. We have 4 issues left. We've finished 5. And I feel like we have not learned anything since, like, the first issue. Like, we knew that the puddler was
Superman's Ozymandias.
Oh yeah,
but, like, even, like, we knew very early, like, within the first 2 issues, that, like, the puddler had this, like, footage, and they knew about this trauma, and all these people were dead, and Booster and Harley were the suspects. We have gotten nothing. Now we know that maybe there's some time travel involved.
Shouldn't be. Wally's body's older than it should be there.
well, I learned thanks to Ryan that Booster killed Batman's parents. So.
Yeah, so he's immediately untrustworthy, right?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Booster killed Batman's parents.
Tom King's a bad writer. I'm gonna defend that argument. For
You're gonna shout it from the rooftops.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so let's wrap this shit up.
You had a thing you wanted to say, Sly.
God damn it! Don't ask.
Don't read this.
Don't read this. No. So we are going to poll. We're going away forever. We're going to start polling our listenership. You guys, our Patreons, specifically because you guys pay money. Patron.
Yeah, it's patrons.
What the fuck ever.
Our viewers.
Viewers like you. We're going to poll you guys.
See this to derail Sly.
Yeah. We're going.
He's trying so hard.
I forgot about this fucking comic until you reminded me. And then you brought in that fucking bombshell about the dead parents.
Fucking bomb.
I can't believe that was a
Sly,
comic.
you're still a complete person even with this bombshell information.
I need sanctuary to make me shoot myself. So we're going to ask you, our patrons, to tell us what you guys want us to cover on the main show, because we're covering stuff we want to cover, but since you guys are paying us money, we could start doing stuff you want to cover. I know, like, Identity Crisis is a big one people want us to cover. I know Ultimates and Ultimates 2 were always heavily requested. Old Man Logan was heavily requested, but usually we do that whenever it's our fancy and our whims, but we kind of want to reverse that a bit and, you know, support our fans a bit more and do our whims in between the big events you guys want us to cover. So let us know if you want us to do books like Ultimates and not Heroes in Crisis. We're not going to do it for main show. We're never going to talk about this ever again after the series. We're going to pretend it never happened. But, you know, like, whatever books you want us to cover, it doesn't have to be... it probably will be because everyone wants to hear us talk about the big events like House of M and stuff like that. Yeah. But whatever you want us to cover, we will cover it.
So send us an email to divisiveissues@gmail.com, and we are going to eventually start taking suggestions from everybody, but we want to put our patrons at a higher, where we respect you more and listen to you more. So you should put a code word in the email. What should the code word be so we know that they're secret patrons?
Oh shit! Oh fuck!
Bros before heroes. Bros before heroes.
Yeah, bros before heroes.
Bros before heroes. Yes.
Yeah.
Because you guys are our bros.
We're not heroes.
Yes.
So yes, if you put Bros Before Heroes when you suggest a book, then we're a lot more likely.
Yeah, and while you're at it, we asked this last time really awkwardly because we did not structure anything. Like you can see through my rambling here. Do you like us doing the Jimmy Olsen Silver Age issues? Let us know. Let us know what you'd like to cover on Patreon instead, potentially. If you want us to keep doing goofy shit, if you want us to do more shit like Heroes in Crisis, please don't. We beg you. But
we also, you know, some of our old Patreon episodes, we had like where we talked about Man of Steel, you know, where we also just discussed like philosophical things about superheroes. Like, is that something people would be more interested in? You know,
if
stuff like that.
Issue or something like a single issue that we want us to cover, that'll be prime Patreon material. Let us know that kind of stuff. Or a single topic, that'll be prime Patreon material too. And if you want, or let us know what you want us to cover after Heroes in Crisis. Well, there's another. I don't know what the fuck's coming out next.
Another
year.
shitty event we need to follow.
Something will come out probably.
Always a crisis, like
Yeah, certainly.
Infinite Earth Hero Crisis.
Crisis on Infinite Earth. Final Crisis.
Yeah, so just let us know what you want us to read on either this show or the main show.
Spiritual crisis.
Cool.
I'm having a crisis.
Existential crisis. So thank you for backing us as always, and thank you for listening to these very fun, if not infuriating at times, Patreon episodes. I've been Ryan.
I've been Sly.
I've been Phil.
I've been Daryl. Bros before hoes, guys. Shoot, no, heroes.
Bros before heroes. Yes.
Stay in Patreon mode. Hello, dear patrons. It is Ryan, your host. And I just wanted to pop in real quick with just a little bit of a content warning. This is our regular Heroes in Crisis, Part 4, issues 6 through 8. But in this episode, we do talk a lot about mental illness and some trauma, violence, and even some suicide talk. So if that's something you don't want to hear, then feel free to skip this one. But I hope you like the episode. Here you go. Hello, and welcome to the Divisive Issues Patreon episode. I'm Ryan.
I'm Sly.
I'm Phil.
I'm Daryl.
And this is Heroes in Crisis Part 4?
Yep.
I forgot. Whatever. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. So we're changing it up just a little bit. Instead of doing 2 issues, we will be doing 3 issues of the current DC event, Heroes in Crisis.
And you're probably wondering, how can we fit 3 jam-packed issues of content to one episode? Wait and see, true believers.
Well, it's because one issue kind of isn't an issue.
Yes, so we will be covering issues 6, 7, and 8, 8 of which just came out a few days ago.
Hot off the presses, yeah.
Yeah, hot off the presses. And it's still by Tom King, and the art is split mostly between Clayman and Mitch Gerards. And here we
I thought
go.
Clayman was another hero. Superhero.
Clayman.
Man had been doing most of the art before, right? Because I think it's his art where I'm like, wow, this is really good. Whereas I think Gerard's, when like his stuff showed up, I was like,
Whoever does the fill-in stuff, yeah.
Well, Mitch Gerards has a long history with Tom King. He did Mr. Miracle with him, and I love. I think his art really, really works with King's style. Well, most of the time, but not to bury the lead here, but I couldn't even give a shit about the art in the last couple issues. I was like, whatever.
I still cared because I was partially reading this still for Man's art. I was
Yeah.
like, this still looks like really great. And it's just like it's hard to pair those two together because Man to me stands out more, even if Gerard's is still a good artist.
I'll stick up for Man. I'll stick up for Man. I think Man works fine. My problem is I thought you were referring to the fill-in artist in the second issue, which is drastically different from Gerard. Like,
Oh,
in terms of-
yeah.
Oh, it might be him that I was thinking of.
Yeah, that might be who you were thinking of. Because the thing is, like, with Clayman, I think Clayman is a fantastic artist, but we talked about extensively how, like, not really a big fan of some of his framing shots, especially for women. But,
Yeah.
but, that's more the focus of last episode. Let's get in to issue 6.
Oh, I'm a hero in crisis
Heroes
right
in
now.
Crisis.
Before we jump in, I just want to point out they have those all the covers with like the crisis file, like Death of Barry Allen.
Yeah.
Who the fuck is taking these photos? When Barry Allen died in Crisis on Infinite Earths, like this guy-
Psychopirate, probably.
I think as revealed later, people's memories get like recorded and you can access them. So
Okay.
like this is probably through the
Did
eyes
they
of
say
someone.
that people's memories get recorded?
Well, like
I don't think so.
It's like Danger Room simulations. I guess they do a Danger Room simulation of this shit happening.
that's what I thought. It's the
When
memories.
Batman's getting his back broken, who is that picture taken from?
Yeah,
Whatever.
but I feel like it makes sense. They make a Danger Room simulation of it, and then I guess
Yeah, because
take a
they're
photo.
reliving these experiences over and over. So it's like the
It's just the Polaroid framing of this.
Yeah, it's like
little-
Sanctuary's taking a Polaroid shot of them having PTSD.
I have to say, these variants, the specific DC continuity case file variants, the only thing I like about this book.
Yeah, they're nice. So
I've been getting them for every issue except the most recent one.
It's because it's things that aren't this book.
Yeah. No, but I always find, like, those kind of, like, continuity things, like the, like, defining moments, like, cool to look
it
back
shows
on as a
that
whole.
it shows what this book should have been about, like the traumatic moments from superhero
Yes.
stuff like that. Like, but
Yes.
they have nothing to do with the actual story. It's just like heroes, bad things happen to certain heroes in the past. Just make an alternate cover out of it.
Yes. So, okay. Issue 6. Who wants to talk about this?
I can talk about these if you guys don't care.
Sure. You're Daryl. It's especially appropriate because I feel like you're the poetic narc of the podcast.
Poetic. Oh, narc. Narc.
Oh,
I thought you meant like narc.
me too. I'm like, what is he snitching on us for?
my memory of everything we've done so far in this comic in general is gone. Did Narc show up before?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
No, but where? Wasn't it just like a single...
Yeah, it was like in passing. It's just like, I'm Narc. I'm in the Titans book.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this issue split between Narc, Wally West, and Harley Quinn. It's all of them giving their confessions at Sanctuary.
Yeah, so in case you don't remember, Narc is like a Cro-Magnon man that was unfrozen. So
He's
like
a fucking caveman's comic
Yeah.
we did like
He's
Batman.
yeah, he's the guy Batman.
Oh,
fought,
yeah. And Wally West is the Flash. whose history was erased, and he's back here dealing with the fact that his family's gone. And
Harley
Quinn is
and
Harley
Booster
Quinn.
Gold are fucking annoying.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
so just a point of clarification for me. His family's erased because of Flashpoint? Or
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I was like, why is he so like he's like I can't
So
okay.
hold on, because this comes up in the last issue. So the universe got erased. All of his family's all gone, but is Linda, his wife, still around?
The thing is, that's all the history. They created alternate history, it's like an alternate history where none of the previous stuff happened. Like
So
Yeah.
in Dan Abnett, creator of Death's Head 2, in his Titans
Nice.
run, he had Wally like with all his because Wally like was brought back into our universe, but none of his family came with it, and he was basically like trying to like find his place, and he meets the new Linda, and she has no memory of him whatsoever, and is like super freaked out by him, like, we have babies, and she's like, I
Yeah.
don't know anything about, which is like an interesting concept of him like.
Yeah.
Having to see, almost like an
if
Eternal
your spouse
Sunshine
had no
type
memory
thing.
of you,
Yeah.
or like an alternate. Yeah.
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 Okay. So this issue just split between them, and this issue, like when I got to the end of it, there was the only information you get from this, like plot wise, is basically that Harley saw a different series of events than Booster did when she came out.
we got that from issue 1, by the way.
Yeah.
That's true, but this time it lets you see that she's not making it up.
But-
She actually saw different events.
You could cut this out of all the comics we've read so far. You can cut down to like issue 1, issue 8, and you would not miss much from this fucking.
No,
story.
but
Yeah.
wait, this issue is really important because Narc tells us about like Hobbes and Rousseau. So if you've never been to high school before and you have no idea who these people are,
Hey, intro to philosophy in college too.
I will say, like Phil's mocking it. This was probably my favorite thing out of this entire fucking series so far.
Yeah.
Because it's more of what I expected. Like, these characters are dead. Like, now they're dead. And now we get to see a little bit of their mindset. And yeah, it is just Hobbes and elementary philosophy.
He
but
talks about Keats
it's-
too. I like Keats.
yeah.
It's Narc. Basically, Narc is reliving inside of Sanctuary his life as the Cro-Magnon man running around bashing
riding
people
a
rocks.
mammoth.
Yeah.
He's trying to rectify, like, what was my life like before when I lived like this, and then what is my life like after when I read philosophers, and 'cause
Yeah,
he's trying to find his place.
He
in the
basically
world,
is like going
too.
through like, oh, Hobbes, Leviathan, like life is without civilization is like nasty, British, and short. But Rousseau says also, we're chained by society, and he's like, I don't know which is better.
Yeah, so I like it because it touches on his character.
Yeah.
Like, he says, "Let's
I'm mocking it. I enjoyed it too, but it's more like the fact that they're like, let's pick the caveman to do this.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
If this was a good series, this would not seem out of place. But since this is a bad series, and like this is like one of the few characters that die that gets any exposure, it makes no sense whatsoever why out of all the characters this guy gets it.
And the fact that he can recite Keats, but still is like narc happy, like
Yeah.
Without chain, Narc know his need, and Narc meet his need.
I like that because
Narc happy.
I like that because at least gives him some color to his character. It makes him memorable. Like he's like
Yeah.
me, Narc, me, I'm happy.
Yeah.
But he's
Yeah.
talking about philosophy, so at least makes him memorable. I remember Narc the most out of any character from this book. Probably.
that is true. And I guess if you grow up speaking a certain way, people do keep that way of speaking generally. So
I still like issue 2 a lot for when it shows like all the other characters,
Yeah.
where they're like,
Yeah,
hey,
Hot
this is,
Shot or
like,
whatever.
all their thing. Yeah, and this just felt like it was redoing it, and it's
Yeah,
even
I
more
agree with
confusing
that a
because
lot.
I'm down with Narc, but then we have Wally West, who we already saw, we know what his problem is,
Yeah.
and we see Harley
Yes.
Quinn, who we're currently dealing with, so we don't need to necessarily
Yeah.
know her time at Sanctuary. We
I
have a
agree.
good grasp on it.
The problem is, like, first of all, the testimonial style is getting fucking super repetitive in the first place.
Yes,
Like, I'm really fucking sick of it by this point. I just like the character moments of Narc was what I liked, and the same thing with Aquaboy. What was his name?
Aqualad.
Not Aqualad. I forget his name. The
Lagoon Boy.
Was it Aqualad?
Fish Boy, right?
Lagoon Boy.
Lagoon Boy, Lagoon
Oh,
Boy,
Lagoon Boy.
Lagoon Boy. Like that's what I thought the series was going to be.
Aqualad, Fish Boy, Fishman.
When I stand for this series, I expect to be more like the stuff with Lagoon Boy and Narc.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
there's
yeah.
nothing
Yeah.
about that really at all.
And the only other, aside from the Narc stuff, the only other stuff that we really get is that Wally is, like, he says all this stuff before, but he also seems to be feeling guilty about something by the end of the issue. And we also get a lot of Poison Ivy, where Harley and Poison Ivy are, like, we see more of their dynamic, and we see that Poison Ivy has been helping Harley through her trauma by, like, building up like plant Jokers and tearing them down, like in the danger room and stuff, like helping her like watch the Joker get like the shit beat out of him constantly, and we just see that interplay a little bit.
And Harley, even though she knows like I'm supposed to feel good about killing the Joker, she still cries over it. Like she still has feelings for him.
You also get this amazing Tom King page of where it's Harley and Poison Ivy, like they're sitting down, they're talking to each other, and both of them are just speaking in sentence fragments the entire time. And it's like 30 blurbs each.
When you said amazing Tom King moment, I thought you were like amazing moment as another writer, but no, it's the most like Tom King page. Like,
And the thing that I hate about this is it's the bubbles, the word bubbles are done in like a backwards S. And at the beginning, they establish right away, like, which one's Harley and which one's Poison Ivy. But then, like, reading them back and forth, especially because they both sound exactly the same. Yeah. You, like, at least for me, unless maybe it's just because I'm an idiot,
I felt the same way.
Yeah, I couldn't keep track of which one was which because they point to the characters at the very end. So it's like...
Why not color the bubbles differently?
Yeah.
No, for me, I was following it, but the thing is, they both are like... Where Poison Ivy's like, you're not crazy, and then she's like, I'm crazy, and then Harley's like, you're not crazy, I'm crazy. So they're both like saying...
They're saying the same exact thing, both saying they're both crazy, and don't worry about yourself, I'm the crazy one. It's people, like, this was a problem in, like, the 2000s with, like, Brian Michael Bendis, Rise of the War 2, but it shows you how much we've devolved since then, because when you read Bendis, you could at least tell which character was talking, because he at least has a distinctive, like, voice to certain characters. This is just fucking, like... you could swap the text around. It doesn't make a fucking difference for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the only other like superhero trauma we get in this issue is like the main framing device that I agree with you, Sly. I find it, I'm like really sick of it at this point. Yeah. Is the sanctuary robots are asking the heroes, how many people have you saved? And most of them are very uncomfortable with that question because they're like, some people are like, every person I save is somebody that I didn't save, you know, and like Wally's like, I don't like
count
bread.
it.
Yeah.
Solstice is like 437.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's that issue.
But one thing to finally mention is, because it's going to touch upon the next issue, is Wally... everyone was like, when Wally came back, like, you're a symbol of hope. You're a symbol of hope that, like, the past still exists and, like, we can, like, change things. You're a symbol of hope, Wally. And Wally's like, my family's dead. I don't feel like hope much right now.
The thing with that is that is actually like literally what it is, because like the DC universe was in like super shambles and their sales were in the tank, and like nobody gave a shit about DC during the New 52, and then they literally published this big one shot and they brought back Wally and all these other status quos, and their sales skyrocketed because all their fans were like, maybe you guys get it. I actually have hope that DC's not going to be a pile of shit anymore. And Tom King's like, no, his family's dead. Fuck you. So like it's just the meta analysis a little on the nose for me.
Yeah.
Oh, because I was wondering, because there's a lot of points where you kind of just have to assume, or you're fine without knowing the context beforehand. Like in the beginning, where it's like it's the loss of Barry Allen, and it's like I don't know what that is. Now, obviously, it's Flashpoint and stuff, but you get it. It's like that there was suffering and loss that had happened. But then a big part of this is that a lot of people tell Wally, "You are the symbol of hope." I'm like, I don't know what that means.
Yeah. Yes,
like is that just like a phrase, or is he actually like, if he dies, hope dies?
It's literally
comics would do that.
It's just meta analysis, because like that's not a thing in the universe. Like he was the Flash, but like since he came back, he's only interacted with like people that like were his friends. Like he was not a big figure in the universe.
Is this a mantle he's taken up, and now it's meta commentary on how he saved DC?
And like that's why it feels so weird, because this like using Wally in this book is like, because like most people don't really give a shit because Barry is the Flash everybody knows. So it's just like. This is just to make me feel bad. That's it.
This whole series makes Brian feel bad. We'll get into when we get to issue 8.
Yeah.
So
Let's go to the next issue.
Issue 7, the cover
so
is...
the one thing I just want to point out is with issue 7... No, this isn't like a thing. This is
it's just funny how many times one thing I need to point out.
I know. So this has 3 different artists on it. Some of them only come in for like 3 fill-in pages. So I think this is what we were talking about the art being a big mix-up. Is like...
Yeah.
There's one artist that looks like Batman Year 1. It does not suit the rest of the style at all.
Yeah, so that's Travis Moore. There's also George Fornes. And yeah, it's like this issue jumps back and forth a lot, and it is jarring.
It is
so
jarring.
Batman's in his black cowl with the short ears.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Batman Year...
If
you know Frank Miller, Batman Year 1, like not Daryl and Phil, but like our listeners... Yeah. Imagine that, like, in the middle of, like, a Jim Lee, like, super realistic drawing comic.
How dare you assume I don't know what you're talking about?
Yeah, I read Year 1.
I didn't even listen to what you said, but I
And also to talk about things not making like incongruency. The cover shows Superman saying no if he's not in this comic at all.
I was wondering that too, and I wondering.
Oh, I have the variant where it's Kilowog murdered from Emerald Twilight.
Oh, it's not in this fucking.
Oh.
I have an ad of Shazam the movie.
That's cool. That's a loss I recognize.
Yeah.
I don't pay as much attention to the visual art of comics, but like even I was like, what the fuck is happening in between these pages?
Yeah.
Like when Batman and Barry Allen are hanging out, I'm like, this can't be the same person.
Barry Allen looks like a fat like middle-aged man. Like it's so noticeable.
I wonder if there were rewrites. Because that happens a lot in events sometimes. I don't know, but
It
I
might
don't have any,
make
insider
sense
knowledge
because I think maybe rewrites or the equivalent of like a reshoot in the film because all that artist covers is Barry Allen is running around the world trying to find Booster Gold, and that's all that is to cover. So I think at some point somebody told Tom King you forgot to write like whatever else is doing at some point. Like
Yeah.
That does sound pretty likely actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it could be something where he read up on it, where it's like, wouldn't Batman have surveillance tapes of all Booster's locations?
Yeah, something like some.
So then he had to explain away. It's like, okay, like he at least recognizes that.
Yeah.
All right, so it opens with
It's Wally
West.
Yeah, he's in a field of flowers.
And he planted them in the title of Heroes in Crisis. Isn't that nice
Which,
of him?
okay.
Just for us.
I don't know if it's me. I like couldn't read this.
Yeah, it's
I could.
It's like pink, bright pink on like bright green.
It uses the only light blue is used for the text,
Yeah.
and the pink is
I was looking
a bit
at the
scattered
pink.
around.
That's why.
It's readable, but like I had to take a step back and be like, what are they writing?
Yeah.
I sometimes I like it when it's like it's a little more subdued, so that you're not just like, oh yeah, here's like just text in flower formation.
Yeah.
It's like, this is clever.
I felt like I was looking at one of those. Remember those old 3D like pictures?
yeah, that's why you
Yeah.
have to go cross-eyed.
It's a ship.
That's what it feels like.
Oh, it's the title, Heroes in Crisis.
I used to really love those, by the way. I thought those were so cool. Those books.
I did too.
I couldn't get them to work ever. I don't know what's wrong with me.
So Wally is reciting a poem that Linda read at their wedding, because just fuck you, Ryan, that's why. And he uses the Speed Force to like shoot a little bit of lightning into a dead rose that now fills it back with life.
By the way, is that always a thing that he can use?
Nope.
Okay, because I was like, wow, I didn't realize he can just like zap Speed Force into things. But
Yeah.
Yep, that's
He-
not a thing.
Sends it back in time.
That's gonna be important. It's gonna be important for later. I can zap.
Okay,
things with
okay.
Speed Force.
I know that's like a joke, Daryl, but I just have to point out that I'll get to later why I was like going through a lot of Tom King's mentions today on Twitter.
Okay.
But
Oh, boy.
somebody was like, in the most recent Flash story, they said that you can't travel through time with the Speed Force at all. And he's like, I know, I read it. So no, he's not sending that flower back in time. He's hitting it with lightning, which makes it come back from the dead. Because I guess it's like,
Frankenstein.
yeah.
He's not using the Speed Force. He's using magic. Maybe you didn't know that about him.
Oh, you're right. I always forget that the Flash is a magic-based
Also,
hero.
if it's maybe the Speed Force is like a life force, he's putting life into it. Maybe.
It is like some magical bullshit. I do believe. but-
Listen. I'm not willing to sit here on this podcast and have Daryl and Phil explain to me how the Flash works. I don't care how frazzled I am.
Having read
Guess
zero
what,
Flash
motherfucker? That's how comics work. Since there's so much dumb
Yeah.
shit, we can just make up whatever, and it's just.
If
as
I was
plausible.
the writer, hey, guess what? I would also make him zap flowers and turn them into things. It's canon now.
I've read much Flash with Ryan, but you guys aren't too far off. Sorry to trigger you, Ryan.
Okay, yeah, but,
All right.
but
Anyway, let's get to actually something that matters. Harley's deciding to fight
I was just
Booster
about
for
to
some
like,
reason.
this is literally like issue 1 again. Harley Quinn beats up Booster Gold.
But what's better is now their friends are sitting on the sidelines, just like talking
Yeah,
to each other, being like,
and
should
the
we do
friends are
something?
Batgirl and Blue Beetle, and they're basically like Harley's like trying to stab him through the chest, and she's like, "I told her no killing," and Blue Beetle's
Yeah.
like, "Don't worry, he has a force field, and it's
Yeah.
powered by my
It's-
ship." And
Yeah, powered by my brain. I hope I don't fall unconscious.
And then background knocks unconscious. And I want to clarify the reason why I was like kind of standing for the last issue a bit is because it didn't have Booster Gold or Harley Quinn in it. So now I fucking hate the series again. I hate the dialogue in every single Booster and Harley. Like it's so fucking like we're trying to be funny and it's not funny.
Yeah.
And
it's also like really jarring because like she's like they're watching their friend, I guess, try to kill their other friend.
Yeah.
And like even if he's not in danger, that's not fun
No,
to
it's
like
not
crack
fun.
jokes about.
Yeah, and especially Batgirl. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And Harley Quinn is still a murderer. She's literally a
I
murderer.
will.
So
I
like,
will
it's not
say,
like-
to defend this.
Go ahead.
I have this problem with almost every comic movie I've seen or comic things. It always has to be lighthearted, even when none of this is funny.
The thing is, okay, but I agree that's a problem. It is high in this issue because it is literally a supervillain fighting a superhero, and two, this is between actual like rated R content that will never be in a superhero movie. Like,
And also
true.
keep
The-
in
the
mind, these are the
massacre
These are the two most likely suspects for murdering all of their friends.
yes, like
did we ever believe Harley killed all the superheroes? I guess so. Actually,
yeah,
yes.
she killed the Flash. She had the hammer, hit him on the head.
I didn't believe it only because I knew like Harley's kind of like the Mary Sue of the series, so they're not gonna make her the killer. But like in character wise, it makes perfect sense that she'll be the killer.
Yeah,
But no-
and then
yeah,
so that's when to go with what Phil was saying, Ted Kord, Blue Beetle is like, yeah, it's it's powered by my ship, which is powered by my consciousness, and she just knocks him out, and then Batgirl has to like run over and actually stop Harley from killing.
Yeah,
Bruce.
remember, no killing. I'm serious.
Blue Beetle is like glass jaw of the world. Like she like barely flicks her wrist at him, and he just is knocked unconscious.
Because it's supposed to be a funny panel of her just like bonk on the head and he's out. That's just,
Yeah.
Fuck this comic.
And
To quote Booster Gold on the next page, fuck everything.
they're realizing that like it's Harley and Booster talking, and Booster's like, whatever, just kill me. Am I worth it? I failed. I failed the future. I failed the past. Fuck it. Fuck everyone. And then Harley's also like, she can't kill him because I guess she feels
Batgirl
like she's
gives her like the chance to stab Booster through the face.
Yeah.
Like she runs
Yeah.
over to stop her, but like it's just because Harley decided at the last second not to. Good, cool, I guess.
it would have been fucking awesome if Harley just killed murder somebody from the Batgirl.
yeah. And Batgirl's like, oh god, what have I done?
I trust this fucking serial killer and he's trying against me.
I go, Blue Beetle's like, the one thing not killing him is this, and she's like, let me take care of that then.
Like even if you think like you can restrain her, like why take away the shield? Anyway, the interspersed like sanctuary files for this episode, for this issue, is all Wally West. Going Iris.
Iris. We're quoting fucking Mega Man X out for
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot not everyone.
No, it's also Barry's Iris, right? And Wally's Linda.
Oh yeah, Barry's Iris, Wally's Linda. Linda, Barry's
Iris is his aunt. So
He says
goes
Iris,
into,
too,
like,
though.
Yeah,
incest-
Iris is
yeah.
Wally's aunt. Yeah.
All right, whatever.
So this is like Wally basically
Iris.
recaps his origin, that like he worshipped his uncle, and like and his aunt Iris and his uncle Barry were like his heroes. He gets superpowers, so he like developed his superheroes, and then like he has to now come to terms with the fact that he had this happy loving family, and his hero, his uncle, just erased them. Because comics.
Yep, and one of the things I like the one thing I like about this comic, because otherwise I was really like, I also hated the Harley and Booster stuff, where I'm just like, this doesn't make sense. This is just like really, it feels like out of sync with everything else. The fact that they're trying to be so funny when this whole like comic is about like PTSD and trauma. But I like, because it shows like when Wally comes in, and then every week after that where he's like, yeah, I'm ready to be helped and let's do this. Well, I know what's wrong, but I'm here, and that's good. And it's slowly him breaking down over time, being like that nothing's working. And also, like, the color of his suit gets darker and darker as it goes on, which is a nice,
I didn't notice
subtle,
that.
like, artistic touch.
Talking about things we like. One joke I do like in this comic is Barry's running around trying to find Booster Gold. And Batman is like, he keeps running back to Batman in between. Like, I just covered Australia, I just covered Europe. And Batman's like, be faster, just call me on the back computer. And Barry's like, I'm faster than the back computer. And then they start debating, like, I guess that's technically true. And they're like, I thought that was kind of funny. Like, out of place in this comic, but like, if you like scan that comic, put it online, and it could become like a meme and be kind of funny. But like, it makes no sense in this comic wise here. But I kind of like that moment.
Yeah.
So, the only other thing that's of importance that happens, Wally, for some reason, I guess because killing Poison Ivy is a little too much, he shoots the lightning at the flower again, and it resurrects Poison Ivy.
Yeah.
And then
They do in the next issue they hint at why this is the case a little bit. We'll get to that later, but yeah, he shocks this rose, it grows into Poison Ivy, and also at the same
Poison
time
Ivy's too important to be permanently dead. So
yeah,
she's here.
and during this issue we also get a reveal that Booster, I don't know if it was this issue or the last one, or maybe it was even last episode, I don't know, but just to remind everybody if we didn't hit it, Booster does realize that the body of Wally West that they found is 5 days too old.
That was the stinger for the
Okay.
last episode.
Oh, I misunderstood that. And now it
Last
makes
issue.
sense in the context of later
Yeah.
issues. But I thought they were like, he's still alive or some shit. Like, what?
Yeah, so we know that there's some sort of time travel shenanigans. So when Poison Ivy wakes up, she's like, I don't understand. And Wally's basically like, I did this. This doesn't make up for the hurt. It doesn't make up for, you just woke up, you have life, but I need you to do something. And then, like, past or future version of Wally shows up, and Wally tells Poison Ivy, you'll see my death. So
Or
there's
clone, or
a clone,
or illusion, or magic.
Alternate universe.
Yeah, I was like, this could be literally anything.
yeah.
But we know the body, his real dead body is 5 days old, so we know there's got to be some.
It's 5 days older
presumably.
than the other bodies. It's not a little baby.
But Phil touched on the problem of staging mystery around fucking super heroic shenanigans like on this level. I was reading the comments trying to make sense of this fucking issues. I didn't get it at all. The 5 days too late, Poison Ivy coming out of the fucking thing, and everyone in the fucking comment section of this comic were like, "Oh, it's supposed to be a time memory from the Rebirth issue 5," and I'm like, "What the fuck is this shit?" And that's why it's so arbitrary what the explanation could be that then it could be fucking anything because it's comic book fucking shit.
It could be even a sanctuary like simulation.
Yeah.
But the thing that's so dumb about this event is super self-contained. Like,
Yeah,
there's been
but it's
very
not clear
few...
that it is super self-contained.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
thing. Is like it's not clear that it's self-contained. Like a lot of the stuff, like Wally using the rose and all this stuff, like I expect to be covered in tie-ins. It's not.
No.
I've seen one tie-in for this whole series, and like it's just Barry telling Iris that Wally's dead. Like it's not like it's weird because it's not doing the thing we always complain about events, which is like bringing in all these other things. But
Yeah,
it
you have to read a lot of.
but it acts
extraneous
like it does
material.
because like there's just a bunch of gaps that I don't understand.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's get to the actual shit that matters, issue 8. So I want to say I do like the cover. It's Wally with his family watching the
Yes.
sunset on Sanctuary.
Yes.
Because we're gonna start talking about stuff we don't like pretty quickly.
So now I saw this cover like 2 months ago or whenever it was like solicited because Mitch Gerard's tweeted it and he was like, it's such an honor to work on this. Wally's my favorite character. This is difficult for me. And I was just like, well, I know what this is then.
I was thinking of you the entire time I was reading
Yeah,
it.
it's worse than you think, by the way.
so,
for you.
Ryan, I have
If
a
you're gonna do this
question.
yet.
Yes.
Would you rather Wally West be dead?
So, okay.
Well, he is.
No, wait.
He
here's
is
a better
both.
question.
He is both.
Would you rather be dead? Than be
So this is the stuff that I want to talk about is I'm going to save it to the end.
Yeah, save
Okay.
save the thesis on this entire series for episode.
No, but
final
like
issue.
I do really want to talk about some of the things in this issue that have nothing to do with Wally, but the portrayal of mental health and
Okay,
the way
maybe
that
we
it
can
is
talk
in this
about that
issue.
a bit.
But I want to save that to the end. So let's talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah, so it opens and it's Wally West giving confession to the Sanctuary tapes, as with like every other issue we've ever covered. But there's blood in the background, so this is after the massacre had happened.
And also,
so
this doesn't have the same 9-panel grid that all the other confessions have.
Yeah, it's wide.
Now
yeah.
these are zoomed in, and there's blood behind them, and it's full in. So it's clear that this is not like the same framing device.
Now it actually matters what's happening in these panels.
And the entire issue is actually just this confession. And he starts
Yes.
by saying, I'm Wally West, fastest man alive. This is my confession. So he came to Sanctuary for 3 weeks to recover.
We see a lot of the characters going through their like their
More
memories, like-
flashbacks and stuff.
You see like Lagoon Boy again getting zapped by the laser, and I'm like, hey, I remember him.
Yep. And
the
it's-
shrinking guy
it's-
is small in his bed.
The narration is just Wally basically talking about how that he was having to come to grips with everything, that he had to find the moments that consumed him, or that maybe he was ignoring, or both.
One thing that I found really interesting in like this talk of trauma is he's basically saying like I was getting better, I was getting somewhere, but I just felt so alone. And seeing all the other heroes here, I started convincing myself that I was the only one actually here for a reason, and they were just being heroes and trying to like normalize my
Also,
mental
because
health
he didn't
issues.
actually see them. He knew they were there.
Oh, but they were anonymous.
They
yeah.
were all anonymous, and he kept asking Sanctuary like, "Who else is here?" And he's like, "They're like, I can't tell you." So he was like, "I don't know if anyone's even here."
He doesn't
or if
believe.
this
He doesn't believe because things like what is all being staged just to make me feel better. Like I'm a freak
Yeah.
of nature.
Which like that's a
I like that
real
touch.
analysis of
Yeah.
trauma. Like
Yeah.
Yeah,
I get
like
that.
that too.
Some of the other thoughts he has too is he thinks like he starts subconsciously blaming Linda, even though like he knows that like this is a new Linda, like it's not her fault, but he couldn't help but like blame her for it, and like all these like
Yeah,
pretty...
that was one of the things where I was confused, because I was like, so there is a Linda here? I guess it's just
Yeah.
an alternate. Yeah.
Yeah, alternate reality. It's like if like Wolverine met like the new Jean Grey, which he did. But
Yeah, yeah.
Like technically, the X-Men.
It's one of the things where again, it never got mentioned before this. I don't think.
Yes, it doesn't
So-
clarify. I gave it credit before for not getting too much into the weeds on this issue because I thought this would be more self-contained than it was, but now it's relevant and they didn't explain it fully, so now it's just confusing.
Yeah. So he need to see that there's other people here, that it's not just everything was just fabricated and made up, and he's like in the Truman Show just for Wally West to like get through his trauma of losing them. And so all the data,
really
all
weird.
the confessions are taken and put into billions of bits and scattered to billions of places. And it'd take a few person like a few billion years to put it together. But since he's Flash, the fastest man alive, he somehow runs around and grabs all the bits and organizes them into video.
This like is supposed to be the thing that like breaks him, because he says in an instant I saw every confession, every hero, every accident, every horror. I experienced the totality of 1,000 heroes in crisis in an instant. But I'm like, actually, I think for him it would have been like forever, right? He's going around
That's
like grabbing
some
piece by
weird
piece.
perception of consciousness going on here.
Yeah, because
this
then
isn't like he's not getting it like it's like in the Matrix where it's only in an hour or whatever, but you're still living that time.
Yeah, and so for him, he must have put together first Booster Gold and then see him, and so it's like it's not an instant. You're like the instant thing. If it somehow plugged into his head and just gave him all of it at once, I would understand it like overwhelming his brain.
I think the presumption is he put them all together and then he overloaded his brain on purpose.
I don't know. It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense, because again, you're putting like I don't even know how he put all the bits and pieces back together and like watched it or something.
And if you watch like two of them, you would get the point. Like, oh, they're real people. I guess I don't have to keep watching it.
It'd be like getting it like an electron from a hard drive and trying to combine it with other electrons around and trying to form video of it. It's just so dumb. But anyway, it broke him watching it. So he runs outside to get some air, and that's when the alarm starts going off.
We keep seeing this throughout the issues, like when like the crisis event happens, we just see emergency, please proceed to nearest exit, and that's he was the one who actually triggered it by gathering those bits or whatever.
Yeah,
and
so
he
while
says-
he's outside, like, crying, he starts talking about how, like, the Speed Force, where speedsters get their powers from, is a burden, that they're always having to hold it under control, and every second of every day, they're pushing back against their powers. That's a new thing. That's never been a thing before, I
I was
guess.
wondering about that, because like, why wouldn't the villains just be like, "Let it out, motherfucker"?
Yeah.
Like,
It's always great when you have a superhero like mystery that punishes you for knowing too much about the character and you have to make up more bullshit.
like even someone who's not a Flash fan like me, I'm like, this to me breaks all speedsters even worse, because it's like, wouldn't the bad guys just be like zapping everyone all the
Wouldn't
time?
Professor Zoom, because he's a
Also,
speedster,
like,
right?
so he runs out, he's getting air, and everyone's trying to comfort him. He zaps them all. They're all fucking dead now. That's how they all die. How does this not show up on their fucking bodies? Like, how they like, oh, who can use electricity in this fucking place? Oh, we solved the mystery right away. Like, how is that solved right away?
Well, Harley Quinn could.
Well, no,
do
no,
this.
here's why. They actually do explain that.
Oh yeah, he stages it actually.
I know he
stages the whole
stages it, but how does he hide that fact? Like,
How
Well,
does
'cause
it?
he's- Yeah,
Is,
no, I
is the
agree with you.
Speed
It's
Force
dumb.
specifically lightning, or does it just look like lightning and it's just like a force killed everyone?
It's basically like a dimension that has like unlimited energy that speedsters pull from.
But does it like show up as lightning?
so is this like Cyclops and his punches from the punch dimension? Shit?
I hate comics.
That's what I was thinking, because before this comic, I went back because people were thinking it's like Wally could be the villain. And I was like, wait, how there was Commander Steel was killed in some way, and they said like he's impenetrable, you can't kill him and stuff. And when I went back and read that, they found the chattering teeth inside of him. So I was like, okay, what? Like, how the fuck is this gonna work?
Yeah, so
Speaking of which, when people try and piece it together in issue 1, someone already said in like the comments section of the comments I saw, I'm willing to bet like $100 that Wally killed everyone and killed himself because Tom King fucking hates us.
You're not wrong.
So basically what we're alluding to there is after he realizes what he did, the only two people that didn't come out fast enough were Booster Gold and Harley Quinn, because they were in therapy sessions. So what Wally does is he first runs in and sets up all the VR so that Harley Quinn and Booster Gold both think they're walking outside, but they're walking into a VR room where they both think the other person killed everybody.
Yeah.
And he says, I have complete control over Sanctuary now because of my meddling before. It's like,
what bits was he putting together that he was able
Yeah.
to like?
And
Exactly.
he said because he knows Batman and Barry Allen so well, he knows how to set up a crime scene. So he knows exactly what they'll miss and what they'll look for and where their blind spots are, so he could perfectly set up this perfect
Yeah.
crime scene.
It's like the Justice League thing with Batman being like, I know exactly what you're gonna do. It's like every superhero, when needed, will know what every other superhero's first reaction will be.
And I can almost buy it, except the fact that he had to set up the crime scene that it could either be Harley Quinn or Booster killing everyone.
Neither of
One
which
one
could
shoots
kill.
beams and one
Yeah.
is like has a hammer. Like,
Well, that's why you find the chattering teeth inside Commander Steel. You're like, oh, this is what got him. She put her hand down his throat and he died.
And then he takes Booster's tech, goes 5 days in the future where he finds the Wally with Poison Ivy that we just covered in last issue. And that 5 day from now, Wally tells him about a secret rose in Gotham River that if he zaps it with lightning, it'll turn into Poison Ivy. And
Oh my god, comic is so fucking dumb.
Yeah, and then then he god damn it.
and then Wally West snaps his own.
Future Wally West
Past Wally
kills
West kills his 5 days from now Wally West by snapping his neck to like balance the scales for what horrible things he's done. And then he goes back to the 5 days ago, finishes staging all this stuff, leaves his body there next to Roy because Roy was his friend and he would want to die with him. And then he sets up the whole puddler mystery because, like, why not?
So
I love that.
That's the thing. Why the fuck is this a mystery? He did not need to do any of this fucking
It's
shit.
something about puddlers have something to do with, like, ironed malleability.
No, I think it's supposed to be cleansing. They die from they're cleansing impurities and taking it into themselves, which is like the
Because they're breathing it in.
trauma. Yeah, the trauma that people go through. The Sanctuary trying to pull it out, or he pulled it out, or something. It's some kind of metaphor like that.
It's that by trying to like cleanse all the stuff, he's dying in the process of doing so by trying to fix everything.
But the twist is like he did this so you have time to confess to Lois Lane about how Sanctuary exists.
Yeah, so this is when he dumps all of the files and everything on Lois Lane.
So if he just fucking killed everyone and told Lois right after, I'm sure she would have been interested to hear why West. I don't think he needed to cover any of this shit off and waste all his fucking time.
What's weirder too is to frame Booster and
I
Harley
thought the
He
Quinn
framed
as
an innocent
killers?
people?
I thought the same thing after, where I'm like, he's like, this gave me 5 days to finally tell the truth. It's like, you don't need 5 days. You're the Flash. Like, you need like 5 minutes.
Lois would want to hear the confessions of the killer of every 20 heroes. She would want to hear that. No one's gonna be uncurious about this fucking facts. This is not something you have to gain attention for.
So, okay, I know on this show I have a reputation of liking everything.
Yep.
I have never hated any comic book as much as I hated this issue.
Wow.
Well, it was literally taking your favorite character and like
But
shitting on
here's the
them.
thing. Let me just justify. I'm not usually as sometimes I am. That's for sure. I have my blind spots, but usually like when a character disappears and then when like they come back, I can kind of compartmentalize them a little bit better than others. Like when characters I really love die, I can like still like I like legacies and stuff. Like I can usually like look at it in context and like it a little more than a lot of people do. But it's not just the Wally stuff. Like, I hate that, obviously. I don't need to explain why that sucks, to see your literal favorite fictional character do all these things.
And do all these things, meaning kill the other heroes,
Yeah.
frame other people for their murders,
Yeah.
and then kill his future self.
Yeah, give it yourself after you came back just like a year ago, too.
Now, maybe I'm blinded by my fanboyism on, like, how much I hate this book and everything, but I took some, like, lessons from this book about mental health, and that I find to be like absolutely reprehensible. So can I just tell you guys what I got out of this, and you can tell me if I'm like totally full of shit.
Okay.
So Wally is somebody that has some severe trauma and loss, and what he does is first he breaks patient-doctor confidentiality and reads everybody's files. But as we established, like, it doesn't make sense for him to inject them all at once. But the thing that I took is like, okay, so being around other people's trauma makes you completely, like, have a complete nervous breakdown, which is, I think, the stigma against, like, group therapy and stuff is already, like, pretty problematic. So, like, I have issues with that, first off. Then he completely lashes out and is super violent around everybody because of his trauma and mental disorder. And instead of, like, having an actual analysis of what that's like to like hurt people you care about, he instead mutilates all their bodies, we talked about how he shoved like teeth down people's throats and stuff. He then takes 2 other people with mental disorders and trauma, makes sure that they are framing each other for it.
Bad enough trauma that they believe that they were the murderers.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he frames other people for it, and then the lesson that resolves here is not only like lie about it, and then also take everyone else's confidential medical files, but dump them to the press, which is horrible in and of itself. But then to balance the scales, the main character of the series literally says, to make it right, I had to commit suicide.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things in here that I cannot stomach.
Yeah.
So the group the group therapy thing, I think that's more like because like it is possible to get triggered by other people's trauma.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That is believable to me.
Yes,
Because
that is believable.
it wasn't therapy. It was him literally just watching other people.
watching.
Okay, so that's one thing that I was like, that's how I read it, but I don't necessarily like. It's the other stuff that I like.
The suicide is
That's a very good point. Where it's like, oh, to make it right, I gotta kill myself, right? Because that'll fix it.
And the mutilating the bodies too. It's like he's like he explodes in a fit of emotion and like
which like we've all had. I mean, not to this level, obviously. But, like,
I killed 20 superheroes.
Speak for yourself.
we've either had lash outs at people we care about or seen people we care about lash out and
it's
hurt
a
people they
thing.
love.
Humans do, but then
It's a thing.
usually they feel bad after, and they're not like, all right, I guess I'm gonna spend the next probably in his own consciousness because he goes so fast. The next like month mutilating their corpses and framing other people for murder. See you later.
And the thing is, like, the excuse you could give for Wally's actions is that he is a mentally traumatized person, but his actions are evil outside. Like,
Yes.
So
what
evil
I mean.
outside. Yes,
for,
yes.
like, a villain, right?
He is a super villain. He is a horrible human being. Like, they fucking butchered his character. Like, mental trauma does not excuse the actions he does, and if it does, then it's a horrible indictment on what Tom King thinks about mental issues.
And no, that actually is, I couldn't have asked for a better setup than that slide. But I wanted to see, because I was like really infuriated. And you guys know I'm a big collector. I'm very careful with all my things. I literally chucked this book into my wall in a fit of rage, which I haven't done since I died at the final boss of Zelda 2. But the thing is, I was like, let's see how Tom King is responding, because I feel like this is super bad stuff. And I looked through a lot of his replies and mentions, and he was responding to people, but someone said to him, "Great, another mental illness leads to slaughter story." And because there was like big spoilery articles out today about the book, and he said, "I've suffered from depression all my life. I've tried to kill myself twice and thought about many more times, but never have I wanted to harm another. So thanks, Tom, for continuing the stigma." And Tom's response was, "Thank you for sharing this. If you can, please read the issue. It may not be what you think it is." It is that, first off.
It is.
And second, saying, "Hi, I struggle with mental illness and like have a lot of triggers and stuff." And he goes, "Why don't you read this thing where the main character snaps his own neck?"
It's such a smug thing too. Like, did you even read the issue? I definitely handled it right.
And all of his replies were, "You should really read it." Somebody said, "I read it and was really hurt by the way you portrayed mental illness." And he literally said, "I think you should reread it and read it again because I think you missed the point."
Read until you get my interpretation of
And
my writing.
the thing is, somebody's like, "Hi, I really don't like the way you handled this mental illness issue," and his response is, "It's your fault. You're just misreading it." That's like the worst kind of gaslighting, victim blaming that like I just can't. I can't.
That's really like bizarre, and that's really rude to do, and it's also weird because like the best technical issue is the one where Superman gives a speech about how, you know, your problems don't make you like an imperfect person. It's that everyone has like problems and you're all struggling every day to like keep fighting. And that's the issue she'd read, not the issue where the person can't handle things to the point that they both murder people and kill themselves.
Yeah. And I it's like one thing, like I don't like, I understand the person saying, like, I've always, like, that commenter who was saying, like, I've tried to self-harm and kill myself, but I haven't attacked other people. But, like, some people do with mental illness. Like, they lash out at others. But, like, him to be like, anyway, just read my book.
Or reread it.
When we talk about Kaiju Max and we were criticizing his handling of rape, I want to be careful criticizing writers too much because I want these issues to be tackled. And I want people. I don't want writers to be scared. I don't want these issues everything to be whitewashed. So no dark topics are ever covered ever.
Agree.
Yeah. So, And we talk about how Kaiju Max, when he was confronted with the issue, he says, I was trying to handle it right. And we got the impression, when we heard his comments, that it seemed like he was a sincere person trying to get the issue right. And maybe you disagree if he got it right or wrong. Yeah. He seems like he was just trying, like, being that smug, like, you just misread what I wrote about a serious topic. Like, I got it right.
Somebody going out of their way to talk about, like, struggles with suicide and depression. Like, that's not like, I think I think that, you're canceled. Like, that wasn't some snarky, like, leftist Twitter thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, if you're like, you didn't get it, then tell
explain
me.
like, at least explain, like, maybe I didn't get it right, but here's my thought process. Like, I'm trying to get this emotion across in the story. And I know, like, there's another issue left, so like, maybe you say, like, there's another issue left. Maybe that will redeem all of it.
It's going to be a thing. I think what they're going to try and do next issue is they're going to try and prevent him from killing himself, and they're going to be like, it's okay, everyone has problems.
But, like, we've already seen his dead body a bunch of times.
But I don't know how the timeline works
here.
Because remember in the last issue, like, Booster and Harley were both like, maybe we have to find a way for him not to do this.
But the thing is, like, so this is, I was talking to one of our listeners about this, and if they do a bunch of comic book bullshit and undo all this stuff, it would be better for the universe, but it would be terrible writing. Like,
make the has no point then, really.
Yeah, it would make it, like, just, like, that would be so, like, that would just make it the most pointless, shitty book ever.
Well, it'll just be Wally West's struggle, yeah.
Unless the point is, like, wow, you shouldn't release people's patient confidentiality. You shouldn't break that. Why? Don't be a fucking don't cover up your murders. Why? Don't be a fucking prick. Like,
and even if they do that, that sends another terrible message, because it's like, oh, when someone lashes out, it's because you didn't do the right thing to fix them.
That's true too. Wow. You have to try to save all your friends. If they don't, it's your fault.
Yeah, exactly. And, like, it also, like, what is he gonna have, some magic bullet that fixes, like, trauma and guilt issues? Like, that's not how it works.
Poison Ivy.
You do another flashpoint. This time you bring Linda and the kids back. Boom. That's the Tom King solution.
But god damn it, guys, I'm so mad.
Poison Ivy is definitely central somehow. So
yeah.
She's the one that's witnessing everything.
But, like, even to me it doesn't even matter if everything gets fixed or whatever, because the way this issue tackled these issues was so disgusting to me that, like, even if it's all, like, even if Wally's not dead and all the heroes are fine, like, I don't give a shit about that. This does real damage to people.
I want to say, you're saying this is the worst comic you've ever read. I was gonna say this is, like, the worst mainstream comic I've read for the series, for this Divisive show. If I feel like it's so fillery that, first of all, it's so fillery that it feels like it's wasting my time in the first place.
Yeah.
Second of all, whenever it gets to a point, it's always ugly, and the whole book feels mean-spirited. And if it tackles any issue, it's so misguided. Like this, and the premise was potentially interesting, but everything about this comic feels like it's just stretched out. It feels like it's mishandled because it's stretched out to so you want to keep reading, and it's so like click. I don't know what the term before clickbaity would be, but like it's showing all these devs just to get your attention. Like it feels so cheap in the way it handles everything about it.
Yeah.
Edgy, yeah.
And we have 22 pages left.
Yeah.
In this whole story.
Thank God.
Yeah, thank God.
It's a very not well put together. I think you made a lot of good points about the way that it frames the trauma, because it's funny because I was reading this and I was thinking about it not through that kind of lens, like what are you saying about people that need help? Instead, I was just looking at it kind of like as a what's the big twist? Why did he do it type of deal.
But yeah, like the whole murder mystery, basically, like that other shit we read, Identity Crisis, like, it's all fake, and it's, like, great.
I mean, I feel like Identity Crisis was a little... You had to make some leaps that they couldn't find out who did this, whereas here, it's like...
Identity Crisis cheats.
Too far.
This makes no difference what the mystery is, because there's so much fucking bullshit going on.
The Puddlers...
Oh my god.
The Puzzlers makes what
a red herring. That's so dirty.
Yeah.
And then if drip feeding her the tapes for 5 days, it's so dumb.
But that's what I mean. Like, here, Identity Crisis cheats. This just wastes your fucking time with setting up.
Like, it would make more sense, even though you couldn't make a book out of it, if the fact that he like exploded with his Speed Force nonsense, and that he was there, and the rest of the series is talking to him, being like, what do we do about a guy that's so fast no one can stop him and that now can like explode and harm people? Like,
here's what I thought, and maybe it makes less sense or more sense. Let me know what you guys think. I thought when Wally hacked to preserve the fucking secrets, like the AI would try to fight him, and maybe the other heroes try to fight the AI or something to try to save Wally, misconstruing the event, and that the AI would have killed him, killed the heroes, not Wally exploding. Does that make less or more sense to you guys?
I don't know anymore.
I mean, I think it would make more sense.
Okay, because
I would
either
certainly
way,
be less offended
Upset.
by it. Yeah.
yeah. It'd be weird to have an AI like kill people for breaking confidentiality.
like, because like Wally was like Wally was going through and he's going to try to release all this information. Maybe the AI's like that's like a last minute like resort to stop Wally, and in that struggle it leads to a bunch of deaths. Who knows? But like.
It's
Either
a
way,
lot cleaner for Wally's character.
Yeah, and either
Absolutely.
way, it's making up shit that's like far-fetched anyway. Now his
Yeah.
Speed Force explodes, and now it's just, and if his Speed Force exploded, that'd be something. But now he has to frame everyone to
Yeah.
It's just this. It seems like it was trying to make this shitty, nonsensical ending.
Yeah.
And congratulations, Tom King.
Yeah, we did win. All right, so we're done, right? Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is what you people wanted.
Are you not entertained?
I enjoyed it in the beginning. I wanted this.
I really can't wait to listen to these all together because I think it starts with me being like, I'm a really big Tom King fan. I'm excited for this event. I think it's going to be good.
It really does. And it takes you to a really dark place.
And so no for next episode. Next episode won't be Silver Age stuff. We're going right into issue 9.
Yeah, because it comes out at the end of May.
Yeah, we want to have these out like when the hype is really built. That's why we have 8 with this one, because that's what everyone is talking about right now. And when 9 comes out, whatever bullshit happens, we're gonna want to talk about it.
Yeah.
So stay tuned.
Yeah, definitely.
Please stay tuned.
So thank you all for backing us, and I want you to know that your money goes to Tom King. Because I use it to buy these damn books. So, but it really does, I mean, it does mean the world to me that, like, we actually got a lot of new Patreon backers because we wanted to do this event piece by piece, and, like, that does really mean a lot, and, like, even though, like, when I was buying it today, I was like, it's cool that people care about our analysis about this kind of thing, enough to, like, fund it.
The fact that our Patreons grew after we started doing this, that's the only fucking reason we're still doing this. After like issue 2, I was like, we're fucking on the series. We're not doing more, but people are liking it. So I'm like, okay, let's finish this goddamn trash.
Yeah.
But you keep the show alive, okay?
Yes. So thank you guys so much. So thank you for listening
Thanks for
and
torturing us.
and backing the Divisive Issues and Flying Machine Patreon. I've been Ryan.
I've been Sly.
I've been Phil.
And I've been Daryl.
Stay in Patreon mode. Hello and welcome to the Divisive Issues Patreon episode. I'm Ryan,
I'm Sly.
I'm Phil.
And I'm Daryl.
and we can finally put to rest Heroes
We made
in
it,
Crisis. We
as
are
we
covering
always say.
issue 9 of 9.
Put to rest, or more like put to West, like Wally West.
Oh man.
That's good.
So
that's not
this
bad.
is what I get for wishing upon that monkey paw that my favorite character Wally West would come back from the dead. And we get Heroes in Crisis.
I will say, I found like an irony in the fact that I'd think back to college when before Divisive Issues existed, and you guys would tell me about comics, and I'm like, "What? Flash go back and kill his mom or whatever back in time?" And then like DC was like, "That worked. Let's do that, but different again."
It's interesting, like, we talked about how it was interesting to read a series as it was going on. You had a lot of people living in the stages of grief with the series. And until this final issue, there were people making fake leaks, making up shit sources saying, oh, it's actually an alternate reality Wally West, showing what could have happened in Stark Reality. And I'm like, no, it's not.
I saw people talking about how Dr. Manhattan was going to show up. And
Yes, I mean, that's exactly what I heard. Like, don't get those kind of conspiracy theories. 'Cause everyone, and it always happens because comics have such a wide history, and reality. When you're a comic fan, I'm like, sorry, fans, I love you, but when writing, you're usually gonna be more self-contained than that. Like, it's not gonna call into like a fucking other series and issue 9. No, it's gonna call into stuff that's happening in that same shit story, and
Yeah.
that's what this series did.
And if it does, because a lot of people were talking to me about it, they're like, well, what if this happens and it's an alternate reality? And I'm like, maybe that'll be better for like the universe and it won't like kill as many characters, but it'll still be it'll make it a worse story.
Yeah,
that's
to
not how
like pull a
writing
Deus
works.
Ex Machina like out of your ass, being like, "This was a dream."
Like those other realities exist, but they usually are like established that exist in the story itself, and
Yeah.
then it ties into what's going
Yeah,
on.
like it's truly shitty writing when you're like, ah,
like we knew this story's gonna have time travel in it because Booster Gold is the main character. Like
Yes.
Yeah.
that's this kind of setup we're talking about. You need to have some kind of setup before going to wild tangents like that shit.
Yep.
Okay, so
Here we go.
we only have one issue, so we can really get into it.
The meat
Yeah.
and potatoes and talk about all these fucking cameos in this fucking story.
Yeah.
So this is I was gonna say this is your favorite thing. Because there's all these people and I'm like reading through some of them, like I just kinda wanna know what like some of their deals are.
I don't even know who some of these fucking characters are.
I was shocked at how many I knew first, and then I was shocked at how many super characters I still don't know.
Yeah.
Like, how do I not know who Jason Blood the Demon is?
I don't even think have been referenced.
I also realize why I really hate. So it opens up with all these fucking confessions.
Yep.
So it's still the 9-panel grid of like,
Yeah.
confession.
Yeah, so this made me realize why. So this made me had a lot of relations why I fucking hate the series even more than I was thought. One, these confessions are here to either say a dumb joke or B, set up what could have been a potentially interesting story arc, but here it's just retconning shit for no fucking reason.
Yeah.
So one is Jason Blood, who turns into a demon, and his joke is, "I have an inner demon, but it's not doing anything." Haha, good joke. Tom King 10 out of 10.
But then we get to see the Divisive Issues fan favorite, the Guardian.
Last time I was like, yeah.
I don't even get what he's saying. He says, and that's just it, right? Whatever it is or whatever happens, I'm not Superman, I guess.
He has an inferiority complex.
Yeah,
right? Like,
I mean, we made fun of him. It's
Yeah.
real. He's a piece of shit. No one likes him.
This is what happened to Guardian after he listened to our Death of Superman episode.
But like, this is what I mean. Like, there's nothing to like Guardian. The thing that makes Guardian so shitty is the story never acknowledges how shitty he is. The story acts like it's like a big deal. Guardian's here, woo, but then gets his ass kicked. It's like this is a retcon. That, like, it makes sense for us. But like, this is more of that meta shit we talked about with Wally West being the savior of DC. Like, this was never acknowledged previously that Guardian had an inferiority complex. I don't think.
yeah, but no, I mean, I think this story is trying to get at the fact that in any sense of these people being human beings, they would go through mental anguish that
I know.
that have been ignored in comics.
But
until this point.
I know, but if this was a good story, this would address it instead of just having it be this character had this entire time for one panel, and now bring this up instead of having
It's
it
to
be.
show that everyone has this.
I know, but
I think.
the whole story should have been about this, not fucking
Yes,
why was. It should have been about Guardian and Inferiority Complex and establishing it. Now, one panel Guardian and Inferiority Complex. If you want to establish here's the mental health issues, address it instead of having one page. It exists.
Especially when it's juxtaposed with all these like dumb jokes. Like
Yeah.
they have
Yeah.
Guy Gardner, and he also has an inferiority complex about how like he was tied to be picked Green Lantern, and it gave to Hal Jordan instead. And like that would be an interesting thing to see. And even these setups are kind of like as deep as a lot of the like characters' insecurities we've gotten in this book. Like if this was like lots of characters that we actually got to delve into their problems a little bit more than we did, like I feel like this would be what you guys are saying, like implying like there's everybody has these stories, but for the most part it's been like this weird time travel thing with like a lot of wasted pages that like to me this seems like just more wasted potential.
There shouldn't have been 9 fucking issues for this fucking story.
Yes.
Yeah, it's that this tried to set up a murder mystery that, as we saw last issue, didn't need to exist at all because
Yeah.
it just ruins the character by trying to make a murder mystery.
Also, quick touch on murder mystery. I think Zach Fig on our Discord brought up a good point. Lagoon Boy, he dies after everyone else, and he gets pierced through the side while he comes out after everyone's already dead and says, "What happened here?" And then he gets pierced in the chest afterwards. And it's supposed to be ironic because he was afraid of being pierced in the chest, right?
Yeah.
How did Wally murder him after the fact to cover his crime?
He left one person alive. He's like, gotta rectify. it.
Unless that was part of the simulation that Booster saw, but I don't think it was.
How did Lagoon Boy see Booster's simulation?
No, because we were seeing through Booster's eyes, so we might have not seen Lagoon Boy die.
But it seems like just one of those red herrings
Yeah,
for no
that's-
fucking
It's a red
reason.
herring.
Yeah,
It is.
It is.
It's like there's nothing set up. Fucking mystery.
So in this panel, I just have to ask, Sly, do you know who Mademoiselle Marie is? Or who Cole is?
No.
Wait,
Me neither.
okay. Who's Dove? What's her thing? She says,
Oh,
"Why
Hawk
do
and
I
Dove.
have to control him? He's not my responsibility in any way." But still, what happens like every time?
So Hawk and Dove. So this is why I say this is why I'm going to shitty because this means nothing if you don't know the characters already.
Yeah.
Hawk and Dove are Hawk and Dove is she's like a more peaceful, graceful one. Hawk is a violent, aggressive one. They're originally created by Steve Ditko, the guy who created the Questions, very political, very libertarian, to show like Dove is a bullshit, shitty, bleeding heart liberal, doesn't do anything done, and Hawk is the conservative who gets shit done. And
Yeah,
so Dove
but they were more fleshed out during like the Vietnam era to show like the two, not by Steve Ditko, but to show like
by other writers. Better writers made them more like actual, like what are these parallels? While Steve Ditko was, this character Dove is shitty. You should fucking hate this character Dove.
Yeah.
'Cause Hawk
Also,
is
I went back and looked at this Lagoon Boy issue. It is through Booster's eyes as he watches Wally get clonked by Harley is when Lagoon Boy gets shot. So it's all is fake.
But then you can't even piece together the
So it's
mystery.
all
The
in
fucking-
Booster's head.
But so that means when Wally made the simulation, he's like, make sure Lagoon Boy gets stabbed in this simulation.
Wally's monster,
That'll-
no matter how you fucking cut it.
Yeah.
So a dumb joke by Firestorm. My head is on fire. I shouldn't take this serious. I'll take this serious, but seriously, my head is on fire. Like,
yeah.
even okay, Black Lightning is talking about how like I'm not from where they're from, but they all expect me to be like them. How's that supposed to work? And this was maybe the most interested I've been in like these mental health issues the whole book, because I'm like, okay, you have a street like from the streets black character who joins the Justice League, and like everyone else expects him to be just like a superhero who has like white middle America values, and I'm like, that's interesting. Now it's not anything in the book.
Like it is interesting, but the thing is, when I read it, I assumed he was another goddamn alien that crash landed like Superman on the planet.
I thought
I
he
like-
was from a different country or something.
I don't know if this comic is addressing this, Ryan. Let me know, because I like Guy Gardner saying why, because he was always second pick to be Green Lantern, and he's like, so why was it Hal over me? What's wrong with me? I like that touch. There's probably comics that address it better than this fucking comic does.
Yeah,
but-
ironically enough, that gets touched in a lot of Booster Gold books, because Booster Gold's the one who convinces Guy Gardner to go farther away so he doesn't get the ring.
Oh, interesting.
But
So,
that's
my
that's by
favorite-
better writers.
My favorite of all of these, because are we gonna keep jumping to each of these? Therapy
Actually,
panels?
yeah, we should just get these out of the way because
get all of them out of the way.
there's like 4 of them that just, or 5 of them that just cut into the
Yeah.
comic.
So I have Frankenstein. Frankenstein says I'm rotting. Ha.
My favorite therapy is Detective Chimp, and he says, "You know how many times they've told a poop throwing joke about me? I know the exact number." And I'm like, "You're a fucking chimp. Well, of course people are gonna make poop throwing jokes about you. You're not a human being."
Wow, Phil, that's so rude to Detective
But
Chimp.
my actual favorite was Katana. Because that seems interesting. She picks up the sword and she's like, the only thing I ever understood was that one day this will drip with my blood. And I'm like, that's fucking cool. I want to know more about her.
I like Martian Manhunter because he, like the readers, he says underneath everyone's screaming because we're all screaming at Tom King about this book.
One joke I found really dumb. It was like kind of amusing for the first page, and they kept going over it.
Oh, yep.
Tim is like, Dick's the funny
Tim
one,
Drake.
nice one. Jason's the rebellious, cool one. Damien's the cool, the cute, mean one. So I get it. More than I get it. But what the hell am I? And then Dick is like, Jason's the cool, rebellious one. Tim is the dark, smart one. I'm like, why would I think this? Like, what? This is more meta fucking commentary. There's nothing to indicate like they compare themselves still to the other Robins. Like they're all
But I
individual.
think why wouldn't they? Like, I think
But they all struck out and became their own heroes because they didn't fucking need to deal with this shit. Like, why would they still be thinking this after all these years? And if they are, like, why isn't that addressed in any fucking comic? Why bring it up now?
I think that's the thing is part of it's like Tom King being like, I feel like he sat down with all these characters and was like, if they had to have a problem, what would it be? So he looks at it and he's like, well, all the Robins have to compare each other to them, and like the guy's this problem, that guy's that problem.
I think you can argue like Tim and Dick, but Robin, but like fucking Jason is like a murderer with a gun now, and why would he ever compare himself to Dick and Tim? Like, why would he ever? That makes no fucking sense.
Also, I love characters like Zatanna, who's like, so I was hanging out with Satan, and I'm like, I feel like her problems are different than other people's.
I like Tommy Tomorrow, who is like, I went back in time and saved the world. Like, what's is that supposed to be what I'm talking about? Like, just saving the world? Like, I'm cool, I'm fine. Like,
Who the fuck is that?
so it's like, I looked him up. He's a guy from the '60s. He hasn't appeared since the '60s.
Is he Challengers of the Unknown?
No, he's the Planeteers. I don't know.
Who the fuck is that?
I just found it funny because he's literally stuck in the '60s. Like, I don't get all his mental health stuff. Like, I saved the world and I'm cool. I don't get what you guys are talking about.
Yeah, he's like a Grant Morrison character that had to come in.
And you have Mara, and she's like, the ocean is large and contains multitudes. And I'm like, thanks for making her say a fucking first grade decent essay, Tom King.
So the thing is, with a lot of these panels, I think we're getting into it that they're all very like different, and there are some that seem very interesting, but to me a lot of this feels very like exactly what you guys said, is he took a character and was like, if they had to have one aspect of them, this is it. And it seems kind of really lazy to me, and like, I don't know, I think there's better ways to do this than like making super deep cuts that like Sly and I have to look up.
Yeah.
It just seems to me like, why do this?
I did enjoy some of them. Like, and it did make
I
me
was gonna
interested in
say,
some of them.
yeah, like how Sideways says, my mother on my phone, she left me messages, I still have them, I listen to them, like, too much. I should delete it, all of it. It's not good for me, but I can't delete it. And it's like, every page has maybe there's like one of them that's like, you know, could be interesting if Tom King chose to explore it more in this series, but he clearly didn't. And there's
Also that they're so like they all, like we said before, do the like 3 words, words, 3 words, question, or like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. One thing that is good is this is basically a montage of all the characters that were lucky enough to not be put in this fucking book. So you could be like, look at these interesting characters that we didn't have to watch die. That's good.
Yeah. So they're all alive after Sanctuary reopens.
That's a twist. Sanctuary reopens. Big twist. I'm sure you care if it's point.
Sorry.
Yeah. And one thing I do want to mention about this is someone in our Discord posted an interview with Tom King where Tom King was like, I had the outline for the story, and editorial came in and said, you have to use Wally West, Booster Gold, and Harley Quinn. So stuff we said from the beginning, it really was just like completely arbitrary which characters were there.
Yeah, also, I thought you were going to post... Somebody posted this panel of Calvin on our Discord, and it's Calvin just going, meow. I'm like,
Great.
Oh yeah.
great joke, Tom King. I'm glad you're writing the fucking Batwoman and Catwoman series now.
there's a lot of jokes in here where you're just like, just don't.
So we have all the interviews out of the way. Let's actually talk about the
Oh, okay. So this whole book, I mean, this issue is basically just like one scene. It's Wally West talking to Wally
yourself.
West.
If you guys remember from issue 8, Wally West went 5 days into the future, snapped his own neck, and brought
First
his
resurrected
body.
Poison Ivy because he had to, and then he snapped his own neck.
Yeah.
Because he had to.
and then sent that body back to the past. So now we're back in that scene with his arms around his future self's neck, about to snap it.
There's so much dumb stuff. We didn't like. How did Poison Ivy get resurrected?
The
She,
flower.
Oh, they do mention that in this issue.
You
actually.
plant
They
the
do
flower.
explain that.
Split the flower.
So yeah, we could. I mean, so basically, what happens is Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn have always had this implied relationship that Tom King actually in his Batman run made explicitly canon, that they have a physical history together. And so while they were in Sanctuary, this is revealed here in this book that Poison Ivy gave Harley a rose that would always have a part of her even if she died. And then Wally took that rose and hit it with lightning, and it turned into...
that's what I was asked. Like, the Speed Force can resurrect people?
I mean, it's more like it sounds like she merged with the green. I don't know.
Magic.
Poison Ivy connected to green? I mean, it doesn't make sense.
No, I think what the Speed Force did was like speed up time so that she was able to grow or whatever.
It's like in a throwaway panel. We're already giving it more
So
time.
this is not the real Poison Ivy. This is
Excuse me. I think actually it's Speed Force.
I wish
It's
you
a
guys
Poison
could
Ivy
see
clone.
me
Okay.
face palming when you brought up Speed Force, like resurrecting Poison Ivy.
Wally gets his... Wally's about to stab his own neck, but he gets interrupted by Booster Golden's time machine being like, hey, we're here now.
So now we have the useless cast, who has been the main characters for 8 issues, but actually have no relevance on
They
anything.
are so useless.
No, they save Wally West.
Which is Batwoman.
Booster's
Batgirl,
Booster's
what's
kind
her
of the
name?
only one necessary here to save
Yeah.
Wally West.
Yes.
The rest of them are not.
Harley Quinn's literally sleeping as she shows up. She's literally falling asleep, like she's so
Yeah.
fucking bored of the shit. So haha, they're still making all these funny fucking panels of while it's like a fucking Marvel movie while Wally West is going through his grief over murdering all his friends. Great fucking comedic timing, Tom King.
I have a feeling that Booster Gold is a character Tom King wanted to use, and everyone else was completely editorially mandated.
Yeah, I've called bullshit. I'm saying they asked him to use Booster Gold because Booster Gold. When is his BB? Who loves Booster Gold so much in editorial? He has to be in every fucking story. No, it's fucking Tom King.
They keep making me use them. I don't know why. They made me marry him.
I love how you have Blue Beetle here. It's like, well, Flash is the killer, and he's the victim, and he's alive twice. It's like they're so dumb, and I feel bad for Ryan because both like Blue Beetle and especially Wally West. Ryan, this is my first impression of him, and that can't go away. Like, this is forever now.
This book is is basically like Tom King broke into my house and played with all my favorite toys in front of me and then took a shit on them and kicked me in the nuts. Actually, no, it's like Harley Quinn kicked Wally West in the nuts. Spoilers, it's about to happen.
So they come out, they see Poison Ivy, and Poison Ivy is like, hey, I know it's a shock, but I'm here, I'm alive, let me explain. And Harley Quinn runs over and hugs her.
This is what I realized. I remember I was debating this point, but Clay Mann was not the right artist for this series, because...
You think?
Man, the girls just look like they're naked, and they have they just covered, they just drew over their naughty bits. And
You think it's like way too sexualized?
It's
I guess we talked about this in like a thing about mental health issues. You don't want to sexualize it. That's really weird.
But also, it just seems so weird that they just seem so. They seems like they have no layer of clothing on whatsoever at all.
They don't. I mean, I will say, if you look at this shot of all four of them, I'm not trying to be like men too, but like Booster Gold and Blue Beetle also basically are naked with color on them.
Like this would be fine, like in the fucking Death Set 2 series kind of shit, but I don't.
They're
think
all so buff.
Yes, I don't know. It just makes it just so off-putting. I keep forgetting what the series is supposed to be about. Buff dudes walking around, and then Why was trying to kill himself in the next fucking scene.
Yeah.
It is a weird like juxtaposition there. So Wally is saying to his other self, you have to kill me, I have to kill you.
Yeah.
And
you messed up because you're alone.
And so the Wally from the past, 5 days in the past, is like, you know,
5
you
days
messed
in the
up, you're hurting.
past.
Right?
I lost track of.
I think
who
it's
was
5 days in the future. It's kind of hard to.
I lost track of who was talking, what was happening. So you guys will have to explain this fucking issue to me, because I stopped getting a show a long time ago.
So one Wally, I can't tell which, is crying.
Good luck.
So future Wally is sitting there crying because he's been like just sitting there for 5 days, and then past Wally shows up because past Wally has to kill future Wally and drop his body off.
Okay.
And he's like, you know, you're alone, and it's pretty much everything. You know, it sounds like a lie, but you have to trust me. That like
No, I
have
feel like
to
it should be
you.
flipped.
What? But why would?
Because the thing is, if it's not flipped, why would future Wally come here to console himself and then sit down and cry?
Oh,
and need
okay.
to
No,
be
you're right.
consoled by
Do you know
himself?
why? Because in the first panel,
No, future Wally didn't come here. Past Wally.
No, here's why it's confusing. Why I got confused, because in the first panel there's Wally crying and it says you have to kill me. I thought it was a word bubble, but it's not. It's a bubble right next to him that doesn't have that little arrow.
Oh, yeah.
So I thought he was saying that. No, he hears that.
And so the crying one says I have to kill you. So that's past Wally.
I don't know.
Yeah,
anymore. I don't give a fuck.
it's good to see.
I don't give a fuck. Why would he kill himself? It's not fucking matters.
This is Wally. Past and future doesn't matter. This is Wally who had just killed his friends, and the other Wally is the one who had 5 days to think about things.
Okay.
Yeah,
You're right.
So the one who had just killed his friend he's crying and he needs to be consoled by the one who had 5 days to think about things, and it's kind of interesting because it's about like him trying to help him out and be like, you're not alone. Like,
But
you need to listen
coincidentally
to me.
enough, during this monologue, he happens to have a paragraph that perfectly describes the trauma of all the other people that happen to be here. Like Booster Gold, he talks about how you try to do something good and you're a fuck up. And with Barbara Gordon, and this is him talking to other Wally.
Yeah.
But he just happens to also mention about how, like, you know, when you're defined by hurt, or Blue Beetle, how someone who betrayed you and like ruined your life forever, which is referencing an event where Blue Beetle died that's been completely retconned and isn't canon anymore, but whatever. And then like how Harley Quinn, he talks about you're not the only one who felt the madness creep in, and Poison Ivy talks about, you know, you're not the only one who's done some terrible things, and it's just like he wrote this speech, I guess, knowing who would happen to be there to stop him.
No, it's that everyone has these problems. Like
They're
Yeah.
so specific.
I know, but I think the whole point of this whole issue is that he's even saying, while he's standing in front of people, you're not alone. The whole point is that everyone has mental health stuff.
Yeah, but it's not general platitudes. It's super specific.
No, I
things.
think
You're not the only
it's
one.
kind of like
I don't
general
know. It
vagaries.
is.
Like
You've
you've
been hurt
done
so
terrible
bad.
things. That
Yeah.
relates to Harley Quinn too, as well as
That relates to
Poison
most
Ivy.
people. You're not the only one who's been hurt so bad that hurt becomes a part of you. I mean, these are pretty general things.
Yeah.
So in conclusion, the only reason why Harley is here is to be comic relief, because
Yes.
you need a booster for the time travel, but Harley is
Yeah,
just here.
yeah,
to
no,
make-
she's useless.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what was interesting when I was reading this, because this is kind of like Wally kind of worked through his own problems, which was neat that he didn't need to like all these other people to come in and save him. Plus, these people are fucking idiots, so they couldn't have saved him anyway.
So not to get into time travel stuff. So why isn't he killing himself?
We are getting into the time travel stuff. Because the whole point, the theme of this whole story, which I think the reason I'm going to defend this issue a little bit is because issue 8 ended on what we said was like a terrible message, which was when you have mental health issues, kill yourself.
Don't worry, I think this ends on a very terrible message too, but we'll get to it.
I think overall the point here is that killing himself was not the answer, and he says we can't just go back in time and redo what we've done and make a mistake. He says we need to make up for what happened and get help and talk about it. Violence is not going to solve it.
We need to expose everyone's fucking mental health issues.
Yeah, but they do talk about like how Wally started to make up for it by exposing everything, which I don't really get why that's a part of
I'm not
making
gonna
it
forgive it. Fuck that shit. Like that's fucking fucked up.
It's the line is he leaked the secrets about Sanctuary to make up for it. That's good. And someone else, we don't know who it is because all these characters are written the same. They say it's good, but is that enough? I was like, it's not good that you leak people's private like videos of them confessing to things. Like that's not the answer. The answer is to say Sanctuary is a thing that superheroes have to go to get help, and then therefore now you can be like, oh, okay, they're flawed too. You don't have to be like, here's what Superman's like neuroses are.
It's not terrible, and the fact that it's not as terrible as last issue, but still fucked up fucking theme.
Yeah, but they keep going for this idea when they're in this conversation between Wally and Wally, where he keeps saying what do we do about this? And he's like, we have to basically just like own up to it and move forward. And
but we talking about how what we did was murder people. Like, it's
I know, but
it's not
like
relatable
Wally,
to most people. Like, if he goes, spoilers, he goes to fucking jail. Like, what is that? What lesson would a regular person?
But Wally's like, I should die. Like, I should kill myself. I should sacrifice myself. I'm a hero, and I want to be a hero, so I should die for this. And they're like,
I know, but in the practical sense, he's going to jail for his murdering crimes. And if you murder people in your life, you're going to jail to murdering crimes.
Well, the metaphor there, and like I can't believe I'm defending this book, but what they're going for is that superheroes are always heightened versions of human morality. So like he murdered people, and it's supposed to be a metaphor for when you're going through trauma and you hurt the people around you.
I think it's specifically, remember that when he murdered people, it's because it's like his energy exploded. He couldn't control something that hurt other people. He didn't want to hurt other people, but he did something bad that hurt other people that was out of his control. I think that's why Tom King used him for like that reason.
It's a very huge gap between hurting the ones around you and killing them.
No, I mean this is like
like the fact that in the story, literally in the story, he gets arrested. Like something like I really find any messages that has confused and muddled to the point.
I agree. I
agree. Like, I don't.
One thing that I do actually think was a nice touch is they remember way back when in like issue like 2 or 3 we said one of like the only good parts of the whole book was Superman's speech about like trauma.
I like this too.
Yeah, the older Wally actually, the reason why he's here to like why he's consoling him now is because during that 5 days that the older Wally heard that speech and realized there was a better way than his original plan of killing himself. And I thought that was like actually part of a self-contained narrative that really that part did really work for me.
But if he enacted the time travel to be dead, what changed to make Superman's speech work this time that didn't in the last loop?
Well, because this is older Wally telling this to young Wally.
I know, but the older Wally killed himself.
Young 5 days.
Yeah, but older Wally already killed past Wally because his corpse is there.
I didn't understand that. So did he jump again to right before he killed himself?
No,
yeah,
I feel like this is really confusing because I'm like, to me, this is that he never actually killed himself.
Yeah, he never actually killed himself.
He did because
his
body
corpse was there.
was there.
His body was there.
Oh,
no, they get the clone. They
fake the body.
So basically, Booster needs to be here because they need to go into the future to grab.
And they make a speed clone.
A speed clone.
So you have to think he was dead.
No, you know what? It actually doesn't make sense because they only did that because he was going to kill himself.
Yeah,
no, but no, guys. The body that came back was always the clone. That's the thing.
I know, but what instigated him to kill himself to leave a corpse behind in the first place? Then, if it wasn't him seeing a corpse there,
it's a loop though. So
I know. What was the starting of the loop then?
Oh, okay.
The corpse from this clone corpse shows up.
We're gonna have to get
the original timeline, Wally Superman did not get. If Wally didn't kill himself, Superman did not give him the speech, so then that caused Wally to kill himself. Then he created this loop after that.
No, we don't see Wally kill himself until 5 days after issue 1.
Yeah.
So the body that we see there, the body that they find, has always been. This
I
I
speed
know,
clone.
but what inciting event caused him to leave the body in the first place?
It's a loop.
It's because Wally, he needed the 5 days to think, so he's like, I'm gonna kill myself so that I have a little bit of time, I guess, to think about this.
But he's saying, how did the body get there if he hadn't thought of 5 days? If 5 days hadn't passed yet for him.
I'm gonna frame my friends and mess with my desecrate my friends' bodies. Give myself
And
5 days.
desecrate my own body.
Give myself
No, it's
5
a clone body.
Yeah, but
he
fucking
didn't
moved on
know
everyone-
yet.
He moved on everyone's
Yeah,
corpses.
he was
and,
planning to kill himself.
I don't know.
Time
tried
travel's dumb.
I was reading this story at work during a study hall. Well, these kids are all just talking about whatever. I'm trying to read this, and I couldn't figure out what. So I take out a piece of paper and I'm trying to draw the timeline, and I'm like, all right, future past Wally, and then I'm like, I don't get it. So I just
So
moved
as
on.
soon as they start explaining all the time travel stuff and it starts to get pretty heavy, then like heavy meaning like not emotionally heavy, but like complicated and stupid. That's when Booster's just like, yo, bros before heroes. And
Oh my
him and
god,
Wally
fuck this
fist bump.
comic. Bros Before
They
Heroes
fist
came
bump,
back.
and then
That was a
Harley-
team. Bros Before Heroes was a team in this comic. It was just a
Yeah.
fucking dumb joke.
And then Harley comes and kicks Wally in the nuts for framing her.
Yeah.
And it's super dumb. And basically, like, as soon as they start explaining the time travel, the reason why it's such a fucking mess, even if, like, I think it's a loop and Sly does it and Phil does, like, it doesn't actually matter because
my
the
problem
issue
wasn't.
just moves past
My
it.
problem was I didn't get what caused the loop, but I guess it was Wally giving himself 5 days to think about it.
No, but it's weird because then she kicks him in the nuts, and then future 5 day. The older Wally is like, I remember that happening.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because she kicked young Wally in the nuts who had just killed everyone.
Yeah, and then they go into the future and they get a speed clone, which I don't really know what that is. And then he drops off that body, and then they arrest him.
Yeah, he's arrested.
And
How do you keep Flash in jail?
Yeah, he wants to be. It's one.
He wants to be.
Yeah, he wants to be.
I
why have
wanted
jail?
to talk
I
about
mean-
this too because it's funny because it shows like the very like everything's dark but you're only seeing like the light from outside in the hallway casting through the bars over Wally. It looks very sad, but I was thinking it's like why even put like bars? Why not just like put him just in a house? Because
In house arrest. or
you
something,
can't
'cause
you can't keep him anywhere. He's the Flash.
He could be leaving
They
jail.
explicitly say that in this book. They're like, you can't arrest the Flash. He's the Flash.
Yeah, but
But they still put him in like a jail. I'm like, do you? I don't know. I was like, do you have to?
Also, Sly started talking about this before, and I completely agree with you, Sly, that, like, to me, like, the whole, like, oh, it's redemption, whatever, okay, but still, the idea that, like, so Wally's, like, the most, like, mentally ill of everybody here, I guess, seems to be, like, the theme. So
I don't think that's the right way. I think that
he's also
lashed out.
so powerful. Like,
But
Yeah.
either way,
if Detective Chimp is mentally ill, what is he gonna do? Throw shit?
Oh my god, it's so mean.
like,
This is why
so-
he's here, Phil. You asshole.
So Wally, the reveal, like we were just talking about, the main thing in this issue is like it's okay to finally talk about it and be open and like get the help you need.
Yeah.
And then they put Wally in jail.
Yes, it's not okay.
That's not getting him help.
He already killed people. Like, is accidental manslaughter?
Well, that's
like,
what I mean,
You,
that's
you
what-
still do go to jail for that.
But that's what I mean by this. This isn't a question of mental health we just talk about. Now it's a question of mental health and like murder and like now you have to lock him up for society.
I agree. Like this got into a weird place where it's like, are you saying that? Well, we still have to lock them up, but it's like,
Okay,
aren't there
then
better?
have the issue end with him in a therapist's office in a jail, not alone in a cell in the dark.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
to me,
exactly,
you can have
exactly.
him, because he says, I should be arrested, I should be in jail, and they're like, yeah, you will have to be locked up. Like, you did kill a bunch of people, but you could show that he's getting help.
Yeah.
Not that he paved the way for other people to get help, and, like, had this realization, and now he's just in jail alone
Maybe
in the dark.
It's super progressive because it's like, look, this is what happens to people, huh?
And if you, by the way, if you think we're nitpicking, this comic was fucking dragged out for fucking so many nine issues. By the way, the fucking epilogue is 2 pages long. Like, you had time. If you had enough time to talk about all that other shit with Harley Quinn and Booster Gold, you had time to fucking give
or
them...
setting up the entire like murder mystery plot.
The
that didn't
Puddlers.
exist. The Puddlers.
It's like, they had fucking time. You had 9 issues. You had time to fucking give a proper epilogue. You have time to do what Ryan's suggesting you did. You just fucking spread through this shit.
Literally, the epilogue is like Slice is not kidding when he says it's exactly 2 pages, and some of that includes them going to the future and grabbing that body.
Yeah. So the question that I always ask, like at the end of events, is like, what did this story change? What is different from the beginning to the end?
A bunch
Now
of are dead.
Yeah, because now heroes are talking to therapists.
Yep.
That was already a thing
Which
at
is,
the beginning.
can I just interject and say, like, that was also, like, a weird way to end it, but that everyone's going back to Sanctuary when it had a massive data breach, and all that stuff was leaked out to everyone. I'm like, I think it'd be cooler if you had, at the very end of it, you had, like, the 9 panels, and it was, like, all empty, or it was, like, a new facility, but there was no one there, but then someone comes in, and it's, like, maybe it's, like, Nightwing or something, and he's the first one to come back and be like, this is my problem type of deal.
Massive data breach. There was a mass murder. It was a massacre. Why would people go back to this?
Yeah,
I was thinking instead of thinking about the murder of Space Mushman murder mystery, they should have had like some panels being like, this all went downhill, but we need this. Like, we can't let this. Like,
Yeah.
It should have something like that, but no, it's just open again.
So everybody now trusts Sanctuary as much as they did before issue 1. So
Or
that hasn't
more,
changed
because there's a
maybe
lot of
more
people here.
for some reason. But like,
Yeah.
it hasn't established anything new about Sanctuary.
We didn't. Are there more? Was it robots? Like the people, the caretakers were robots? Like,
Yeah,
The
yeah.
mom and pop? Okay. So you just got new robots, you just meet new robots and
Yeah.
that's it?
Yeah, they
Yeah,
got
you
new
can always
robots.
get
It's
new
Krypton.
robots.
Wally's in
Kryptonian.
jail now, and a bunch of characters are dead. Did anything else change?
People know
this
that
story do
people know that
anything else?
superheroes need this place, I guess.
Okay, but is that talked about in any sort of effective way?
It
in this
will
book?
be in future issues. That,
Yeah, we didn't
like,
see
if
any
people...
civilian reactions to this shit at all. We didn't see anyone have their minds blowing like,
That's
oh my
a
god.
good point too. We didn't actually see non-superheroes talk about this.
So if it's supposed to change the way the
Yeah.
public perceives superheroes, maybe put anybody that talks about that.
Instead of all these fucking confessionals, all these fucking rehashed fucking joke confessionals, have like Dark Knight Returns news reports of interviews with people saying, I can't believe this is what our heroes are going through, something like that. Or like have like Lois Lane talk to her friend or something. Have something happen, not instead of nothing literally happen outside of this small little frame window of reference between like these 6 characters, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and like the 3 main characters.
Oh my god!
Is the Flash that comes to arrest Wally West, is that Barry Allen?
That's Barry Allen.
Okay. I was like, is this another future
We didn't
Wally?
even see Barry Allen's reaction to Wally being a murderer. What the fuck? Fuck you, comic.
Also, I forgot. One of the other funny things that people brought up is that they arrest the Flash, but they let like Batgirl lets Harley and Poison Ivy go.
Well, they didn't kill anybody this time.
Yeah.
This time, they still committed crimes before this, right?
But it's not as bad as Wally's crimes because nothing will ever be as bad as Wally's crimes.
Harley murdered children.
Did she?
Yeah, she did. In canon, like they had, it was like a joke story where she like gave poison to like an ice cream company to kill everyone. It was like a fucking joke, but it's canon that she killed people. So, haha, Carly's so wacky, murderer. Okay, she doesn't have to suffer for her consequences, but Wally does because morals.
Yeah.
But I want to just say, last issue made Ryan declare this like the worst comic he ever read. This is the worst like mainstream superhero comic I ever read.
Yeah.
This issue or the whole series?
The whole series, like this issue, like numbed it a bit, but it made it worse because it was so muddled with its message that it made me realize, because we're reading like we were thinking of doing the current X-Men series, which is also ass, but it is like
It started so good and now it's like so not good.
yeah, it devolves so quickly, and it's basically so ass for a lot of the same reasons this is. Like everyone's just fucking dying, and
yeah.
But the thing about it was, it is just pure like comic pulp. Like it's just here, like, hey, your favorite characters are back. Oh, look at all these dark things happening to them. Everyone's dead. Boo! And it made me realize like it's just pure stupid. But this like thinks it's so smart. Like if you ask Tom King, he will he does defend it today he dies. But this is so muddled. The message it says is so muddled. It's not focused on the right things. It's not to give us any payoffs for like Barry Allen and Wally West. It's not to give us like. It focuses so much on Harley and her jokes and Booster Gold. Like
The characters it focuses on don't actually have any growth at all.
Yeah, it should have been Wally West. If it was going back to Murder Mystery, it should have been about like the world reacting to the murder, to the fucking.
Or like,
trauma.
don't even make it the murder mystery. Just make it Wally West. Like,
Yes.
everyone dies, and they're like, "Who did this?" Well, Wally's like gone or something.
And you're
It
like,
should've been
did
a
the
lot-
Flash do this?
It should have been like done any other way besides the way they did it. Like the only thing
Yep.
they did right was not have Wally kill himself. Congratulations, you didn't make the worst possible ending.
Yeah.
But everything else was done horribly, and the fact it thinks it's so smart when it's so fucking dumb is what makes me hate it so fucking much.
Because I was gonna ask, do you think this is worse because it tries to be ambitious?
Like if Tom King were to come out and say, "I fucked up, I'm sorry," but no, he thinks he nailed it. He nailed it. No, he did not nail Tom King.
Have you tried reading the issue again? That might change your
You
mind.
got me. I gotta read this like fucking 50 times to get it.
What'd you think about it, Phil?
Overall,
Yeah.
Overall, it was shitty. I did actually. I know I said it before. I kind of liked this last issue to sum it up because it did some good things as opposed to most of this story, which did no good things.
Yeah.
I did think this was one of the better issues.
One of the better ones, despite the fucking time travel bullshit.
Yep.
It's so funny because we were saying, like, right into the beginning, if they use time travel to fix this is the shittiest story ever. But the story became so shitty that time travel actually made it better.
Yeah. And then it's funny because he's like, why can't I just go back in time and stop myself from killing those people? And he's like, remember Flashpoint? You can't do that. Because
You should try it. I mean, you should at least try it. Like, come on.
then you can always stop yourself from going.
Like Barry went back and undid Flashpoint. Like, you can always just go back and undo it again. Like, just try it, see what happens.
But then someone else's family might get erased.
Yeah.
I know, but then you just go back and just, just
No,
weigh
and then
your
you're
options.
stuck in the eternal Flashpoint loop where you keep having to redo it, hoping you don't erase anyone's family this time.
Flashpoint was so fucking contrived in the first place. If your mom dies, Barry, the worst possible thing happens to every other character in the verse. It has to be the worst possible
if his
future.
mom lives.
Your mom has to die. You can't be like one person's history goes bad and you have to weigh your
Yeah,
options.
it's like the butterfly effect. If this person didn't die,
If
everyone
your mom
would be
lives,
tortured.
the world gets destroyed.
Even though it was a retcon that your mom died in the first place, if you fix that retcon, your retcon will make the world hell. Whatever.
Yeah. I overall, I think the writing was very bad in general.
Yeah.
I like the dialogue in particular. It's
Oh,
it's
there's
so
one
grating.
page in this issue that's just like a picture of the Sanctuary Farmhouse, and it's just fucking text.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a lot
It's
of
just
bubbles.
a wall of text.
The dialogue is quite bad in this. Most of the stuff is pointless, as you guys already said. Like honestly, it's not a good story when you can swap out half the characters and it's the same thing. Like Wally and Booster are the only two necessary characters in the whole story.
Yeah.
Everyone else,
And they're only necessary not for their personalities or character, just because like Wally has a lot of power and Booster has a time machine.
Wally is
Wally,
necessary for
it's
personality.
about Wally, but the thing is,
Yeah.
Wally should have been more present in the flashbacks earlier on. It shouldn't have been.
That's true.
The
Yeah,
twist comes
definitely.
in the end.
It should have been refocused to be the story around him rather than around like Booster and Harley. It should have been like we see him and whatever. There's
Cut
a million
out
ways to fix
Harley,
this.
have it be Wally and Booster are the main suspects, and turns out twist it's Wally. He's the main suspect. He's the actual killer.
Man, if they made an event that was just Wally West and Booster Gold and it was this, I would be especially kicked in the nuts.
You'll be just like Wally West, kicked in the nuts by Harley. That's what Harley was here for, to give you the ultimate. The Wally fans represent Wally represents the Wally fans. You end up for kicking
And
nuts.
Harley's
that's
the Harley fans.
it. Yeah.
She's
You-
like,
you-
we win.
Harley's the new fan favorite character like DC. Here you go, fucking Wally.
Symbol of hope getting kicked in the nuts.
Obviously I think this book is trash and I hate it. But as a fan, like, is separating all the writing and the mystery and all the damage it does. Obviously I made it clear that like I'm not defending this book, but I was pretty happy to see that Wally doesn't actually die at the end, and I'm very curious to see if another writer what they do, if they actually make any steps to like redeem Wally or fix him, or like if they just make him a bad guy. Like
So the rumor I heard, this is a rumor, the same rumor that says Dr. Man's gonna come in and save everything. The rumor I heard is he's going to join Suicide Squad, and that sounds so plausible because that's what they did to Roy Harper after they fucked him up. They made him into basically, what was it, Justice League Dark, whatever the fuck it was
R.I.P.
called.
Roy.
Oh yeah, Teen Titans. Like they made him a member of a Teen Titans team that was run by Deathstroke, which basically
Titans, Eric Wallace's Titans.
yeah. So
When Deathstroke watched Roy Harper bang a bunch from behind glass. I remember that book.
So since Dan DiDio wanted to allow this shit to happen, the editor of DC, and he made that fucking Roy Harper gets his daughter killed and Gold becomes a fucking villain. I have a feeling that might be what they do with Wally.
That was the other thing this is a side tangent, but I was thinking of where I'm like, can you really put the Flash in prison when he's like super powerful and useful? Like,
don't you kind of need him like on a Suicide Squad or like on a team to?
I mean, it's like one of those things that if there's the multi-purposes of jail. Obviously, the keeping him out of society doesn't work when he's the Flash, and then there's the punishment aspect where like there has to be a better punishment. Like you have to do community service or something. Like
No, he did.
But
He
as a
released everyone's
superhero-
confidential medical information.
As a superhero, he is kind of like doing community service.
yeah. So
essentially.
I
It's-
don't
it's
know.
weird.
That's the kind of thing that I'm curious how another writer picks it up. Are they actually going to delve into like the redemption of what he did, or is it just he's gonna become some like edgy anti-hero? I don't know. That's what I'm curious about.
I think he's gonna be edgy anti-hero, and this is my Dan DiDio mindset going in. To separate him from Barry, so it's not just two Flashes going around. Because heaven forbid we have two Flashes going around. He didn't want what was it the solo Flash series, right?
Yeah.
So Dan DiDio never wanted two Flashes. I think this is him reasserting himself. If there's gonna be a Flash, it's going to be more of a counter to a Barry, the Dark Flash.
We have those. They're reverse flashes.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
like 5 of them.
You
my
become
God.
the reverse Flash. I felt it. I figured out the DiDio's plan.
Every time I'm like, this is why comics are dumb. I'm like, no, comics are just dumb. They've always been dumb.
yeah,
This
That's
is
your
stupid, but
revelation.
reverse
That's-
Flash.
no,
No, that's
that's-
okay.
that's future Phil coming to you to tell past Phil. No, comics have always been dumb, Phil.
we were talking about Game of Thrones and the no spoilers for the current seasons, but we were talking about how all this stuff happens in like season 5 that were dumb, and Phil loves the books, and he justifies it saying, just because it sounds dumb when you abbreviate it and have it filtered through shitty writers doesn't mean the premise is unsalvageable. And that's kind of what a lot of comics are like. Even though, like, oh, Swamp Thing, the fucking guy turns into Swamp. You can tell good stories. You can tell good stories.
Isn't it more like Swamp turns into a guy?
He's a guy. Like you can say, and you can take any premise and make it sound dumb. The question is how you
Yeah.
handle it. This story fucking has some promise and like a. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. I'm fuck me. No, it didn't. Like,
Did you
I
guys
know
like
what you
this
mean.
less than Flashpoint?
yes. Oh yeah, easily.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure I did. I'd have to. I'd have to go read Flashpoint again. In my mind, Flashpoint is really shitty, and this had some interesting ideas, but that had
Yeah.
nothing.
Flashpoint is so mediocre. I can't even.
I think that's the thing is Flashpoint is so mediocre, and this is like to me like actively infuriating.
Yeah.
Whereas, but the thing is, this is because it's more ambitious. I can see
Yeah.
some people liking it because it's like I like the ideas that were here, even if it wasn't like executed well.
This is this is me going against my old premise of I'm ambition all the time. I think
Yeah.
it's because
No, I think that's fair because I was doing the same thing. Like, I think you like railed against me one time for being like, well, I like things even if they're flawed for their ambition. And I was like, it depends. Or at least I think I want to be like that.
I'm so focused
because
on such a
I
close
like
line.
this for its ambition, kind of. But I can totally see your point, Sly, because I've hated ambitious stories that were flawed.
Yeah. I don't know. I think they're both bad, and we shouldn't read either of them.
I don't. I think DC is just a terrible company. They
No,
make
fuck
shitty
off.
things. They make
Go
shitty
read
things.
Go read Teen Titans on fucking
No.
DC New. It's fucking DC is better than Marvel. I'll fucking say.
Oh
it.
my god.
Yeah, I fucking rather.
Yes!
I rather watch. I
Unexpected-
rather read modern
unexpected
DC. I rather watch anything DC's putting out right now, the movies and TV show, than Marvel's pulling out.
That's a wild claim.
Ron was
You're
like,
a
yes,
fucking
it's
crazy
like
man.
Trump
I
off
like.
the
I
edge.
like. I love Teen Titans. Teen Titans, the TV show.
I'm gonna make you watch Batman vs Superman forever, over and over.
I like Batman vs Superman a lot more. I think have more potential than people realize, but
No, say it. You were gonna say it's better than Marvel movies. Say
it's
it.
not.
Why don't you say it?
I like it better than Endgame. I'll say that.
wow.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
That's wild. Maybe we'll do that for another Patreon episode. Compare those two movies for some reason. But I think this is a good little way to end because I don't.
Wait,
think we
I didn't
start
say
that
my final
conversation.
thoughts.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Daryl.
You guys have summed up everything really nicely. The one thing I want to say that why I was actually having kind of an overall good experience with this is that
It's because you hate me. You fucking hate me, Daryl.
a little bit. No, it's because we all got to like experience this together, which was the only thing other than like maybe talking about like Marvel movies, but we don't like read comics all at the same time. So
Yeah.
that was actually, it was really fun for me to have all of us jump in blind together and do this, even though you hated it.
Are you saying the real heroes in Crisis were the friends you made along the way?
No,
you
I-
fucking
no,
asshole.
I think what he's trying to say is bros before heroes.
No, but that is, I think that is a really good point, Daryl. That like this was when Sly and I talked about doing this as like, let's read an event, let's show you what it's like to read a modern comic event.
Yeah.
That this is what it's like. It's like they're usually bad, but reading them and dissecting them with your friends month after month is very fun. And
Yeah.
even when the book sucks, like that's, I think, part of it is because, like, even in our Discord and everything, we have lots of people that read lots of different books, and it's very rare that everyone has read the same book and wants to talk about it. And it's almost always the event.
experiencing it at the same time.
Yeah.
Rather than one person being like, oh, I can't wait till you get to this part, or I wonder what you'll think about this. It's like, we all are like, it could go either way in the beginning, and then it didn't.
And there is something about a serialized story like this that, like, that whole, like, around the water cooler thing that
Yeah.
is very fun.
Wait, why? When they put that clone body, why make it 5 days too old?
It's because... you can't mess with the past, the future. He must have snapped his neck and then come and
It would
tried
have been
to
funny if Booster Gold and Harley, because I was supposed to set Booster Gold and Harley to go into the future. It would have been funny if they fucked up Wally's plans and they ruined the timeline.
So that thus concludes our coverage of Heroes in Crisis, issues 1 through 9 by Tom King and Clay Mann and some other artists who had to fill in pages.
You shouldn't have. It shouldn't have been this long. What was wrong with you, Tom King?
Yeah, I don't know.
Or DC. It could be DC's fault, especially if they're like,
It's probably
put Harley
DC's
in this because she was insufferable.
Make her the main character for 9 issues, or we will fire you.
Daryl and Phil, I would really prefer to stop talking about this.
Yeah,
and
I'm done.
Okay.
I don't want to do this fucking episode, but we're done.
Yeah, we're set.
Okay, so thank you for subscribing to the Flying Machine Patreon. You bought all these issues, and now I hope you rot in hell. As long as you could still keep your credit card active. While you're there.
Wow.
If you do that, we will come to the future to stop us from sending you to hell or whatever, and then snap your own neck or something.
And then go get your cloned body from the future.
But like a 5-day too old clone body.
I go, that's fine. Like that's. Not
Oh,
messing
we
with the
said we're gonna
timeline.
talk about
Going
anymore.
into the
Stop,
future
please,
to take
for
a
the love of God.
clone.
Thank you, friends.
So for Divisive Issues, I've been Ryan.
I've been Mademoiselle Marie.
No, you gotta be Sly.
I don't know. I don't give a fuck anymore. I'm so done. I'm Sly.
I've been Phil.
And I've been snapping my own neck. I mean, Daryl.